What's up, everyone? Mina here, and today we're going to finish up the top 8 of Worlds. We have the top 4 games and the finals left. No stalling today. Kind of don't feel great, so I kind of want to bang this out and then hop in bed. So we're just going to jump right into it. First off, we got top 4 viewer of the stream from earlier, Jacob Allen. Still waiting to see if he caught our game, our stream from yesterday. Versus Michael Jasker, winner of the entire event. Spoilers, I guess we know what happens in this game. or this set. Got Verdance versus Syndra. I'm curious to see who... So I guess Jacob decided the format then? Is my understanding of how this works. Because Michael is going first, and I assume he would... I guess... Yeah, he would choose to go first, right? I feel like it kind of sucks going first or second in this matchup as Syndra. Probably don't accomplish much going first. But you don't want the Verdance to go first and just, like, shoot you for 9 Arcane and Gravefill. Do we have deck lists that we can look at?
On the left side, attention back for relatively
Well, just make it
had so many only players from his region. You can see the Alberta Fab community from Canada.
that a lot of these other
We got the 3 shelters. Got the 3 mental blocks. 2 command and conquers is probably reasonable in this matchup. Imagine the scars come in. You're probably behind until you get your hero power on. I feel like that's pretty much it for tech for this matchup in the list. Doesn't seem like it's like teched out to the 9s for the matchup. Not that there's a million things you can really bring in. You basically just play your normal game plan. And I assume normal stuff over here. Throw daggers. Chest puff, that's interesting. Hey, what's up? I'm going to assume this is why everyone has been buying chest puffs off of me on TCG Player recently. I didn't really think about it too hard. I'm pretty sure I sold out. Only 2 lava bursts. Interesting. It's one of the Super Slam cards. It's a rare. I'm pretty sure it's the 2 for 6. That it's either a 1 for 5 or a 2 for 6. I think it's that one. Let me pull up a Fabry window. No, it's the 2 for 7.
buys a whole bunch.
This card. So it's a 2 for 6 or 3 for 7. A little surprised that he's playing this. I feel like if you're including this card in your deck, it's basically just for the Prism matchup, right? Why not play the 8 power one at that point? It's not like you're ever casting this card. We have 3 blues in the deck. Like this is one mode, defend. Yeah, like if you're gonna include a 7 for the sake of it being a 7, I think I'd rather a different 7. Like God, what's the name of the card? Bastion, I think it is. The one that prevents 1 damage. It lets you cover 2 breakpoints. You pop the first thing, and then you have the floating prevention for the next thing they throw at you. Did he play against any prisms? Does it show his... No, doesn't show what he played against. Okay.
Which is a little bit disadvantaged. You can't really attack a Verdance going first. You can get punished really hard if you allow the Verdance player to fill their graveyard.
I think this is a little too loud for me. Yeah, Battlefront Bastion. Yeah, we saw that, not Majin. Punkage mentioning the getting punished for attacking on turn 0 as the Syndra. We saw that in the game against Majin during Swiss, where the opponent basically just lost the game on turn 1. He let Majin get mental block, like, used on defense. So then he went down 1 point, got Grave Fill, and now his Scar for a Scar was turned on, and he was able to play a 4-card hand, and then use the Ponder token. So he just got everything, just kind of won the game instantly on turn 1.
With a whole bunch of Earth cards, you might suddenly be facing down a Decompose attack on them on the first turn of the game because you allowed them to fill that yard. So fully expecting Michael Yastro to just say pass over here unless he's confident that he can leak quite a bit of damage.
Let's see.
Yeah, like, remember from stream yesterday, we were like, oh, I think Majin kind of threw this game in the trash. Conversely, his opponent in that game threw the game in the trash against Majin. Like, both games that we saw Majin on stream so far was just slam dunking games in the trash on one side or the other.
How our players want to begin this one. Activate Syndra, pitch 3 away. Any response from Jacob is the question.
I thought that was a Blanche for a second to Rabble. I gotta pick those Rabbles back up.
When you don't have the Verdance filter, sometimes they just aren't able to mount enough of an offense on their turn, making their going second tempo advantage completely nullified. In this case, so Jacob Allen has managed to pick up a copy of the Burn Bear.
At least he gets a Felling in Arsenal, but
very
not that exciting.
Early 6 damage spells, again, thanks to Claw of Vince Harakai, not as impactful as you would like them to be. You want to find these later on when your opponent has leaked a bunch of damage and they're getting close to a Strider's range. That's when you want to send this unavoidable, unpreventable damage.
You have to imagine that the other Burn Bear is destined for the Arsenal for that reason precisely. Jacob draws back up to 4. First,
not a really whole hell of a lot we could have done with that hand.
Like the felling of the crown that he was holding was.
Hopefully we get to block with 2 Earth cards, which it does seem like we drew 2 Earth cards.
In the graveyard to fuel the felling of the crown. Ideally wants to
and then pocket the other Burn Bear.
First, either say through a Rootbound Carapace or Cadaverous Tilling, so that the felling of the crown comes in for 8 oftentimes.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Ancestraling this. That kind of tells me that maybe Jasker's hand is weird. Like, he has too many cards in his hand that don't have Go Again. Or too many, like, 1 costs or something. Or maybe he has multiple attack reactions here. Because there's no reason that he should be Ancestraling on this Chain Link if his hand just plays normally. So that if I'm Jacob, that's kind of fishy. So I can kind of suss out what his hand is a little bit here, but we'll have to see. I think the next Chain Link probably tells us what's going on.
One of the tiebreakers in this matchup, if you will, is whether the
unless it's Kunai, then it'd be the next.
Ancestral Empowerment goes on top of the Ignite. Michael wants to see a little more cards. Not interested in using it as a bit of a combat trick to get over blocks, help out the mask momentum here. Just wants to find a little more optionality. Looks like it's going to be,
of course, offering the first Draconic Chainlink. Syndra going to try to get to that also coveted 3 Draconic Chainlinks to buy back both the Kunai, which we can be sure will be.
Or maybe he's short on Draconic Chainlinks.
To continue to pad Michael Yasker's life total in the face of the arcane damage that this Earth Wizard presents. Chainlink 2 now. Michael Yasker taken by Jacob Allen. Mask of Momentum now very online for any future.
That's kind of silly. Both of the Verdances in top cut have like the bead bracelets.
Attack action.
Majin had one that said like Verdance or something.
Headlong. Flick Knife still alive, still able to be used.
It could also be that was the only ninja attack in his hand. Like his hand could just be like Blaze Headlongs and Rabbles and shit, and he just literally had no ninja attacks in his hand. Then that would make sense also.
Back for 4. We saw that Shelter discarded on turn 0. So Jacob here going to reach over for the Stonewall Gauntlet and immediately give it before any Wrath of Retribution as we see the Kunai come forward, flick across, Chainlink still alive.
Stonewall block is kind of interesting.
Big, risky block from Jacob Allen. You pointed it out, Sam. Stonewall Gauntlet is an insurance piece against the one-off Wrath of Retribution on the Syndra side. Jacob Allen is taking a bit of a gamble here, saying you will not find that card the rest of this game. This game goes too short. I'm hoping you don't find that card. I'm just committing the Stonewall Gauntlet here. A little bit of a risky move. Find that card.
Yeah, we don't even get the trigger of the Stonewall.
Block with the Burn Bear, block for 3.
This is threatening Mask, of course, but this Out of Dragon Scale is not Draconic, so cannot be given Go Again by the Dragon Scale of Flight Path. So Jacob Allen doesn't really care about the card draw, but covers it up anyway. Unfortunately for him, not able to decompose that root bound, which means his felling that he's about to send will only come in for 4, will at least trigger the decompose, so will force a card out of Michael Yasker's hand.
Coming for 4, asking for a card from Michael's hand.
And now future fellings and plows will have the maximum output in terms of damage.
As long as Jacob can find another Earth card, we've seen not always the easiest for these Verdance decks. They run a lot of Wizard cards, they have their CNCs, their shelters.
And that brings us back to the equipment block that Jacob Allen chose to deploy on that turn. Oftentimes you see Verdance's block with the
no
box
Earth cards.
on, so
Feels pretty safe to push here. He's on no arsenal, no Earth cards.
In case you need to decompose, say, another felling.
He'd have to, like, on the next hand for him to resolve another felling, he'd have to draw Earth, blue felling, which is pretty unreasonable. And then that also means that if he does draw a hand like that, he's blocking with Earth cards, meaning he's not blocking with any 4 blocks, so any, like, 4 power breakpoints are pretty good here.
Or another plow on. So Jacob Allen there opting to save the math value by using the 1 damage block on the Stonewall Gauntlet rather than a 2 block on the Barkskin. But if he gets tripped up on Earth cards in the graveyard, he's going to be looking back at a decision.
Yeah, this is one of the cases where I think I'm fine trading damage of the felling.
Jacob Allen's going to draw back up.
Don't think I want to give him space here.
Oh, the loyalty to start things off. 4 damage coming in.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the other cards in hand. So now we know all the cards that could have been in his hand during that Ancestral hand, so that makes a lot of sense. Like, it probably was just he literally had no target for the Ancestral other than the scale, if he wanted to play it that way. I get the feeling he didn't start with the scale because he probably would have just pitched the Ancestral to the scale instead. What did he pitch to the scale? Is that a snatch?
Oh, the loyalty to start things off. 4 damage coming in, go again. Draconic blocks 3. Asks a question though, will you pledge that fealty? Uphold your oath. For you must. Anything otherwise, any non-draconic cards, game rule violation, baby.
Speaking of fealty, currently no copies of that token on Michael Yasker's side of the board, which can mean that his Oath of Loyalty could be a little bit awkward depending on the texture of his hand. The Syndra list these days, and Michael Yasker's is no different, runs a lot of non-draconic cards. We saw in the previous turn already that Art of Dragon Scale, Ravenous Rabble also, and Pain in the Backside, all these non-draconic cards being favored by these Syndras these days. Oath of Loyalty can make those a little bit awkward.
On their heels, met by Command and Conquer, Lava Burst. Ends the chain, Jacob accepts the damage, down to 25, as opposed to Michael Yasker's 31, only 5 minutes left.
From Jacob's POV, I think I'm pretty happy about this.
Daggers, constantly returning to Syndra's
He didn't
side.
actually present a mass trigger
Found
that turn.
Touch, so able to decompose again. Just come on in for 8.
Exact decompose for 2. Only had 2 Earth cards in the bin before the Stilling was deployed. Goes up to 4, which means that Barkskin of the Millennium Tree is now online, in the sense that when it blocks, it creates...
This is kind of awkward, though, where we're still going to have to decompose 2 more times.
Actions, block for 1 more.
But turning on our hero power isn't what the entire matchup's about.
In the other order, Cadaver Stilling and then the Felling. But sometimes
we're just trying to trade.
You in this fashion.
Push Michael's life total down, try to kill him with Striders.
The Tilling!
Nope.
Oh.
The alarm bell's going off in Jacob Allen's head as he sees those Dragon Scalar flight paths get blocked with. That is often a herald, a sign of what's to come. We have to imagine those leg pieces are at least a part of the consideration for Michael Yasker on this turn.
I mean, if it's a herald, that's an illegal card in his deck.
Clearly needing the Draconic Chain Link to start things off. I wonder if we're going to see that Wrath of Retribution hit the combat chain, powered up by that Dragon Scalar flight path.
Jacob Allen, very happy to see this. Very happy to see a pitch for the Kunai. That means the Syndra had a slight brick on this turn. And coming back to the Dragon Scalar...
It could also mean that he just wants to get the boots block in while there's a physical attack on the chain. He's getting low enough that he might perceive that he never gets attacked with a physical attack again. So this might be the last opportunity he has to actually get that 1 block in. I could see keeping it around, though, because you do know there's Command and Conquers in the list, but...
Sometimes against Verdance, especially once you hit these 20 life totals, you're not sure whether they'll ever send a physical attack at you ever again. So Michael Yasker, a bit of a heads-up play, just blocking the flight path in case no other physical attack comes his way the rest of this game. Just saving that 1 point of life. Currently does not have the Wrath of Retribution.
This is pretty sick. We just get to block with a sink.
Plays headlong, no blocks. React with a sink below.
And insulated from something like an Ancestral Empowerment because, of course, Blaze Headlong, not a ninja attack action card, so you cannot play Ancestral over this. You could play something like a Rake over the Coals, for example. But Michael Yasker doesn't have any copies of that card.
Flicks the kunai.
A very safe block for Jacob Allen.
Brings up the Ring of Roses. Are the Dragon Blood now? Attacks for 4, asks for a card, or suffer the consequences of the Mask of Momentum.
Effectively functioning like a snatch. Interesting to note, Michael Yasker did not fealty that out of Dragon Blood. So would not have been able to give it go again if Jacob Allen even allowed him to draw.
I wonder what the block with the flight path was for.
Pretty happy on Jasker's side, getting the chest off the board like that.
Is going to send physical at you again. That oftentimes would just chain a whole bunch of arcane at you. We also know Jacob Allen's list, for example, is favoring the pulsing Aether Lives. So
I like that picking up a card here.
Let's just cash this in. So
I like always going draw a card when we still have our helmet in play. We can
However,
be pretty
I
greedy
think
until the
the
helmet's
bells
gone.
you were heralding, Sam, or perhaps a turn cycle too early, because I do believe Michael Yasker has now found that Wrath of Retribution.
We saw Jacob Allen take this E-Strike draw earlier in the tournament. The game didn't work out for him, but the quote-unquote ponder definitely did. Drew Rootbound in that case, my memory serves.
But because of Crown of Providence, these random draws are quite insulated. So he just takes the gamble over that. The upside is quite high. And if it's bad, you just use Crown of Providence to filter it away. So Mental Block Ponders, E-Strike draw cards.
I love having Punkage on cast.
Slightly behind in his matchup, is ever so slightly unfavored. Any sort of gambles.
I wish he still played the game. I feel like
to increase the chances.
I feel like low key. There's been a couple events where it was higher EV for him to play than to cast.
Down by Michael. Dumaji says, "Oh no, I'm using those." The fourth
like
card
the Worlds
turn
where
has been
Icelander
planned.
was good. I think he should have played instead of casted. If he top 8'd, I would not have batted an
For a
eye.
moment, they're deciding whether he wants to block. That tells you the tension he's perhaps feeling, heading down to 19.
It's easy to feel tension during the World Championships. As the tension rises, the Oath of Loyalty hits the combat chain again. 4, go again. As the life total's nearly even, 19 plays 20. Any reactions from Jacob? The answer is no.
And see this, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet earlier about the coverage for Magic versus Fab. This is one thing that I really like about the Fab coverage. They actually do a really good job at just, even in a simple terms, just saying what is going on. 4, go again. Like just articulating what is actually happening in the game. I tried watching some of the Magic coverage earlier today and yesterday, and I'm just like, man, I have no clue what the fuck is going on. And then the card that they have on the side over here just like isn't changing for a millennia, and it's like not the card that's relevant right now, and they're not explaining what's happening. The camera quality is such that I can't actually see what any of the card names are. There's the thing on the side for the hands, so I could look it up that way if I wanted to, but I don't actually know what card is what on the board. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening. They're not explaining anything. I was watching the Is It Cauldron thing happen, and I'm like, the guy ends up like scooping, and I'm like, I don't even know what the win condition of this is. I just see a bunch of cards moving around. Like, no one's explaining anything. Ugh. Fab coverage is so good. I mean, that's what it should be. Like, the coverage should, in my opinion, be catered towards a viewer that doesn't necessarily know everything in a super detailed and nuanced way. Because realistically, this is promotion material. They don't make money by casting the game, right? Like, if you think about it from their perspective, what is the point of having the live stream and the cast and everything? It's so that way people will watch and go out and buy cards. It's advertising. Well, if someone's watching from home, it's a good chance that they're not at the super enfranchised level of the people that are at Worlds, right? So you should be catering your casting towards that more casual audience, in my opinion. That's like for them to pick up on what's happening.
So down to 16 goes our Verdance player.
And
Fealty can be activated.
This time he did have that fealty token to make sure he can continue the chain of draconic attacks. And here we have Fire, Tenant, Strike first, a card that often gets mistakenly thought of as a naturally draconic card with all the
I like the
fire
way he
inside, but
represents
it
the
isn't.
fealty.
So fealty token here, used to make it draconic.
But how flavorful for the semifinals match. As we see the Oath of Loyalty ask for the fealty, we see Michael Yasker acquiesce and place that fealty token down. As the Fire 10 Strike first is met by the Barkskin of the Millennium Tree. The Embodiment of Earth created alongside the block from the Cadaverous Tilling. We can see there's that Pulsing Aether. There's a 4 block. A nice blocking hand from Jacob Allen here. As Michael Yasker's head goes to his hand, has to consider, does he want to flick on this chain link or not?
All the remaining cards in Jacob Allen's hand. Block for 4. Shelter.
We're falling like a little bit behind on Jacob's side, but
flicking here,
we are getting pretty close to getting
on this turn.
Michael in range
You
of
actually
killing
don't
him.
want to flick right now. You want to flick after you have attacked with a dagger and it comes in for 2.
Is he more interested in just getting as much value as possible out of the cards he knows versus maximizing his chances?
They get like a little bit of a pass on Riftbound, where like they're newer to the scene, like they've only been doing a few events, so they're still getting their ducks in a row, right? I don't think they get a pass for very long though, because they should know what the fuck they're doing. Like, they've been casting League of Legends for what, over a decade now or whatever the fuck it is. Like, they should have that structure in place where they know what to do for all of that.
Card he does not off the
But
top of the deck. Then the onus is on Jacob.
growing
to defend.
pains
Michael
for a
Yasker,
new
does he
game.
want to keep his own destiny in his own hands?
Magic doesn't have that
Begin to ask
excuse.
some different
30 years
questions
old or
to his opponent.
whatever.
He's trying to figure out the answer just like we are.
And facing down Embodiment of Earth, you have to imagine if you're on Michael Yasker's seat, it's going to be a tough ask that you get that crown, that you get the Mask of Momentum draw this turn. Jacob Allen is set up quite defensively. What he isn't set up defensively for.
So why
is
would he
whole
be thinking about flick here? I would say normally he'd be thinking about flick here because maybe he's not going to be able to re-equip his daggers because the card he's going to play isn't Draconic. But he has an Oath of Loyalty on the stack. So the card that he plays has to be Draconic anyways. Maybe he's thinking about making the dollar here. Just like play a 1-cost Arsenal Pass. Yeah, like that was the other thing. I was watching the casters were just like shouting numbers at each other and like talking over each other and just like shouting math. And I'm like, this doesn't mean anything to me. What is this math that you're just like shouting at me right now? This is like unwatchable.
Bunch of going wide 2 damage.
It was 2 casters that like
promises. You can have embodiment of Earth.
I respect as casters,
but does not help you block 2 into 2 into 2 into 2.
Michael really giving this one a think. And you have to understand why. Only 12 minutes have elapsed so far, so plenty of time for these players. They're sub 20. It's an untimed game. Do you have to play at a reasonable pace? You have to imagine Michael's going to have to make a decision soon.
It's possibly one of the most impactful decisions of this game.
Also, we started early for your information.
Run at the World Championships. And here we see the awkwardness of Oath of Loyalty. Isn't able to deploy the Snatch in the pit zone, but does manage to deploy the Wrath of Retribution, coming in for 4, buffed up by the Fire Tenant Strike First, and the promise of a whole bunch of dagger swings coming Jacob Allen's way for the rest of this turn.
It was a Snatch they had to pitch anyway, so like whatever.
Now coming in for 2. Jacob Allen has 2 4 blocks in his hand.
I guess he could have been thinking about if he's supposed to flick to make the dollar to cast the Wrath, but then the Wrath does 2 less damage because he already flicked, and then Arsenal the Snatch. It's like maybe reasonable.
Can't deploy them efficiently. Is forced to discard the shelter so he can at least get 3 points of value from it rather than just 2 if he uses it as a standard defense reaction. One risk though.
A good thing he didn't flick.
After Wrath of Retribution turn, if you get the max value from that card, you pass over to the opponent with no daggers, which means if you get one of the Syndra breaks that we saw him get already once this game, you no longer have the Kunai Retribution on board to bail you out. So he has a decision here. He can choose not to swing the last Kunai to leave himself open to a potential bad draw, or just take the risk and send it for 2.
Let's see what decision he makes. Flick the Kunai. After using the Dragon Scaler, we're activating Syndra because we're attacking with the Kunai once again. What a huge turn! And this Wrath of Retribution. It's amazing. It's like this, it's so flavorful.
Pretty risky, but
move.
I think it's
Syndra.
kind of worth it.
Like we're watching watching anime. Wrath of Retribution.
Put Jacob in the blender.
4 dagger swings.
We still have a dagger.
Small correction. He does end with a Claw of Insarukai, but that doesn't have a go again dagger. So effectively, is still not insulated from a bricky hand from Syndra. And that was the random draw from Jacob Allen's E-Strike, a felling of the crown.
And this is why we draw.
Jacob Allen took the gamble on that E-Strike, had the providence, of course, to bail him out if it was a bad draw, but Michael Yasker cannot be happy to see that that was a random draw off the top. Verdance, so full of these do-nothing Earth blue cards, manages to find a felling of the crown of all cards.
And that's how we're
I
finding.
mean, you have to know that it's a good card there, right?
Understands
Like,
his deck
he blocked
so
with 3
innately,
cards and
knows
didn't
the
block with
ratio,
his
knows
helmet.
the amount of cards, knows that sometimes you have to take the gamble. You have to decide it's so much higher upside for me to find something
lower
like a
the
felling,
volume
like a
slightly.
D-React, than 2 potential more damage on an E-Strike. Even if I draw a card that I'm not happy arsenaling, sometimes you got to.
Is that loud enough for you guys?
Get the reward.
And we call this, Sam, when Michael Yasker made the decision to attack with that Kunai, he opens himself up to a brick, and I believe I saw 2 Out of Dragon Bloods, and I think a display of loyalty.
Yeah, but whatever, you just block.
Starters and body language-wise for Michael Yasker, he's feeling the pressure here.
Bottom a card, block with 2 cards, Arsenal Pass.
Michael Yasker had his hands.
Do you just block it out? Take it, it might be
it's a brand,
it's
it's a brand,
which
it's a brand,
changes
okay, it's a brand,
everything
you say it, it's a
so
brand,
much
you say it.
better.
Whew.
But he doesn't know if he wants to go down to 11. But he decides.
Okay, we're just risking it for the
These
biscuit.
players walk down life totals, but that
I
is
think I just
as good a position as
pass
you
here.
have for Verdance. Get an opponent in a position where Storm Striders becomes the out.
He still doesn't have his hero power online.
Brandon's in the claw to start things off, which will convert Draconic to the Out of Dragon Blood follow-up,
And
which
now
will give it go again.
you have to wonder, do you flick the Claw of Insarukai just to get a resource for your Syndra activation at the end of this chain? Given that you'll only have 2 links,
Jacob!
you want that Kunai
You missed
back
it yesterday.
If you're in Michael Yasker's spot. Its place is
We
not
talked about your
easy.
game
It's
yesterday.
back from the ashes to return. Art of the Dragon Blood is met by Sink Below. Flick Knives responds. Claw of Insarukai flies across the table. Yep, and the resource going to be gained by the blood splattered vest.
Jacob, I really liked your play of plowing in the mirror because you were closer to your thing than your opponent. But holy shit, man, if that game continued any longer, you were so fucked from your stack. I lost count of how many reds you had in a row. That shit was crazy. I've never seen like a normal Flesh and Blood game have that many reds in a row that wasn't like Dromai or something. It had to have been like 11 reds in a row or something. 8? Oh my god. Imagine he lived that turn and you're just like, oh no. Oh my god. Your stack before that though was so nice. I really liked how you were like putting the disruption back in to be like, okay, if he's going to combo off and like set up a stack, I have my disruption to mess up his stack. I really liked how you set that end game up. It was just chef's kiss. That was beautiful to watch.
And continues the Mask of Momentum train. Next attack will still threaten that also important card draw, effectively making that card a snatch.
This is actually such a fascinating position. Jacob Allen has the Burn Bear. He has the E-Strike. He has a card to pay for it. But now he faces down the potential card draw from this Art of the Dragon Blood. He has to wonder, can he send the E-Strike with the amount of equipment that Michael Jackson
Yeah,
has?
I think I like holding it there just in case. I don't think that you needed to,
Right now, at this live total,
but no reason to fuck around.
That card does not matter anymore. You're not getting cards
Like,
anyway, especially this Art of Dragon
you win the game no matter what, right? He can't. The only thing that he could do is like, in response, try to kill you when you start comboing before you gain all your life, and then just having the extra blue in your hand to pitch to AB kind of insulates you anyways. So it's like you win on either side of the coin there.
Yasker side that he'll happily give if you send an E-Strike for 7. Which means even if Yasker gives you no cards, you'll still leak 4, and 7 is still very much Rider's range. You have 2 Spell Void, you can Spell Void the 6 damage spell, you can Spell Void the Waning Moon as well, but 7 is still enough.
Down to
What's the play? I didn't catch what your hand was. So Burn Bear, Heart. What's the other card? Scour? Is it not just... Where's the E-Strike? Did you sink it? Oh, we drew into the E-Strike afterwards. Yeah, isn't it just block with Hat here? And, like, a card? And even if you draw into, like, a doo-doo card, whatever you just bottom the doo-doo card. What were you thinking at the moment? Like, what was your lost in the sauce? Like, what was your in-the-moment rationale, even though you don't agree with it? Makes sense, I suppose.
Strike. He has a card to pay for it, but now he faces down the potential card draw from this Art of the Dragon Blood. He has to win.
That card does not matter anymore. You're not getting on Michael Yasker's side that
Should we just keep replaying this moment for a couple times on stream just to make you have pain?
Cards, still leak 4, and 7 is still very much Rider's range. You have 2 Spell Void, you can Spell Void the 6 damage spell, you can Spell Void the Waning Moon as well, but 7 is still enough.
Down to 4. Down to 2, excuse me. Goes Jacob Allen as both daggers return to Michael's side. You can see Michael.
Did I miss something? How is he re-equipping? He only has 2 links, right?
Goes Jacob Allen as both daggers return to Michael's side. You can see Michael Yasker take a deep...
Wait. How is he re-equipping? Chat. What am I missing? How does he have 3 Draconic Chain Links? I'm counting 2. Oh, wait, there is $1 floating. There is $1 floating. I'm blind.
Has to draw the resources. E-Strike for 7. What's the block going to be?
But
Michael hits a combat chain.
Michael Yasker can even give cards to block. That was a very risky line from Jacob Allen that he didn't even give the Crown of Promise.
I like the I shouldn't play the Burn Bear because it's only going to deal 5 because the Claw plays E-Strike, still does only 5. Keck.
Because when you're at 2 against a deck that has Flick Knives, against a deck that has 3 copies of Throw Dagger as well, of which you have seen 0 copies so far, Michael Yaskur has enough unpreventable damage. Jacob Allen will need to find either Mental Block or Shelter from the Storm to protect himself from that eventuality. That non-block on the Crown of Providence might come back to punish him, Sam.
Block 5 currently represented. Ancestral Empowerment and the Mask Momentum take 2 down to 9 goes Michael.
And this just keeps him out of Strider's range. Because of Claw of Inserta, he's an effective...
I try not to
Strider's Burn by plus Waning Moon is not enough from Jacob Allen's side.
harp on myself for previous mistakes. I think that's bad for your mental. I think that's a good way to cause your... I think the reason you would do that would be to stop yourself from doing that in the future. But I think in reality, you make yourself more prone to making a mistake in the future because you get in your own head.
Yaskur?
Ravenous Rabble as well.
I kind of take a learn from a mistake and move on kind of approach.
Go again. Met by Blue Autumn's touch.
And
Flick. Down to 1.
no prevention effects.
Gets the second resource of the
I mean,
vest. So much
I don't know if you remember the whole Tunic thing back during calling Indy, Jacob. I can appreciate the bagging on yourself for a mistake.
Ready. 1 resource generated, but the Ravenous Rabble attacks. A little bit of a handshake as Michael Yaskur reveals the cut through. So 4 damage. This has to be blocked fully.
We don't know what the random card of the top was for Michael Yaskur on the previous turn. Remember, Jacob Allen gave the Mask of Momentum draw to Michael Yaskur to make the play that he did, but he did not put his opponent in that Strider's range.
And if you had used your crown on the last turn, 2 more life here, you can just give 1 card, take 1, still be at 2. But now the Crown of Providence is awkward. You need to give a card from hand and the crown. You're over blocking and still at 1. You called it out immediately, Ponkage. That might have been the block to keep Jacob Allen's turn.
That's kind of my approach. Like, I grew up in Zodiac Duelists, and man, people just got shit on all the time over there. So I was like, okay, here's my opportunity to get shit on. And that's kind of where I kind of mentally went with that. I think the biggest edge in Fab is whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. Game's really hard.
Our semifinalists. That is also important.
That's also why I don't think it's like that big of a deal playing the most optimal deck list.
It's still just game 1. We have
It just we see time and time again. It just doesn't matter. People do well with bad deck lists because it just doesn't matter. It's about making less mistakes.
Now the Crown of Providence gets put in front of this. It looks like he might sink away that felling, and this is just not how this turn needs to go for Jacob for him to win this one.
He needs to send a threat. If he doesn't send a threat on his own turn, which is back in this exact same situation for Jacob Allen, except he will no longer have the Crown of Providence.
Grandma Cinder Clock comes down, attack for 3. Art of the Dragon Scale, that costs 1, and a handshake is extended, and we're moving on to game 2.
Okay, so could you have won if you took the other line? That's the real question. Is the line that you wish that you did, hoping that the top of your deck gave you an arcane damage spell? So we're still hoping that we see arcane, right? Okay, that makes sense. So he's at 11. Are you sending the Waning Moon here too on the previous turn? Like instead of the E-Strike? I can't tell if you're Hellbent or not. I think you don't have any cards. So it'd just be 6. Oh wait, I went too far back. Yeah, you do have a card. Deal 5, put him to 6. No dagger. That still doesn't win, right? Because you can just attack. You have to block. I guess you kill him on the second chain link? No, that doesn't do it, right? Because Emeritus Scolding... No, Scolding will be 7 total. Not 6 total. I'm forgetting the moon is going to be 3. So yeah, that deterministically wins if it's scolding. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, on to the next game. Oh yeah. What was the decision? Was it you chose format and then he chose first for game 1?
Ready to get into the match here from the World Championship in Philadelphia.
She had Jacob to check off, Lord and Jacob Crush to slow down Michael Yasker.
Let's take.
We got 1 blizzard. Ooh, no amulets though. No spinals. Your list looks a little soft to Dio. This feels like I really hope that I see my funny disruption cards early. Yeah, of course. Obviously, congratulations. But like the whole point of stream is we're trying to talk about decisions that are being made, right? The entire focus is just the decisions that are being made during the games and just trying to work through them and figure out if something better could have been done, try to learn from what the other players are doing, and improve as players. Obviously, congratulations. Yeah, honestly, I would have played. I was aware of Dio for like 3 to 4 months before the event, but I didn't think that it was actually going to make it to the event through the BNR. I even put it like on my wish list for my BNR. I talked about it on the pod, I think. Let me dig this up. Hold on, one sec. Profile media. Like I posted this back in October saying this is like what I wanted to see happen for the BNR in the format. And I was like, I'm pretty sure one of these needs to get banned. But yeah, this was on my radar. And I think if I knew for a fact that Dio, like, if we knew the format wasn't going to change by the time we hit Worlds, I probably would have been practicing Dio the whole time. But I was sitting there being like, there's no fucking way this deck actually makes it to Worlds. It's so fucking broken. And I'm not going to pivot to this deck with 1 to 2 weeks of practice. This deck is way too hard to play.
Now Rampart
For sure.
The Bravo Star to show this because it was completely useless.
This deck is fucking disgusting.
10 foot tall and bulletproof. Are they okay?
So this is very effective.
Wait, is he? Wait, he's playing 10 foot tall? I did not catch that my first time looking at the list. My god. Wait, you're so fucked.
You don't need to worry about.
Oh my god, that's so good in this deck. I'm gonna block with this. Omoiwa Shinderu. You're not gonna get another turn. Who cares?
You're consistently put in the first semifinals. The World Championship in Philadelphia. Yasker reading Shock Charmer.
You went Shock Charmers? I haven't considered Shock Charmers in this matchup. I think Starvo sucks ass. I mean, like, obviously it was fine for you. You topped the event, but, like, I thought Starvo was, like, I thought Starvo was the KO of the event. Of, like, I thought you were trolling me by bringing Starvo. Everything else in the format was so much better. It just felt like I don't know what to do with this format, so I'm just going to play my comfort pick kind of deck. Oh, Julian. What's up, dude? I'm still stuck right now on your pick of Shock Charmers. I don't know how I feel about that. That's probably fine. That's just really interesting. I think I like it. Gives you another way to keep your channels around also. Yeah, and like kind of what we were talking about earlier about the whole mistakes thing. I think the edge in LL was playing a deck you were comfortable on because mistakes in this format were so punishing. Like you make a mistake, you kind of just lost the game instantly. We saw that yesterday. A great example of that was against Jasker. His opponent didn't pummel, and it cost him the game. Just like that really tiny mistake cost him the entire game. And that's kind of what the format is. So like playing something that you're comfortable on, that you're going to make less mistakes, and you can like make decisions on the fly with because you're comfortable with it, I think is pretty important in the format. That being said, imagine playing a Guardian, worst class in the game.
Put on the first semifinals of the World Championship in Philadelphia. Monkey Asker reading Shock Charmers that have been brought into this matchup. And it's time for the first Starvo activation of...
I think all the LL games we've seen of Jasker has started with him reading his opponent's equipment.
This semifinal.
Oh, Bazinga!
7, dominate, go again. And there's a nice card for the Winter's Whale. Luckily for Michael, it is turn 0. We'll have to see what cards he's
surely it's not Winter's Whale.
available if he has even block cards, given the amount of items in this deck.
A little bit of a flashback here. Many a Flesh and Blood player
There's no way we
we
Winter's Whale.
the game and just offer 4 cards off the top, finding the natural fuse. So here as Jacob Allen 7 dominate. Go again. Michael Jasker blocking with the combo piece here to begin with.
Wait, you're Winter's Whaling?
Being used on defense rather than for
My
offense.
God.
Winter's Whale comes down, takes the other 2 cards.
Okay. If you're gonna bring Shock Charmers, bro, activate the goddamn Shock Charmers. That's why it's in the deck. What are we doing? I don't think he cares about keeping the reset here. I don't think he gives a shit about the reset. No, like, it's too early for the reset. And his deck has infinite funny cards. Yeah, you just want, because I don't think you win this game by making him block and then he kind of fatigues, kind of like normal Dash IOs would in like Classic Constructed. You just gotta fucking kill him and disrupt him until then. Like you can't fatigue him. That's not possible.
Cards. Michael has to draw back up to 3. Something interesting, Punkage. We sat here and watched last year in Osaka in the World Championships 2024 a very similar version without Stubby Hammers, without Art of War for, you know, these new Dash IO decks, but a very similar core to what we're seeing on the right side of your screen. We saw at the World Championships last
Moto
year
bug.
in the,
The system resets right back in his hand.
His first World Championship top 8. It didn't end in a finals.
And that's the other thing with the system reset. He can't really pitch it very easily.
This new version of this deck take him across the finish line.
That's right, Sam. A lot of upgrades to his Dash IO deck since Sam Sutherland piloted it at the World Championships last year, namely in the form of Cash-In and in the form of Art of War. Cash-In, Michael Jasker, of course, sporting the Crown of Dominion over there, which has given him the starting gold. So that Cash-In...
Yeah, honestly, I think you kind of cooked him here if he just activated gloves, because he just would have had 2 Mopey boost attacks instead of this Spark, right? You dug him into an item. On other turns, it might be appropriate to Whale for more damage. It really depends on how they react to the first attack. If the Frostbite seems like it's important, you kind of have to make a judgment call based on how they block. If they're going to use your Winter's Whale attack to sculpt their hand and dig deeper. This is like the strategy that you did into Viserai as Starvo in this event. You'd Bazinga, you'd attack them, you then push your Shock Charmers a bunch, and then pass. Because if you went Bazinga, attack, Winter's Whale, you just let them sculpt their hand, because they just wanted to block anyways. The strategy that they're implementing is just stack up Rune Chant, stack up Rune Chant, stack up Rune Chant, hit like 20, 25 Rune Chants, and then try to OTK you. Meaning they can't ever attack you. So they need to block with their attacks. And when you just throw one big attack at them that's dominated, they physically can't block with their other cards. So you just kind of juice them on that, and then they IP all these attacks in their hand.
To draw him 2 cards.
Well, like, I don't think you need to activate the Charmers every single turn of the game, but like literally turn 0, I think that's trolling. like take your point of free damage and move on. But after that, I think it's really contextual to how Jasker blocks. I think if Jasker doesn't have setup, and it seems like he's just going to put some shit in play and pass, then it's pretty reasonable to just activate Shock Charmers. If you think he's going to play the game and attack you, just like play normal Flesh and Blood, then I think you Winter's Wail. If you think he's trying to combo off and it's go time, then I think you Winter's Wail. But I don't think the Frostbite is like that material in the matchup. Like, he's going to make a bajillion resources on his combo turn, so I don't think the one Frosty Boy matters.
Just at the cost of that gold piece. Grapple Genius being deployed here by Michael Jasker, finding the optical monocle. That's one of those items that doesn't tick down at the start of the turn. He just left it there. We saw how effective the opting was in his game against Chain. His monocle is going to stay there until he's ready to start coming.
Okay, let's keep track of how much damage that we could have had from Shock Charmers by the end to see if it makes a difference. It might not make a difference. We're not going to consider any we're not going to consider any changes that happen to Jasker's hand texture because he got to block. We're just going to look at the raw extra damage that we could have dealt to his life total and see if that changes anything. So we missed 1 point.
And the high octane as well, and the arsenal is a Tome of Fendal, Sam. That is so many of his card draw effects.
Oh!
Down and Oaken Old for 9 dominates. No go again because Jacob Allen missing the lightning card over here, but this is so much disruption. And
no!
Some of those combo pieces that Michael Jasker is holding on to.
And
what's the other card in your hand?
Hand on the bottom of the deck. In a funny way though, for Michael, this is like a little okay. He had all these Artivores, no attacks, random.
But this is so card draw effects. The second one.
I think I saw Ball Lightning.
He's found quite a few combo. Is a Tome.
Is it a channel?
Second Artivore once again. System reset. That's the second one. One blocked with and the high octane as well, and the arsenal.
It's a channel, so we missed 3. So we missed 4 points of damage.
Is a Tome of Fendal, Sam. That is so many of his card draw effects as he faces down and Oaken Old for 9 dominates.
I don't think it's defensible. What's your? Do you know what your arsenal is? This is the only reason it would be defensible. I assume your arsenal's like a good card. The other reason I don't think this is like that defensible, I'm actually not that interested in IPing these cards. I think if you're IPing a lightning card with this, that's maybe defensible. I don't actually want this pulse in my hand. Maybe the channel, but I don't actually want this pulse. If it was the other 2 pulses, I think I'm fine holding it.
But this is so much disruption, and it's going to bottom some of those combo pieces that Michael Jasker is holding on to.
And they're random cards from the hand on the bottom of the deck. In a funny way, though, for Michael, this is like a little okay. He had all these Artivores, no attacks. And the top of the card is just a Tome of Findal. It would have been really hard for him to find action points and find uses for these cards. So he's taking a big lick here. He's going to have to find a way to hold the right combo pieces. But Michael Jasker, that was not looking clean with those 4 cards.
I mean, you could argue that it was a strategy decision. Like, you decided to hold the disruption in your hand. You can make that argument. I think that's the incorrect decision to make, but that could be the decision you made at that time also.
His game against Chain as well, where he's bleeding quite a little bit of damage early on in the game.
Bazinga?
He sets up, and at some point, it doesn't matter whether Jacob Allen
is that a
finds
pulse?
disruption or not, because raw damage.
Wait, do we not have an attack? Do we have Bazinga but no attack?
Disruption on its own.
Pedal Monocle. Michael Jasker takes stock. Graveyard 23.
You're actually kind of lit right now. Like, especially if opponent is at 19 here, you're actually pretty lit.
Here, Artivore pitched into the Tome of Findal, gonna gain some life.
And he's holding on to a high octane. That was a card that was left for him from that Oaken Old random boss hand, and just looking at all the combo pieces that he's found so far, Michael Jasker, that's another copy of Tome of Fendal that is hitting the arsenal for him.
If he's at 19, you're like 3 turns away from presenting lethal.
2 system resets as well. He needs to find a Spark of Genius to try and shuffle up the deck, as Jacob Allen once again has found another fuse.
Bingo, bingo, bango. Starvo activated here, and we are going to wait and see what the attack he's going to be able to throw down. Does he have one? It was a Lightning Surge, right, that he fused with? Was it a Lightning Surge?
Yeah, Lightning Surge. So that does not get buffed by Starvo's ability. The arsenal needs to be an attack with 3 or more.
Oh, that's a good one. No, that's a good one. Felling of the Crown gets to come forth. It will not be able to decompose here, so it's just going to be 6. Dominate, go again. Not ask for a card out of hand.
It's not decomposed, so we're not disrupting. So we, I think, have to play the channel. And then, like, Arsenal pass. You know, I might have actually activated Shock Charmers here also. I don't think I guess Lightning Surge and Arsenal still worth 2 points. No. No. Shock Charmer's twice here because we're gonna waste a resource, right? The Shock Charmers is 2 guaranteed damage. The Lightning Surge is not 2 guaranteed damage because he might choose to defend it. What are you laughing at?
He heads right down to 20 without a second thought.
Are we going to see the Channel Lake Frigid deployed? I wonder. Has the ice card already in the pitch zone?
Yeah, Channel Lake Frigid comes down.
Oh, never mind. We're pitching a
I
yellow.
wonder if you I guess you have no idea. Is this the turn I'm going to potentially die? You just need to protect it.
You might actually convince me that you're supposed to IP the channel there. Not the channel, the pulse. I think IPing a lightning pulse is pretty defensible in this matchup. Especially like that one. It's like kind of tough to figure that out though. Bazinga. That was like actually the only reason I was debating on playing Starvo for this event, just so I could say Bazinga every single time. I said it for I played against Jude, and then whenever he fused, I said Bazinga for him. I was like, yes, Bazinga! We've done it! Bazinga! I was so happy. Oh, I get to say Bazinga.
You want to be Arsenal it if you're worried that your opponent, you need it on a future turn, but you just don't know.
But without any processes on the field, it does seem like it's too early, so we can probably expect that it wasn't quite the go turn yet. So the CLF, wonder if it's even going to do much. Michael Yasker probably happy that he wasn't facing down any more.
Can you block with Shark Charmers?
Point out Jacob Allen,
I think you can.
Candlehold to the bottom. He could have deployed that instead to go ahead and put that Oaken Old back on top. Which would have
putting an Oaken on top is kind of spicy.
Turn, while Michael Yasker is still trying to find space to set up.
I think I like playing the channel more, but I think IPing it is pretty defensible.
And while Jacob Allen isn't sporting the Rampart of the Ram's Head to get Stasis Cell, Quick Dodge Flexes on Dash Out's combo turn can also block a whole bunch of damage. So this Stasis Cell, Michael Yasker now insulated from the Quick Dodge Flexes, getting a whole bunch of value on his combo turn. Slowly but surely, he's setting up. This Dash IO is cranking, getting her gears oiled for that massive, massive combo.
Bazinga!
Earth.
Bazinga!
Once again, third turn now for this Bravo Star of the show deck. If you have a more impactful attack, it's the Lightning Surge that's just going to be with Go again to start things off.
And the attack's in hand, I believe.
Oh, is that a red surge?
So just vanilla damage. Again, vanilla damage at some point doesn't become vanilla damage anymore, especially in the face of Dominate.
We have no idea what kind of surge this is.
I don't believe I see a second ice card.
It's apparently 3 Go again.
Here, so no way to Channel Lake Frigid around for a second turn. Might regret the decision for deploying it as early as he did. So as we saw, Michael Yasker was not ready to combo off.
Okay, I redact everything I said about the surge then. I didn't realize it was a red. You're a mad lad playing red. I respect that.
Activate to grab the Felling back. That's an Earth card as well for the Felling.
However, still no 4 Earth cards in banish, so this will still just be 6 instead of 8 plus 2, so it's 4 plus 2, but does make Michael
card,
give up a card.
No!
No!
No! We could have activated Shock Charmers in response! No! No! We've missed approximately 1 million damage. What did we bottom?
So this will still well for the Felling.
Is that blue in your hand? I can't tell. Is it a red tilling? I can't tell. Wait a gosh darn second. You Bazinga-ed this turn, right? Is the other card in your hand a blue? Is it blue Cadaverous? Like blue and a Cadaverous? So here, okay, we're not actually supposed to activate Shock Charmers. We're not supposed to Shock Charmers. I think you're supposed to play the Tilling, then play the Felling. This is like probably fine, but if we're gonna do this, we activate Shock Charmers 3 times.
However,
Maybe
still no 4 Earth cards in banish, so this will still just be 6 instead of 8 plus 2. So it's 4 plus 2, but does make
the
Michael
card,
Yasker
yeah.
give up a card. Jacob Allen, of course, needs to give up a
I mean,
card.
I think
Oh,
bottoming a
Jacob
card to your
Allen
own felling is
misses the
worse.
effect. So Jacob Allen bottoms a card. 6 dominate go again. The promise of the Winter's Whale coming after this as well.
6 dominate go again. From this felling of the crown. Not the most impressive in terms of damage that it can be.
I guess you get to
alongside
hammer
Sargo.
here.
Fusing.
High Octane found 1 processor as well for Michael Yasker, and we know the arsenal is.
I don't. This is an example of like I don't think I value the hammer too much. We have a channel in play. We're gonna keep the channel in play. I think we have incentivized our opponent to defend with cards on this turn. So I want to make sure that I front load all of my damage on the dominate attack. I would rather 3 evasive damage than 4 blockable damage, because the 4 blockable damage will be blocked. It will not actually equate into any actual damage to our opponent's life total. Why don't you get to keep the channel? Did you? I thought you had a nice card in your hand.
The Tome of Fendel, I believe, the one that was drawn off the first Tome of Fendel. So the combo piece is starting to come together for Michael Yasker.
Oh, it's a Trip to Light Fantastic. I thought that was a nice card at the bottom.
Doing some math, he knows the Frosty Hammer is coming.
So then maybe we hammer?
At the end of this chain, as well as the Winter's Grasp gets pitched for the Winter's Whale.
No, I guess you can block with the Heavy Industry Power Plant if you're worried about the Frostbite. Michael here down to 10. The wrong Starvo fuse with too much.
Yeah, it's a Trip Light. I saw blue and I thought it was a ice card.
Baby, then it's a game 3.
And looking at Jacob Allen's body language, you can see that he's still not super confident, Sam. He is still a little bit nervous. He knows how explosive this Dash IO deck can be out of seemingly nowhere.
Oh, look at the facial expression from Michael as he runs his head through his hands. No more impactful decision has been made for Michael Yasker in his Flesh and Blood career than this. How do you deal with a Winter's Whale for 4 that promises a Frostbite in your second semifinals game? The right move, you're on to the finals. The wrong, potentially another game.
T-bone.
All go wrong. It could all get messy. For Michael, you know he wants to just close the door, slam it shut, move forward. But a Frostbite at the wrong time, taking too much damage. Blocking when you maybe shouldn't have. This is the most important decision.
I feel like he can't
Let's see if he can get the right
37 you off of 4 cards with the current setup.
If he takes too much damage and isn't ready to combo off, goes down to 6. 1 untimely Starvo Fuse can just spell the end of his game here. Block 5. The call from Michael Yasker dodges the Frostbite, is holding on to a processor and a high octane. Wants to try.
I'm actually kind of surprised that he blocked with his chest here.
Doesn't find a fuse once again. Processor comes down. Is there
Maybe the last card in his hand doesn't defend.
High octane. No crank as a call. That's his action point used. High octane in hand. Tome of Fendel in Arsenal, he is now set up. We saw him basically with a similar setup pop off and make his way into the semifinals. Is Jacob Allen going to give him the space?
He's asking his opponent.
Bazinga?
Can you fuse again? Can you
No.
make me care? Autumn Touch for 7 is the ask. Autumn Touch for 7 hits the chain.
Now imagine we had 4 points of chip damage right now from earlier. So I think realistically we missed 4 points. You can argue the other ones as strategical choices, but I think guaranteed we missed 4 points of chip. This is just actually lethal on the stack. He has to defend this or he dies.
Michael Yasker knows there's no pummel. He knows this is it.
But there's Shock Charmers. 2 blues in hand could represent an extra 3 damage
And he thinks
from
of
the
it.
Shock Charmers.
He sees it immediately. He reaches across the table.
Jacob Allen, of course, does not have 2 blues.
Your opponent currently more aware of your shock charmers than you are.
Forces at least 1 card from him. You cannot give up the power. So you need to give up a real card, but he's
Unlucky.
a third copy of Tome of Fendel. Michael Yasker back against the wall. This is it.
And these are the moments you start to ask yourself, why is the Dio deck so explosive? How does it really work? As we're seeing the Tunic get utilized just to pump this thing up by 1, thanks to the Shock Charmers.
So 5 damage gets leaked. Michael Yasker goes to 5. Importantly, not 0.
3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. Processor loses a steam counter.
Okay, so he would have been at
Lines
1.
up. And strap in, people. We're about to see
So it wouldn't have mattered.
a long Dash IO turn, a long combo as his
Okay,
mechanologist
at least it didn't
ready
matter.
And starts off with a high octane.
High octane. Michael Yasker is cooking with gas. The power begins to flow through him. The question is, will he have the right output?
You maybe present lethal, though, if you didn't hammer him on the previous turn, and you activated Shock Charmers preemptively 3 times on the felling, because that would have been 3 true damage. And if he was just going to block anyways, then, like, whatever.
Or will it just begin to fall apart? The Stalag, as Stasis Cell leaves, immediately you see both equipment pieces, quote-unquote, tapped.
Stasis Cell has two effects. One when it enters and leaves, and has an action as well, which puts it on the bottom, which means it does leave. And
so there's 4 points that I think you're guaranteed supposed to get with your Shock Charmers this game, which would put them to 1. And then it's a question of whether or not you're supposed to hammer or activate Shock Charmers 3 times last turn.
These mechanologists have access to a whole bunch of items that can just insulate them from various counter game plans the opponents might try to enact.
Sprocket Rocket hits the field. It's not really here to attack, though. It's getting buffed up by the Stubby Hammer, sure, but it's getting action points. It's getting resources thanks to the power plant, thanks to the high octane. And the Symbiosis shot begins to slowly load up with those counters.
And it looks like Michael Jasper just has 1 card in hand, 1 in arsenal. However, both those cards are Toma Fandel. And he has a processor on the field as well. So up to 5 cards.
When I was testing against
right here already on board, not even counting what else he might find off the top.
Connor,
out of war. System reset to reset the
mentally I'd be like,
more cards. There's so much more card draw
I actually just want to concede now that you're comboing because I know that it's deterministic.
Part of the power of this deck. You can look at the top, you know what at least the first card.
But I'm just going to block with all of my cards on your first couple chain links, and then F6, and then walk away from my computer so that way you can at least get your practice. I don't need to be here for this. I know that you still need the reps, but I don't need to be here for this.
Shuffle them up. Now you can have access to them once again from your own Tome of Endals and the processor that you might tutor out with the Spark of Genius.
0 to 64, boost. 2 more action points now for Dash.io. Thanks to that high octane remaining for this whole turn.
We see it already, the shift in body language on both sides. Michael Jasper now feeling a little bit more free, feeling the energy flow through him and his items on the board, and Jacob Allen a little bit more.
That sounds familiar, but I don't recall right now.
Full 5 counters on Michael Jasper's side of the board. That's the promise of opting 5 more times to find exactly what he needs to extend this combo turn.
Why are you blocking with Tunic here?
Multiple action points. Lots of ways to use them.
It, like, probably doesn't matter, but you should be defending the few on hits that he has, not the vanilla damage. He has, like, some ops and things like that. You should defend those instead.
It's just sitting with a full 5 counters on Michael Jasper.
Another 0 to 60, gonna boost. Data link, man, seems like that card is here to hit the banish zone. Up to 3 floating resources, 4 go again. 8 life plays 33.
I agree. This is, like, such an unreasonable deck to be legal for the event. That's why I didn't play it, because I was like, there's no way this deck is legal for Worlds. There's no way that they missed this. There's no way if I complain on Twitter about these cards that it'll still be legal. Holy shit, this deck is still legal. Fuck, fuck, fuck. What do I do? I'm just going to hope that no one is aware of this deck.
Semifinals of the World Championship. Kind of all hinges on this. Does Jacob Allen stay alive? Force a game 3. Or does Michael Jasker stay alive just long enough for Toma Findall?
I think I saw a clip of that on YouTube.
Tools like an orchestra.
Cellrun processor comes in, off the Spark of Genius is cranked as well, so Michael Jasper maintains the action point, is going to draw a card off the Spark of Genius as well, because of course he has boosted multiple times this turn, is digging for further boost cards, for further card draw effects. The processor that was just found can yet draw another card off the top. We are nowhere close to being done on this turn. Cash in the pickup off.
Oh, Pot of Greed! I cast Pot of Greed. It lets me draw 2 additional Pot of Greeds.
Michael Jasper.
Yo. We haven't even talked about.
I agree. I think this was actually the best deck in format, but I think this deck significantly drops in how good it is based on how aware people are of it. Like we saw before, a lot of the people in the top cut were playing Amulet of Echoes because they were aware of this deck. I think this deck gets significantly worse when things like that happen.
Card was a system reset, Sam. These 2 processes on the field after the second one is used are going to be reset, and the turn just keeps going. These gears just keep turning. This mechanologist is nowhere close to being run out of.
I think that this deck is attackable. I don't think this is something that's like, oh, I don't want to play LL because this one deck.
Because the Stubby Hammer is giving it a +1.
Hence if people are aware of this deck, it gets much worse. If people put in tech cards and start attacking the Dash.io deck, it's much worse.
Game at this World Championships.
4 floating resources. Power plant doing so much work. Toma Findall. 4 action points as well. Now down to 3. How about 2 more cards? Why not?
And like you can play cards like Erase Face, which have overlap between Dash.io and Viscerai and Chain. So like that's pretty good there.
More.
3 action points, 4 Symbiosis shot counters, 3 floating. It's a comical amount of resources right now on Michael Jasper's side, both in the form of resources, action point, Symbiosis shot.
I love your hand just on the pen pad. F6. Send me the bill. How much am I taking?
Pulled everything back up to the top. Oh, well, around the deck. It happened to be to the top over here. The Art of War and these double high octanes here.
This is so interesting. We've got a draw off the Cerebellum. We have 2 draws off the High Octane, and Michael Yasker knows what's on the top card of the deck at all
Jesus
times.
Christ.
High Octanes again. He draws a card.
You're
He finds
so
the card. He
fucking
draws a card.
cooked.
A genius off
Holy
the top.
shit.
Getting all the card draw that he needs. And remember, if at any point he doesn't like the top card of the deck, Optical Monocle can just fix that for him. He has 4 more counters on that card. He can just find the boost that he needs.
You're
whatever else he
so
needs.
fucked.
A little bit of lean back. Thinks it out. Bit of a grimace.
Jacob Allen, his hand
No. You have been more dead. It's when he puts the next high octane
Not
down.
sure if he's going to.
Look at the amount of cards represented for Michael Yasker. Activates the Cerebellum. Down 2 action points.
When your opponent says, I need your side of the combat chain for my effects, you ain't winning that game.
Blue T-Bone gets out of there. Up to a resource. 3 action points gained. Up to 5 action points. All 3 High Octanes have been played on this turn.
Furious comes in for 6 because of course he has Crank, so gets +1, gets +1 from Stubby Hammers, and gets +1 from R4 as well. 0 cost 6 that gained him 3 action points and a resource because why not?
Art of War in Dash.io. Who'da thunk? Brings back Barker Genius. Michael needs to go make sure deck, graveyard, and Banished Stone are all in order.
I think he already has a
All
system
ready
reset in his
wants it to
hand.
be. Jacob Allen started this turn pretty high, all the way down to 22 so far. And there's so much more to come,
I
so much more promise by
play
Michael Yasker.
Anka instead. I found that Anka actually moves the needle against
It's the
Acilio more.
It's the field, and Michael Yasker is set up ready with the system reset in his hand as well. Needs to
Your
put 3
face,
floating
you're
resources,
just
which would be easy to do. He's going to draw a card off the Spark of Genius, going to draw a card off the processor, going to be able to boost his way to 3 resources and system reset all the processes back to being ready.
I
back
have
to
a
offer him even
family
more
to
card draw.
feed.
Go ahead and gain a resource, boosting off the T-Bone up to 6 action points, and surely more with 3 High Octanes. Oh, yeah, 8 action points, 5 from the T-Bone, thanks to the Stubbies, thanks to the Art of War.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Michael, with the current setup, could present a turn that is about 100 damage. I don't even think that he needed to turn off the quick dodge flexors, and Jacob still dies.
8 action points, and Symbiosis Shot offers a very profitable action point sink. Attacks for free, allows Michael Yasker to use the action points for 2 damage each, and then just gain even more as he continues to boost up to 11 action points now.
Tank 4 is the call from Jacob. Surely he can use some of these cards on defense. Is he just waiting to see what comes next?
He wants to be forced to use them on defense. His only way out is if Michael Yasker's combo somehow breaks at some point. Maybe he's hoping he hasn't found the system reset. And so Jacob Allen can still at least do something. 10 action points. Remember, system reset will once again charge up the Symbiosis.
Yeah, it's like,
as the items come back
I don't need to
play.
physically
So
be
Michael
here
Yasker
for
has to go
this.
ahead and expend those counters before he deploys the system reset.
You're a good sport, not conceding.
Just opts all these cards into whatever he wants. Brian Gottlieb saying, oh, the Dash.io deck is just not very good. Oh, people aren't just winning. It's like 40%. Maybe the players using it aren't as good as Michael Yasker. As in the hands of this guy, we're seeing the absolute peak of what is possible in the game of Flesh and Blood. Living legend. Jacob Allen already down to 3 as he takes all the counters from the Symbiosis Shot to the face. The system reset comes down. Everything flies out, flies back in. Dash is fully repowered, locked, loaded. And is this going to be the end of the game? Are we going to meet our first finalist?
And has mauled enough action points to keep drawing cards off these processes that re-enter the field thanks to system reset.
Yo, imagine they added a rule where you had chess clocks and you had to finish your turn within your rope time. Oh my god, this deck would just fall apart.
Couple of action points too, because why not? As these get Crank come back and give Michael Yasker more action points to fuel more card draw. Fast and Furious for 6 once again.
You can see the electromagnetic somersault pitched. And you see the
Things like this, I like thinking about game design a lot. And I'm typically not a fan of the like shields based games where your life total is like shields, prizes, any of those types of things where when you deal damage to your opponent, it's reduced by 1 or whatever, not to the amount of damage that you deal to them. I've never been a fan of those, and like in practice playing games, I find the life total games to be more interesting. But things like this make me like those game systems more because it like just based on the mechanics of the game of just how life changes work helps eliminate some strategies like this. Not necessarily something like this. Like, let's say we were playing a shield-based game, like Michael's going like 8 million wide. It doesn't matter. But it does eliminate some of those kinds of strategies where you can OTK your opponent, because it doesn't matter if I make a monster that's 8 million attack. I'm only going to reduce your life total by 1 by hitting you, right?
claws come forward, and the handshake is extended. Michael Yasker leans back and can do nothing but give a little satisfied smile.
Hey, my spoiler card won Worlds. Who knew Stasis Cell would end up being good? Okay, so we got the RuneGate chain versus Marlin. We already looked at the deck list yesterday, so we're just going to skip forward. Actually, is there anything of note for this matchup for the chain side? Not really. I don't see any defensive cards. Is he playing the ambush card? No.
Rounds as well. King of the top loaders is Ian Zhang. We have a Quiver of Rustling Leaves activation here on turn 0.
Okay, so typically this card is the get out of jail free card. I didn't have a harp.
Man,
I have to find
I think
to play a turn. Unluckily,
even when I played Lexi, Rustling Leaves had like a 10% hit rate for me. I fucking hate this card.
However, Conqueror of the High Seas on top of the deck is very valuable information for both players. Would not be surprised to see Matthew Dilks avoiding an Arsenal with that information available.
But already the texture of this game very different to Ian's matchup against Margin Bay when he was able to send overpower damage straight off the bat. No opportunity to assault the life total of Matthew Dilks, and the turn gets passed back to the chain unscathed.
Was that a second conk?
Especially given the density of cards in their hand, we see Malefic Incantation to start. That rune chant generator, one of the more powerful ones available to this deck, repeatable across multiple turns, means multiple rune gate attacks, often able to be played as a result.
Grasp of the Arcanite is the follow-up to create that first rune chant here for Matthew Dilks. Soul Shackle created. That's Chain's ability active.
See Revel in Runeblood in hand alongside this bounding Demigon. So a very traditional style of chain turn to kick us off here. Just 3 go again from hand.
Anyone catch what the last card was?
Will be made behind courtesy of Malefic Incantation. We will either see the Duskblade sent in or 4 more rune chants made before that, before the sword comes swinging across.
Yeah, it's going to be a question here if Matthew Dilks wants to...
Okay, I have a funny Vor anecdote. You guys might have heard this before because I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before on stream. He was playing against Austin Summers at the LL Battle Hardened, I think at Worlds last year. Austin pitches Light of Soul to play Herald of Triumph on turn 1 of the game, turn 0. And then Vor goes, I have responses. And then he starts his turn by pitching a red, or starts his opponent's turn by pitching a red to Striders to play Tome of Aetherwind. He ends up winning this game. He proceeds to have like an actual 30-minute combo. And I have a picture of it somewhere. There's just Austin is just playing Dice Tower off to the side because he's so bored waiting for him to get it to take a game action. He's just watching his opponent play with his food. It was so stupid. I hate Kano so much.
Just send the maximum number of possible damage for this hand. Duskblade also is going to get a counter on it.
He got the Dice Tower really high. I was impressed.
In the hand for Ian Zhang, parking Revel in Runeblood in Arsenal, certainly dangerous, makes you commit.
I died. I have responses.
Duskblade going to come across the line with a big old bunch of arcane.
Yeah, Matthew Dilks almost gingerly pushing that rune chant token forward as if it might cause offense.
I like the BM.
There's definitely nothing to scoff at, and that'll be joined, of course, by this 3 damage Duskblade, a very, very reasonable.
I think you're misplaying if you don't BM your opponent when that's happening. What I would have done in that situation if I was in that game, I would have picked up Stasis Cell and read it to check if I can defend with my quick dodge without activating them. Because I think it was can't be activated, but you could still defend with them. So I would have checked to see if I could have defended with them for 0, just a BM.
Rune boots of a very special variety there in the leg slot. Gold foil, of course.
If you're not familiar with Ian Zhang, known for their bling, does not do their deck by halves. I was quite offended by the Rainbow Foil Marlin.
I'm offended by Ian playing with mini snaps and top loaders. What is this atrocity?
This deck yesterday.
Yeah, that's a huge misplay. You have to BM your opponent.
Make sure that Ian Zhang is dressed to the nines as he steps into the spotlight.
Difficult spot here for Ian. This hand looks a little bit clunky. We haven't found premium harpoons early here, but it does seem like we have a high density of resources. So options here, take a turn off, soak up the rune chance, try again next time. We do know that Conqueror is going to get a bit stuck if that's the line that we take. And because there is already an Arsenal, no safe place to put that.
Oh my god, and it was so dumb too for Austin's side of the game. All of this was happening in response to the Light of Soul trigger. Austin did not have another Herald in his hand to put into his soul with Halo, so he couldn't like create a ward 4. he just had 2 auras in his hand or something.
Taking the more aggressive line. And Matthew Dux sees it on top with that Quiver of Rustling Leaves activation, so he's not incentivized to have tucked that Revelant Runeblight away. He knows he needs to
Ooh, that ain't it.
So this Conquer the High Seas just represent damage for Ian Zhang, but it also promises more on this turn. 2 blues in pitch means this has +1 and go again. In an ideal world, that
hopefully we have a Poon in the arsenal.
To draw multiple cards, perhaps find a Harpoon to lock load and cannon at Matthew Dilks. On the other side, pretty expected hand here. A couple of cards you prefer to be in the Banished Zone.
Oh, the Dice Tower was. It was like. If this is the table, the Dice Tower was up to like here. It was impressive.
Challenge for Chain. That is an effect of creating a soul.
I offered to give him some of my dice because he was running out.
So he says, okay, 8 damage. Seems good to me. I already beat you pretty hard in that previous turn.
I love Ian's bling, but the top loaders are triggering me.
Not on turn 0, not on turn 1 either. No luck with that Arsenal card. Makes me think we are looking at something.
If I, like I said, always got a BM. If I sat down across from Ian and I saw he had top loaders mixed in, I would have asked him, "What do you pour?" Like him with like literal rainbow foil extended art tunic that's like over $1,000. What do you pour? Can't afford more mini snaps.
For an arrow, perhaps a more interactive card than these pieces to go alongside.
1 psychic point of damage dealt.
As we make our way into follow-up turns, Matthew Dux here. Banishing Read the Runes, not exactly helpful. Do you see that ripple away in the hand?
Agree.
It's best when we're not expecting rune gate attacks to come popping over the line.
The top loaders are trolling.
Aware of, as it may disappear from the limelight. Where are the Harpoons at? Seek and Destroy, Art of War in the hand, so a chance to draw at least. And yes, Ian can leverage that gold token for a gold fin Harpoon as banished fodder. It's been pretty rough draws for the Marlin player. Not finding.
Oh, I'm happy that I don't like gold foils. I think they look ugly.
We are going to see a Phantom Wraith from the hand, though. Less than ideal for Matt Dilks, but 6 damage, still good enough in some cases. Yeah, it's going to get it out, over-pitching to it, getting that Bounding Demagon back into the deck. Still means 6 go again.
Yeah, I do the same thing, Jacob.
The Duskblade, but would lose its counters if we don't see non-attack action, excuse me. Difficult hand for Ian Zhang to navigate here with no obvious routes with a hand that's been drawn. We'll be relying on that Art of War to fix things. However, if you take a defensive stance, suddenly Art of War cannot fix things anymore. Leaves you kind of praying the top of the deck is kind to you. Should you keep the hand?
This is like so ideal for Dilks. The game like feels like it's already over. Like he's hitting Shackle 3 without any meaningful disruption. The game's already over.
There is a chance to look a couple more times for one of those much needed Harpoons. Funeral Moon is played.
Yeah, they're so ugly. It's like mustard color, not gold color. I don't like them. But I'm happy I don't like them, because now I'm not tempted to keep them.
Very fair Flesh and Blood from Chain so far. Just good numbers being presented from hand each time. But it's that inevitability the Soul Shackles provide that is the power here. We're playing good turns, pushing Ian Zhang down to 20.
Nope, not leaving you alone. Misplay.
Okay, it's time for that, perhaps. Ian Zhang reaches into the pocket. Seeking to destroy Portside Exchange, and you're right, it was a front pump here. So later the has to be clear for the Arsenal, because Ian wants to load off a draw. Gold token used for a Harpoon. Portside Exchange now.
Wait, is he just gambling?
And create that gold. Very cool to see Portside Exchange being used here instead of Art of War.
Yeah, what is this lighting?
He's looking at a bonus card, dashes out that yellow. But Art of War still very good.
Does he not have an arrow?
So taking additional looks, using the cards we have to go as deep as possible to find one of these Haymaker Harpoons. What he's opted. Lace with Inertia. 3 of a kind. Okay, 3 of a kind is significantly more looks. I love banishing Ripple away from my Art of Wars. 3 of a kind here, going to give Ian Zhang another shot to find. He's digging out a golden tipple. Okay, so he's that Seeking Destroy has been holding on to. We are 2 pumps here. He needs to find an arrow. Surely he needs 3. Surely. We're Harpoon hunting. King Shark Harpoon there. I think I spotted it. Yeah, he has himself an attack.
Oh, we've done it.
Off that Marlin trigger. So 2 pumps, Art of War damage increase. Plus a King Shark.
Super fuck your arsenal.
Hammerhead activation. This is a monstrous term. It's big damage. And the ability to take away an attack action from hand. Of course,
oh, you got a face perk?
There as well, because you are not going to be able to block this in its entirety.
Nice.
Very unlikely. This is what Ian Zhang was playing towards. That
oh, wait, how's Dalton still in the pack?
Provided enough resources to lock and load the Hammerhead, and now we are staring at 17 overpower on hit. Your Arsenal's gone. Your Arsenal's gone again. Your hand's in danger, and gold tokens being made out the wazoo. Perfect time for a Bounce of Justice, as Ian Zhang has drawn plenty of cards.
I heckin' love Pot of Greed.
Sharp Harpoon, though, is going to be hitting 12 damage. Let's see the hand. Oh, okay. That, read the runes, is not an attack action. You do have to select the card, though, with Go Fish.
Yo, sick thought sees Bozo. I don't have any targets.
Balance of Justice, of course. Activated, card drawn up. Seek and Destroy effect in play, as is the Inertia. Are quite similar.
What was his hand again? I guess we kind of want a pitch card here. We're just hoping that we hit some Blood Debt.
Ooh, okay. That, read the runes, is not an attack action. You do have to select the card, though, with Go Fish.
I don't think she's terrible. I think she's really close to being good. Her hero power and weapon are really strong. The Ranger card pool is really strong. she's just missing like a couple pieces to be a good deck. I'm like this close to playing her.
Here, Ian just being a stickler for the rules, making sure targets are selected.
I like that.
The other problem is like a lot of the popular decks are bad matchups like Gravy.
As is the inertia, are quite similar. You are not putting a card in Arsenal this turn, Matthew Dilks, just like that. Life totals are equalized between these players, and we see Soul Reaping in the hand. Blue Seeds of Agony coming off free of charge from those Soul Shackles.
Kind of awkward.
What else? Seeds of Agony, read the runes. Malefic Incantation at the back of the hand there as well in beautiful cold foil variety.
Yeah, honestly, if she gets like one more card that's good, I think she's a good deck.
Interesting hand sequence here for Matthew Dilks. Soul Reaping, of course, only generating resources if you banish blood.
I was really
seeds available, but the only target for
surprised
would be
that
Soul Reaping,
we didn't get
so the Malefic Incantation starts the turn
a cycle of just generic arrows that were like a 1-for-5 cycle that just said on hit make a gold.
There's still a problem to solve here. Once again, Matthew Dilks highly incentivized to make use of every card, convert the entire hand on this turn.
Especially since they didn't think that anyone was going to play Tipple.
It's in the banish zone
Keck.
here. I wonder if Matthew Dilks is eager to keep these counters on Duskblade around. Might be a world where that is saved to provide another non-attack action later down the line to make sure that happens. Alternatively, we can run it out here alongside that Soul Reaping.
Could also activate Grasp, right?
Growing healthily. Deliberate movements here from our Canadian. It's going to be Soul Reaping the play, Seeds of Agony the banish target. It's still very much accessible to Matthew Dilks, but not for the purposes of Soul Reaping. Very taciturn.
Obviously I enjoy my board state decks, but I also enjoy Ranger.
Of course, one resource being generated here, just enough to fuel that Duskblade swing.
I enjoy my heroes that don't have a real weapon.
As a result, Rune Champ may be behind, but also Duskblade's conditions have already been met. Ian Zhang in the blender about this scenario. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing their hand so far, keeping it close to the chest and close to the table. Clearly not an easy decision tree. So a mixture of harpoons.
He has a Codex in Arsenal, right?
No. We're all about secrets here. Shadows on one side, unknown knowledge on the other.
I have to time it perfectly to try and jump to his hand, and he's been very quick with it. Right, well, we'll just do it the honest way. Red Fin Harpoon gets in front. 3 damage suffered.
Oh, I miss playing Drum Eye so much.
So one card remaining for Dilks here.
That was my favorite part of this event, getting to play her again.
Seek and destroy and inertia tokens do not garner value. We do see more harpoons. I believe that's catch of the day.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I can't turn my head quite sideways enough.
It's 2 harpoons, but they're bluefin harpoons?
Looks like they are both blue fin harpoons to me, alongside that catch of the day. So numerous resources, 2 harpoons.
I'm almost wondering after watching Ian's games if he's not supposed to play AB boots and if he's just supposed to play the Sea Lace Sarongs, because I feel like he doesn't really pitch to AB very much. To the point where just having 2 more health in your boot slot would have been better, and also the flexibility of getting to Arsenal blue arrows.
Work with,
but no way to
draw
draw
hit there.
Way to draw cards, really. Well, I guess catch of the day, I suppose. Read the runes is the follow-up. That takes the rune chant count up to 4. Blood debt, of course, will be incurred. 2 life lost by Matthew Dilks at the end of his turn.
Difficult choice there for Matthew Dilks. Does give up a chunk of damage from Duskblade to play that Read the Runes, not lose it. We will see catch of the day, Hammerhead activation, Codex of Frailty. We saw this one drew up on the final turn cycle, parked safely in the arsenal. The best way to find the harpoon you want. Block with it, fire it, buy it back from the pit.
So the only time Matthew Dilks gets to have an arsenal here is when Ian Zhang decides as such. Either it's inertia effects keeping that zone free, or Ian...
Now, the one nice thing here is you do get to discard the same card type that the harpoon is looking for to the Codex. And then if you have more than 1, then you just block with it. So you're only fucked if there's 3 in your hand. And you're just kind of hoping your shackles hit attacks at that point.
He's jammed in there for the taking. However, Marlin, you don't normally follow this play out with a form of arsenal disruption. It's not quite as nasty as Assassins can make it with a leave no witnesses or command and conquer. King Shark Harpoon is disruptive. It looks at the hand and wants an attack action. And with that Hammerhead activation, you'll get to choose.
Every now and again, you will see Codex of Frailty with Conqueror of the High Seas to cause a little bit of chaos, but typically lining up for 6 resources, Hammerhead activation, fire away a 2-cost harpoon, very much the bread and butter.
Catch of the day here means we get 2 Go Fish triggers.
12 points of overpower, threatening to strip 2 cards away from the hand of Matthew Dilks.
Widespread and some armor.
We've learned from Majin's mistakes.
Now, this is
break down your armor.
And the game we saw Ian play against Margin Bay, we're seeing King Shark Harpoon used repeatedly, not King Kraken Harpoon. And it really is those non-attack actions that are the glue that makes this chain deck come together. You need to generate rune chants and have the shackles find those attacks for you. We see Deadwood Dirge, Malefic Incantation in hand, neither of those being ripped away.
If he hits
staring down the barrel of the
like anything here, I think he's lit.
This Deadwood Dirge is Value Town.
Oh, and he gets to kill the frailty.
Okay, Shackles, widespread
Oh my god, he's
destruction.
so good at the
He's
game.
got so many rune charts to work with. Not an issue trying to get his first rune gate attack out of Arsenal. How's the sequencing going to go here?
Do we just hold on to the bounding?
Definitely the attack I would be leaning towards first 4 rune chants currently existing, make it very easy to fund that one up front. Eloquent Eulogy, very much an afterthought. This Malefic Incantation is going to make a rune chant however you choose to navigate the turn, so that one will be easy enough to pay for. Besides, we know there are plenty more rune chant generators in the hand for Matthew Dogs.
And this
Stupid lit.
matters a whole lot. Widespread destruction is looking at the Arsenal, looking to take that away from Ian Zhang. And there isn't an easy way to prevent that.
Definitely not. Would be interesting to see if Matthew Dilks is interested in using Spellbound Creepers here, using that Malefic Incantation to fuel Deadwood Dirge, eat that fealty token, provide a bonus.
I could see
points,
doing that,
chain
so that way we
force,
could play our
go
arsenal.
into this attack first of all. I mean, we could find a way to sequence both Eloquent Eulogy and the Duskblade swing in the immediate future.
Yeah, the ceiling on this turn is incredibly high.
Don't actually know.
Use that frailty token for his own nefarious ends.
I wish they said that in the graphic. They probably said something, but I don't feel like listening to all the
Plotting a
pre-show
for his next turn.
stuff.
One that likely doesn't involve his Arsenal card. That is complicated. Needs to get loaded. But also needs to be concerned about just the sheer amount of damage. This is the lion's share of his life total that is being threatened with this attack. 4 rune chance, 6 damage from the widespread destruction.
Don't blame Ian for taking some serious time on this decision. Widespread Destruction, bit of a pain point for this Marlin deck. Arsenal cards very much at a premium. Usually you want to keep those Art of Wars, those cash-ins, those 3 of a kinds there to facilitate the variance that comes with playing Marlin, give you ways to find harpoons when the hand.
Yeah, it's like, man, do I just block out this turn?
Pressured by a card like Widespread Destruction, it's very difficult to stare this down, especially alongside 4 rune chants, and just have to acknowledge that card is probably gone.
It's been a rocky road for Ian Zhang in this game, but on this turn he must leave no stone unturned.
Because he'd have to be like, pitch a blue, pitch 2 blues to rune chance, block 2 cards on this. There's no way he can actually stop his arsenal from getting blown up. Sure, let us know, Dalton. I think you just accept that your arsenal's dying here. There's no way you can actually defend it. I mean, I guess if we block this out and then Dilks closes chain to play one of the non-attacks, then we could defend this out. Because he already has a 1 rune chant to cast the Eloquent. But then Dilks, if that happens and he just blocks out, Dilks could just get the creepers in here. He could pitch to play the Dirge after the Eloquent, killing the frailty, and then just play his arsenal. Or just leave the rune chants. So I assume Dilks chose format. Yeah, I don't think it's reasonable to actually fight over this.
And again, for me, this is something I wish I saw.
So then it's like,
at all levels of Flesh and Blood.
how do we
Ian
make do
found the
with
turn
our
where
hand
this
here?
game is-
Because he's also he might just present lethal this turn, honestly. This is 10 damage. Yeah, he's just presenting lethal. We have to, I think it's just like go into blockout mode and hope that he dies to Blood Debt or something. But I think we've actually lost the game on the inside. Unless we have like a small hand that we can play that's disruptive here. We like block a little bit and then play a small hand like a Codex hand or something. Or we just start cracking all of our gold. I don't know what's in his hand other than the Go Fish
Likely to be
non-attack.
feels like a very
Looks
impactful
like a
to navigate.
Kraken.
Has bought themselves, we're in time rounds, there is no actual timer, but has bought himself enough time by playing punchy earlier on, making quick decisions to sit there, think, contemplate these decisions, and make sure that this one decision is the biggest one of our game, gives them the highest chance.
He's
of a
presenting
situation that looks pretty bleak.
10,
Contrast, I think, between this Marlin game
11.
That level of variance here. We talk about Marlin, being consistent, having a
I
consistent.
can't tell which seeds those are.
Variance when it comes to these ranger decks, and always a vulnerability in the arsenal.
11, 15.
It's a real tough spot here for Ian Zhang. I believe that is King Coon. I believe it's a King Shark. So the best attack in the matchup does
15,
finally show its way out
18.
in a hand that is forced to respect arcane damage. And I like this a lot from Ian. Doesn't have information about that Arsenal
23
card. Very
damage,
possible it is
probably.
Comes to temptation. Does not want to allow that to be played as an instant if arcane damage was dealt. If you're going to be taking some amount of damage, you would prefer it to be physical to circumvent that trick.
Ian's taking damage here. You're not going to fold the entire hand to try and cover up widespread destruction. And
Well, there's no trick.
planning on
Ian
trying to cover
actually
the
knows
two
all
cards
3
in his hand.
cards.
Now, chain being closed, it's important to remember widespread destruction is going to banish
Oh,
both
you're kidding!
both players' arsenals if they've taken damage. No damage from that Dilks, thankfully. Damage pretty significant for Ian Zhang. Cash in, cashed out.
And now we know exactly why Ian Zhang had to spend so much time trying to figure out the way forward. We're going to clear the banish here for Matthew Dilks. Not interested in taking too much more.
If the seeds are live, then it's 25 damage.
Eulogy, for example. The next attack action card would cost 0. Gains an arcane damage ping. So that Eulogy does still cost 1 in that top corner there.
Oh, it was a yellow?
I'm not mistaken.
So then he also gets to play the bounding. My god. Wait, no. He plays the sword.
Easy enough to get value from those seeds.
Oh my god, send him to hell.
First of all, 4 rune charms. And Deadwood Dirge doing some serious lifting. Inzang can't block anymore. He's got 1 point of block and a gold baited hook. Of course, the tunic can also get in front. How do you stay alive and still have a functional turn? Is that even on the table at this point?
Oh, he gets the eloquent.
Tunic and those 2 remaining floating resources taken to take just 1 arcane here. So succumb the temptation technically on the table.
Yeah, at this point you just hope that Dilks bleeds out, but that seems pretty unreasonable. He's on Shackle 4. Like, there's no way he bleeds out.
To make sure this final harpoon isn't being ripped away. It is that bounding demigon from the arsenal. Makes sense as to why those seeds were played out ahead of time.
And he got rid of the frailty token, so this is full value on the bounding demigon.
Bonus arcane, full value, no fealty. Sequences coming together perfectly for Matthew Dilks. That King Kraken Harpoon, the last card in Ian Zhang's hand, which is why this is such a difficult decision. That is the type of card that can get you back into this game. But if you want to keep it, you've got to put yourself at a ridiculously low life total. And at this point for Ian, preventing the damage becomes less and less efficient, more uncomfortable. Split damage from chain, even though you have a source of arcane barrier. Having to pitch away against these rune charms and then find a way to effectively block the physical damage and still have a turn to play without cash in. It's just not possible. That's the exact kind of card that would give
So we're just gonna crack gold? Oh.
That got stripped away from him. So
What did he keep? What was the last card?
Even though you have a source of arcane barrier, having to pitch away against the exact use of it's just.
Did he keep the non-attack?
Harpoon tucked away for later, says Matthew Dilks. Please miss. And so far, those soul shackles have. So no bonus cards for Matthew.
I feel like arsenaling here is kind of trolling. There's no way that you get to actually resolve your arsenal.
To do 5 damage. Got to be enough all by itself. That's in Rune Blind.
Like, you're at 5. How do we ever get a turn again?
Some good options here. That Dustblade, of course, has successfully maintained its counters throughout its entire barrage.
Shackles? 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 Shackles?
Okay.
Did I miss the shackles?
This card's for Matthew. Without cash in, it's just not possible. That's the exact kind of card that would give Ian the resilience to play through a limited hand. That got stripped away from him. So that 3 gold, not going to be made use of. It's just arsenal and pass. That Harpoon tucked away for later, says
okay,
Dilks,
he just missed.
And so far, those soul shackles have.
Okay, that's a way that we can still be in this game.
But does have a full 4 to work with. You see a scratch of the head.
Maybe we get to block with 3 cards and throw our arsenal.
5 damage. Got to be enough all by itself. That's in Rune Blind. Shadow Aversa. Some good options here. That Dustblade, of course, has successfully maintained its counters throughout this entire barrage. Yeah. One upside is for Ian is that Matthew couldn't attack with in the previous turn. I'm going to present lethal.
Condemn. Eat this eloquence token to go again. I'll go down shackle.
Okay. So Condemn Slaughter, just being run out here as a +1, is going to eat a shackle. Very much a relevant factor of this deck. Shackle management, a part of what RuneGate Chain is trying to do. Does not want to snowball into the abyss and suddenly cause itself too many problems. Yeah. Dilks just trying to put the brakes on a bit here. He knows he's close. Doesn't want to burn out.
Go again and create 1 rune chant and 1 rune chant here.
Yeah, here's that split damage we were talking about. With the rune chants being created behind this. This is brilliant from Matthew Dilks. We see a non-attack action being played here to fuel Dousing Rune Blood. Means a second rune chant will be generated. There is 1 resource floating to Ian Zhang. This looks like a Duskblade swing. If Matthew Dilks wants it to be more, he can break Bloodchief Skeleta and send that widespread annihilation that is in his hand. 2 rune chants, reducing it down. We see exactly that. 1 resource remaining. Your arsenal is threatened again, and I know you wanted to keep it because you were willing to take the damage to keep 1 card around. Perfect use of Bloodchief Skeleta on a dime. Matthew Dilks is able to spin a trick that is going to leave Ian Zhang completely mystified. Again.
Was this a creeper's turn? No. Creepers doesn't make sense here. I was trying to figure out if there's a way that we could also get the weapon in, but I don't think there is. Because theoretically we could have the our chest discount the cost of that non-attack. We get 1 less rune chant. And this gets discounted by 1 less, so it kind of just breaks even in cost. But then we don't have the extra $1 to actually swing our weapon afterwards, and we'd have to spend $1 for our boots, so yeah.
And assaulting the arsenal. Again asking for 2 cards. This does everything Matthew Dilks could ask for, because Ian still has to answer the question of whether or not he goes to 1 of these rune chants. It's an emphatic no. They're covered, and the last 2 in hand get in front. Condemned to Slaughter looking so innocuous on that turn cycle. Sunken Treasure going to turn one of those widespread attacks face down.
Yeah, again, I feel like this Arsenal's trolling.
Conqueror of the High Seas alongside it on defense duty. Masterfully sequenced there. Information withheld from Ian Zhang for as long as possible.
Maybe it's the only way that we can win this game. Like, he comes in soft and we get to resolve that, but I just don't see the world that happens.
Pass and draw back up, allowing Matthew Dilks again to serve.
This time the shackle is a little bit kinder for Matthew Dilks. We find widespread annihilation and eloquent.
No rune chance though.
Look at this hand just yet. Annihilation a little rough sometimes without Scalia. It's hard to make 4 rune chance. But in this case, Cull being banished away to give Shadow Averse a go again. A now looming threat to remove defenses from Ian Zhang.
And widespread annihilation, while it could attack their hand, and we mentioned how hard it would be for Matthew Dilks to actually deploy that, he has another way to interact with Ian's hand in Cull and strip away a potential defending card, as you pointed out.
Break the chain, activate grasp.
Grasp of the Arknights does fund a rune chant for Eloquent Eulogy, at least.
So another widespread annihilation in the hand. Again, a little unwieldy in this spot.
Honestly, just activating Grasp every turn probably wins the game by itself. There's no way Ian can give us a full card to AB1 every turn.
Best case scenario for Ian here.
Maybe he was supposed to keep the Tunic around.
Worst case, it could be so much more. We know that last card in hand is another copy of Shadow Aversa. Not ideal for Matthew Dilks, but it is going to provide damage. Or a card that's more than happy to be culled away.
Yeah, we're live for Cull now.
Oh, and then we just lost the Arsenal for free as well.
Remains for Ian Zhang. One resource at the ready. Eloquence token naturally created. Here's the Cull. That's right. We're going to keep going. The Eloquence token, oh my goodness, this is absolutely filthy stuff. Matthew Dilks, after the Cull, can act and send the Duskblade in. Ian Zhang, that is rough stuff. Duskblade claims him there. Not the way he was hoping to get off to a start in this second semi-final. But with Eloquence, surprising for someone with so little to
I mean, it could have been that you're playing towards he needs to whiff exactly that one turn. But I just don't think it's reasonable to have him whiff there. It might not be reasonable to expect to actually try to fatigue him from here, though. So, like, maybe that's the consideration. The only way I win is he comes in short on that turn. But yeah, dying with all the gold on board is kind of crazy as well. Did he ever have an opportunity to crack them? He also had 2 different harpoons just not have a target in Dilks' hand. There was definitely opportunities to crack the gold, but it would have been gambling. Like here. This is a turn he could have cracked the gold, but it doesn't really make sense to do that. Like, what are you looking for with the gold, right? I think this is the only opportunity that he had to crack gold. There's just, like, nothing to really gain from doing it. You're under 3 of a kind, I think. Is this a 3 of a kind turn? No, it's the Codex turn. 3 of a kind was last turn. That's tough, but, I mean, look at the life totals. He needed those harpoons to do something more. Both harpoons not having a target kind of spelled the game right there. I haven't seen his gravy deck. Let's take a look. We've seen the Prism deck.
It is Matthew.
There we go. Let's see. Equipment. Usual suspects, but also AB3. No balance. Base of the mountain. Poppers. We got 3 conks. Just 3 conks. That's pretty good for Prism. Also, only 3D reacts. He's on the swells. Yo. He's got the Anka technology. My man. Ew, Oyston. Two back alleys. 2 fearless. Looks pretty typical. Ankas could be a big deal.
If he's lucky, could mean a Herald Intersoul straight away on pitch of that card.
We see a Compass activation here from Matthew Dilks, who is going first this time around.
Compass on turn 0 is kind of interesting. Oh, wait, no, it's he's going first.
Set up, find an ally of his choosing to get into the graveyard.
Perfect start here for Matthew. Will establish at least one ally on the first turn.
So who
of the
got
game.
to
The thumb on
who got to
through
pick
deck,
play draw
deciding
here?
their preferred
Dilks?
selection. Thumbing
I don't
into
understand
the
how this
boxes here,
works.
A choice I like quite a lot. Gravy Bones has to lean aggressive in this matchup to get Prism dead before the game extends any further. Riggamore is the most efficient aggressive ally.
What does he have in
Reaching ready
hand?
for that one in the early turns of this game.
Yep, it's a good pick. Obviously, it never feels good to send.
I cut Oyston
attack
for another
fast.
Fiddler's
He needs
Green.
1 health on that ally in order to clear it.
It's been pretty good for me.
Keep his chin up in that instance though, because it will mean soul generation. It will mean a Figment tutor opportunity.
Looks like Swabby, but we are reaching for instead here to go into the bin.
Swabby's an interesting one.
Well into those heralds, but pushes a breakpoint in exchange.
Yeah, that's 7
That's not one that I would have expected to call for on turn
on the board.
0.
It's awkward to block out.
So shuffling up.
Oyston would have made
Sent
sense.
to the depths will no doubt make an appearance very shortly. Lone Shark to start here for Matthew Dilks. This is a fantastic turn 0. Gold generation, now a bit of a pain point for Gravy in the absence of Golden Tipple. Do need these to get the engine online. Now, you will have to pay back the Piper if you're not quite lucky enough to continue generating gold. But Prism, not super eager to block in this matchup. So if we can line up Swabby, Sawbones, similarly aggressively slanted allies, activate that gold bait hook, send it.
I didn't catch what the hand was to start, but I think I would have called for something else. Unless he, like, has a strategy with the Swabby in this matchup that I don't understand. I think I would have been pretty down to grab, like, Anka or Chum, put it into play, activate it, discard the other ally in my hand, and then, depending on if I had another ally, activate gold to get rid of the third ally. It's, like, kind of the same thing, but we get to keep an extra gold in play. Yeah, I think I would prefer to go first as Prism in this matchup, but maybe not.
In, you can definitely keep that gold ticking over. But in terms of a start to a game, Sawbones, gold generation, Swabby parked in the depths for later on, about as good as it gets here.
I've seen all the boxes ticked here for Gravy Bones. Obviously, a Gravy Bones activation spending one of those.
So maybe he has a plan for the Swabby in this matchup that I just don't see.
Straight away, Herald of Triumph looks over towards Sawbones, and it's a red War Tune Herald flipped on the top. So no joy here for Ian Zhang. That is not destined for his soul. Herald of Triumph, of course, will head there itself and allow for a Figment tutor from the deck of Ian Zhang. We've seen a lot of deck searching so far, and Erudition going to be the first pick immediately taken up.
Not surprised by this. Ian understands this game typically rather punchy. Gravy does need to take an aggressive stance before things spiral out of control, so why not take a similarly aggressive stance?
Yeah,
with the most
second's good.
powerful line in your deck.
This also, signifies Ian Zhang's planning to use his whole hand here, so likely another yellow pitch or any pitch card and another Herald. Or, I guess he could get a blue aura down, but he'd be IPing. There we go. War Tune Herald clatters across, making quite the ruckus at 7 power.
Exactly what Ian was looking for on the first turn of the game here as well.
This is a good first turn.
I like this a lot. I think you'll find very few blocks from our Gravy player as the game progresses again. Heralds go to Soul and trigger for finding Figments pretty much on demand in this matchup as these allies come into play. You need your cards to pressure.
Grab, like,
Prism.
War or
If you're on
something?
defense, the situation just gets worse.
I don't think I grab Protection.
Some Prism players might look to flip the Figment they pick up and get 4 virtual life, but with some of these low to the ground attack actions from the Gravy Bones deck,
I don't
you
think
get
I
full
flipped
value
for
on it.
life
So
either.
this is
We're
the
still at
kind of decision
32.
that, master Prism players like Ian Zhang are going to have to sort of hover up. You can't attack with that Angel, right? You've your second Angel attack did not have go again, so Figment of Judgment is the pick.
Of course, no banished cards being turned face down here. Does make me feel like this is just the most expendable Figment in this case. Ian Zhang reaching for calming gesture.
Oh, I didn't realize he was playing those gloves in this matchup. That's kind of interesting.
Activate Prism, bring an Angel online, and set up a defense ahead of time.
Yeah, so for Ian Zhang here, like spending that floating resource on the calming gesture, not doing it in response to some damage coming in, says he wants to just set his life threshold as high as possible.
This is about efficiency. Ian understands that Matthew Dilks is looking for Conqueror of the High Seas, looking for Prismatic Ley Line, looking for these attacks that really send damage to the hills. When the resource is left spare, make the most of it.
It also means you can't pressure Themis with like a...
I guess this means that we can block one card in a Conqueror of the High Seas.
Means that Dilks will have to do a little bit more to ask for this Angel to be brought down.
Fantastic spot there, Mitch. Yeah, absolutely. Spectral Shield doing a great job protecting your protection, which is going to be a big part of surviving those bigger turns Gravy Bones can put together. For now, we are going to see a Compass activation. Matthew Dilks likes what they see. Reaching for Gravy to turn a gold into a fresh card, perhaps.
Arclight Sentinel has just turned up in our Dutch Prism player's hand. Not always easy to find a way to get this out onto the board, though. Very expensive. Costing 6. So 2 blues in the hand sometimes get you there, especially if you have a Figment of Erudition, you think you can flip into Soraya and refill your hand. That also means that...
Yeah, that's fair. He's only on the 3 conks.
Should sit in the back of your mind as an answer to Arclight Sentinel. A Vasti opener for Matthew Dilks.
Time to start getting aggressive, hopefully generating some gold here for Matthew Dilks. Swabby will be played, no doubt sent in with that breakpoint, trying to score a bonus gold from a Vasti. Do want to acknowledge that Anchor that was just sent down into the depths here, an ally that is not atypical of these decks right now, but has some play in this matchup. Prism happy to draw some cards. Not against penalising them for that.
Yeah, Anka able to deny that at the cost of putting a watery grave ally in your bin. 7 from Swabby, though. It's very solid. Matthew Dilks understands the assignment. It's to run headlong at Ianzang and hope to break these sometimes flimsy illusions.
I take it understanding the assignment is his word of the day.
Not that invested in protecting Themis. It's not an effect that he's really hoping to abuse in this game.
No, ultimately, Themis is still meant to be a line of defense here. If it survives, fantastic. Maybe the turn comes together to send 7 for 7. But Ian would much rather keep these heralds that are at a premium in this matchup and use Themis to
I
start
wish
the bleeding if possible.
we had
That
hand
said,
cameras.
Avasti here obviously threatening to make
I want to
a
yap
gold
about their
scenario a
hands,
relevant
but I can't
strategy.
see what any of their
Ian
cards
would like
are.
to deploy a card and
Also,
give
the
Themis
lighting
the
is
rest
so
of the
dark.
swab.
In Ian here, there's not really a world where he probably just takes this damage and tries to protect his Soraya with an Arclight Sentinel. That becomes unbelievably resource prohibitive because you don't have vestige. Of
That's
the
why I
sword.
also
You
like
get
playing
extra
the
resources out of Black Hole. So it
sloops.
becomes actually really hard
It's
to
the nice
turn
mix of
where
it's a
you need to
popper
take
and
the
it's
figment.
a go face
That's
card.
good. That's 4 cost already
I'm not
from
playing
hitting your
poppers
herald.
just because they
It's 10
6
cost
6
base
in the
turn, no
corner.
guarantees there. So,
I'll
we'll
cast
like to
these
take
cards if you don't
patient
make me
blind.
use them.
But Arclight Sentinel on its own doesn't really do any blocking. Quite often, Prism draws up these hands and has to allow their wards try and go to work for them.
And again, I admire the deliberation here from Ian. Many decision trees we've just highlighted, let alone the many that we haven't seen based on the cards in their hand, does choose.
Oh,
to
gold?
From Swabby, 5 points of damage prevented. 2 will come, 3 means a gold will be generated from Avasti.
There's more where that came from. That's the scary part. Swabby, of course, now resting. They try the high seas into the pitch zone now, and a Mage Master Boots activated. Matthew Dilks is trying to flood the board with his allies, and Anka drag under, hits the stage.
This is, again, just a testament to how well-versed Matthew Dilks is with both decks they brought this weekend. Mage Master Boots...
This is a pretty good turn, but I'm a little concerned that we're going to 1 gold, no allies in grave. So we're like potentially creating a bit of a failure state for ourselves. If we don't draw an ally in the next hand, we're kind of cooked. So kind of depends what we have in Arsenal right now. But also this just like efficiently used all of our cards, so I get it. I might have wanted to actually play the port side instead, though. Play the port side, discard the chum, go to another gold. I now have 2 gold. I have 2 allies in my bin. I'm curious what he saw on top. Because he decided not to chart. When did he compass? He compassed on his opponent's turn. And I can't tell what any of those fucking cards are other than the chart. Yeah, I don't hate playing the Anka. I'm curious what his arsenal is. This just feels a little spooky to me, that's all.
Board. I mean, this is going to ask for quite a lot of attention. But it's the power play that Gravy has available to
Because it's not even like we're creating a board state that is annoying for the Prism. Because from the Prism POV, I just go, okay, whatever. Herald your Anka, get a Figment, flip my Figment, swing my Figment into your other guy. And now I'm not wasting damage into your guy because I'm putting 4 into 3, so I'm being efficient.
This is Matthew Dilks' gambit.
And then I send another Herald at your face. So I'm not in love with this play. We're pressuring the Prism's life total, which is nice, but we're like kind of creating a failure state for ourselves, and that's like my biggest concern.
To clamber into the driver's seat.
Ian very committed to where they are. Not a play I think they expected, but one they are happy to stomach. Once you've allowed Swabby to do the damage, the extra gold, less appealing to deny. That full hand is required to put to the turn they have in mind together. We see that Arclight Sentinel being pitched. Red Herald of Triumph for the front of the hand here. The plan continues.
The second you see those red, you know, like Arclight Sentinel's not getting deployed. It's just not reasonable. There are
Like, putting the Anka in play to deny card draw off of the Erudition, I don't think matters, because they're just going to start by attacking
Anka successfully sunk. We'll go looking for another Figment. Curious what Ian's looking for
the
here.
Anka. Where does Figment go? Did he always have 2 in the soul? I thought he had more earlier. No, okay. I'm just crazy.
There are 9 Arclight Sentinels. 2 resources worth instead.
Anka successfully sunk. We'll go looking for another Figment as a direct result. Curious what Ian's looking for here. We saw last time the more expendable Figments.
I feel like with him on 3 cards and pitching the ALS,
if so inclined, But we've definitely seen those more
he's just
expendable
gonna go
figures
for like
earlier to
protection or
provide
something.
shield from the expected aggression. Most important one here for Figment of
Because
Earth
flipping the
is
Erudition's
play
kind of sus when you're on 3
known
cards
as
in hand. Like,
function
pretty
of the
unlikely we use all these cards.
The anchor
I think
activated, so Matthew
if
Dill's
we were
out.
going to do that, we would have
Doesn't
either
feel
held
like
the
this guy
ALS or
will.
blocked a little.
Doesn't feel like it was necessary.
There's less freedom to do so with Anchor in this kind of situation. A lot of the hands for Gravy that need pieces to come together require card density in this matchup, and that's going to require Gravy Bones activations, eating those gold to turn cards into different cards. And
I kind
sometimes
of
you
not
prefer
that
to
big of a
have
fan,
Gravy
though,
as opposed to just
of grabbing
putting yourself in
protection
situations
and then
where
burning
control
both of our
might not
soul.
come from Ian's
But I
actions.
also don't really love
Tells me that Ian's
flipping a
actually gonna
Figment
find
here
a
with no
way to
spectral
attack that
shields
might
behind it.
Follow up a flipped angel attack into Swabby. He's got to find ways to
Or
make
kept
sure
the
that
ALS. Like, I think
everything
keeping the
about Soraya
ALS
focuses
is
if you wanna be
kind of
fast.
reasonable. Like,
If
whatever,
he
I'm just going to
goes for it
gamble.
with Soraya, if he doesn't actually have a way to make use of the card he draws up for action point, restriction reasons, or otherwise, then Bologna probably gets flipped. Yeah.
I'm behind in this
If
set.
you
I got to take some
comfortably account for
risks.
these allies- A big part of the gameplay for Prism is to get these allies off the board and make sure your opponent actually has to jump through a couple of hoops in order to establish more of them.
Swabby sense
Unlucky,
swing
no
and that
war tune.
courage token, as you correctly alluded to, paired beautifully with Herald of Protection, pushing 8 damage and a Spectral Shield should this manage to connect. And then we've talked a few times already about the importance of building anti-aggression.
You know what's kinda
defenses here
interesting?
for Ian Zhang.
There's a
Use of
thought
shield, very relevant factor. No
Of
positive
cutting
effects out on
the
it, but also
triumphs
well
from his deck
well
in this
worth
matchup
keeping
because he
an eye
knows
on.
that there's no
Potentially worth
sixes.
denying here
And
for
obviously,
Matthew Dilks.
none of those scarce poppers for Matthew Dilks to interact with this. Ian doesn't have a floating resource to shoot her out of Figment of Triumph anyway, so it would be nice to find here, I would say. But he's got a life lead because of that massive turn. The Mage Master Boots, both Swabby and Anka getting to, get sideways. But he does need to rebuild the Empire a little bit now.
So we do see Matthew Dilks reaching to deny this Herald of Protection. Makes me think we have one of those functional small hands. Gravy is well known to navigate an ally to discard to a gold. A way to bring it out and take care of Bologna would be my expectation from this turn sequence.
Ian would very much love to come back with a healthy hand and
Yeah, man, got a ball.
a Jumbo Jet, a little 7-4-7 action off his Prism.
Heard that one a few times.
Yep. Herald first, then Angel, then Herald. He's going through the expendable ones first. Ian flipping Bologna.
Gotta rep your waifu.
Off the courage token. He's called to the grave.
I believe it's Chart the High Seas and Jittery Bone.
Okay, good thing we didn't go for the Arclight. He had the call.
Here on the call to the grave. Makes me wonder if we're looking at Arclight Sentinel once again. Ian does give the gesture. It's okay.
You're good.
You're good. Don't forget, chat. Giveaways currently active. Do make sure you're chatting along with us. Let us know what you think about the game.
At the conclusion of this match.
You want some super slam, don't you?
Oh my god, Fearless would have
Now,
gone
Chummet,
sicko mode here.
Is one of the allies you can do some shenanigans with Fearless Confrontation.
Oh.
I'm like kind of convinced that you're supposed to put Fearless in Prism.
I have to kind of send a 7 here, and that means Red Herald. Otherwise, there's a chance I can get utterly blown out.
Fearless Confrontation makes me feel a type of internal pain that is difficult to describe on camera.
It's a very interesting card. It has
The Chart the High Seas
Not good.
finds Conqueror of the High Seas, no yellow, and more importantly, one
Yeah,
of
he played one
truly
call
aggressive
turn
threats that will
0,
only
so that's
take
his second
offensive
one.
deck for Matthew Dilks.
Dead Threads still allows for Chum to make his way forward, and Bologna will be cleared. Lone Shark, though.
Declare attack. Chum into Angel. Discard Fearless. Extend hand. You can hit I lost on Gem at any time.
By the way, he can return them to the deck. At some point, of course, if he's able to flip Avalon, but that also means Avalon exposes itself to being knocked out, and then you've got nowhere to recur them. So you do need to be careful. Sometimes you might need to protect those heralds, and yeah, it's sending a 7 here.
I like the
It's the
boop
safest
right
way
into
to play
soul.
here. Spectral Shield created, of course, and that Herald of Protection on hit, and now we're going fishing for a Figment once more. You also don't want to get Ravages too early.
We have 2
So
cards in
once
hand.
the
This
Herald
seems like a good
of Protection
spot to
lands,
your
she's
edition.
going to end the game. But Protection's still in the deck. Rebirth is still in the deck as well. We're going to check the graveyard, see if there's any sort of valid targets to go for, and it will be a Figment of Rebirth decided upon.
Look at those sweet custom Spectral Shields from Iswadi that were dealt for Ian Zhang. One of each Angel available on these.
Too
Spectral
drippy,
Shield in the
man.
background.
It's too drippy.
Sometimes a full suite of gold foil equipment just isn't enough.
No, absolutely not. Not for this guy.
Agree. I think it's lit. I think
prefer this game
Prism
to
should
top
play it.
Drip or Wind's not got quite the same ring to it, but we'll make it work.
Someone else is going to do it first and then take credit for it.
Here, we were alluding to how important that card can be to rebuy powerful threats.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for Erudition here. This seems like a good Erudition turn.
Judgment coming in here. This on hit mostly in
We can like
just a-
Rebirth to put a Figment on top of our or an Angel. Oh my god, words. We can Rebirth, put a Herald on top of our deck. I assume there's one in the grave. And then swing with the Erudition, draw the card that we put on top of our deck to guarantee our draw. And then we already have the Rebirth out to like make it so we're not truly wasting our Erudition. We already have the Rebirth in play to do that later. Maybe we want to wait for a little bit more soul to do that, because ideally you want to do your Erudition stuff and then immediately flip Rebirth and swing Rebirth to put the Erudition Figment back on the deck immediately before Dilks has a chance to flip it upside down with like a Sunken Treasure or something.
efficient Herald.
Yeah, it finds its way into these Prism decks because obviously there are matchups in which it does matter, right? Denying access to the Banish Zone matters pretty well, especially in matchups like Vincent, which is horrific for Prism. Very, very challenging to play through. Not all decks have this one. This is definitely a sort of preference choice here. Some of them take Tenacity for that extra source of Dominate. Herald of Judgment, though, does its work, and yet that one of Herald of Judgment goes into the soul. So what you'll notice, there wasn't a angel flip here. Ian, not really in a position to...
Oh, Smurf, what's up?
work on the damage front in this turn.
A pair of yellows there was not enough to swing an angel alongside the pair of heralds, so just going to make a do.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to flip something this turn. And if he flips now, I think that's a waste.
I would have preferred 6-7, but
6-7 would have been nice. But you know what? That sequencing was correct for Ian, so that's fine.
I think so.
The Zoomers will have to wait for the next opportunity
Hey,
to chant in unison. All right, Dilk's giving it a good...
Yeah, I think this was a Shariah turn for sure.
So, a lot of Figments being worked through. Triumph and Ravager still in the deck. I don't think Figment of Tenacity is really... in the
And like, we're putting these Spectral Shields in play just to die, right? Like, these shields aren't protecting anything. So I think there's a spot to, like, you know, flip something, and now we have these, like, breakpoint coverage with the shields.
Yeah, sometimes that dominate matters, but it's definitely the least desirable.
I don't think anything he's doing is, like, objectively wrong or anything. It's not like, oh, he misplayed it or something like that. These are just, like,
This card is so...
decision strategy points that I disagree on, of like, I would have played this way. And honestly, like, I'm having that on both sides. Like, I think I would have played that turn 0 differently from Dilks. But I'd be very curious to hear his reasoning for that. If he did it both games, so clearly there's a reason for that.
It's extension. Yep. That's the big important part here. You need to go wide sometimes, especially in matchups that require you to race decks like Syndra, decks like Prism. So being able to do so here alongside Prismatic Leyline, pretty good.
75 with the blue.
Yeah, another one flipped.
That's pretty good, right? Gets rigor mortis into the bin. Again, if we want velocity, Matthew Dilks is flying it. Definitely has a tailwind.
Worth noting, Matthew Dilks does play 3 red copies of Saltwater Swell. I do believe there is one in the hand for them here. So this turn, but close to a Yahtzee.
Hey, we almost had a failure state.
Yellow bonus on rigor mortis for the full trio from this Prismatic
That
Leyline.
is beautiful. What a way to make use of Prismatic Leyline, getting 6 value out of that generic action.
I don't think he's actually going to play the Swell here.
Absolutely, an EV game.
He can't use the resources unless he cracks gold.
Maximum amount of value here, gold token being popped.
And if we're going to crack... Does he know what's on top of his deck right now? When did he compass? Compass here. Where is the rigor mortis coming from? His hand? Okay, look at top makes sense because we have the jittery bones. So the top of our deck isn't an ally. Oh, I just, like, yeeted my headphone into oblivion. So, if we know the top of our deck is a blue, why not play the Swell, then draw off of gold, and then we're fine arsenaling almost anything? And if we miss, we hit an ally, then we just activate Gravy Bones, right?
For a hot second, we'll break that rigor Brexit. I do believe there is one in the hand for them here. So this turn, but as close to a Yahtzee as you can get in Classic Constructive, we're going to see red bonus, blue bonus, yellow bonus on rigor mortis for the full.
Man, where the hell did it go?
That is beautiful. What a way to make use of Prismatic Leyline, getting 6 value out of that generic action. That's it. Matthew Dilks, absolutely an EV gamer in every sense of the word, has extracted the maximum amount of value here. Gold token being popped. Into the hand was a Call to the Grave.
Offers another toolbox of options here for Matthew. Was a reasonable fan of the line we already saw. Wouldn't be surprised to see this being the case. Resource being spent. Rigor mortis is now always going to be deployed, even if the blue does miss. In this case, it does not. Saltwater Swell refunds those resources, and you can save Call to the Grave for a following turn. Not a bad place to be.
And Ian, despite not having a yellow to power an angel attack last turn, also chose not to flip any of them to provide that sort of life buffer. That is, you know, 1 point worth considering.
I guess he's just trying to pocket the call to the... It was a call to the grave? Maybe he's trying to pocket that in case there's an ALS? Nope, he's just running it out. I don't understand this play at all.
This choice from Matthew Dilks. Again, rigor mortis is always efficient in the matchup. You're always going to find a way to get this in and get it.
Oh, I found it.
Because we managed to find that blue card off the top with Saltwater Swell, we can send.
I knocked my headphone this direction and somehow it ended up over here.
Course of a game into the bin and just save that rigor mortis for later when we might be a little tighter on resources.
I think having like a good supply of these allies on tap is really important for the Gravy Bones player because Ian clears them effortlessly. So Matthew Dilks having another ally to call upon, even if pass it back to Ian. And Ian obviously has to spend time clearing those. It's just damage that's not being sent at his opponent. Oh, the Figments. He's blinked out. None of them are actually representing any damage or other effects. The Soul's in a good place for the Prism player as well.
Important to remember the biggest illusion in this matchup is the life total of Ian Zhang.
Holy man, here's that yellow value. Sawbones Dockhand has entered the fray.
Could be swinging in for 8, courtesy of Prismatic
This
Leyline.
turn
It's
ended up
massive.
being pretty
It's really
good,
good.
but I think I just would have
I would be
sequenced
inclined
it
to
slightly
agree.
differently.
This is very much the foundation of Gravy Bones in the modern CC format. Prismatic Leyline is the card the deck is built around. It went from being a kind of corner case choice to improve.
Like we
certain matchups
gambled
to,
on the
in fact,
swell
best
when
way
we
to
didn't, or
syndrome
the
is
swell when we
Zeros.
didn't need to, right?
It was 5 into 4 into 8.
There was
17
just
damage
no
and
reason
power.
to gamble here.
One also, Ian Zhang does not have any 2 power attacks. There's no easy way to clear that, so it's even more implied value. Sawbones is the life total may as well be
Is that
print on the
Peter?
board that's coming at him.
Incredible inclusion for this deck from Armory deck Gravy.
What's Peter doing over here?
We see the bind here that Ian Zhang finds himself in, flicking through that 4-card hand. We see Herald of Protection at the front.
Bro, get out of the shot. You're not the one in top 8.
Fierce reality there.
So very capable of clearing the Sawbones. Tempting to mitigate some of his damage, though. Again, the downside of playing a deck like Prism.
I will say for
35,
Dilks right now,
significant
he's very close to
falling all the way down to 10 now.
Ian not getting to play the game anymore. Like, if Dilks gets to, like, untap here, I don't think Ian gets to ever play the game again. Now, this is probably the turn where he does his Shariah stuff, but
no, this is something else. Ian also, like, you can't be flipping figments on your opponent's turn. You can't be pitching from hand to save that damage. You do it in desperate situations, but you know, again, opts not to flip a Herald that previous turn. We mentioned about he doesn't get that ward value, so he's Figment of Tribe. It's got to come out. And you know, again, if Ian's worried about like wider turns.
I'm just debating right now if we're supposed to leave this in our deck. For the Halo. I guess it doesn't matter. We know that there's no 6 powers in Dilks' deck, so whatever, just get this out of the way so that way we have less figments that we can draw.
Flipping into Victoria, activating that could be the answer. He's also, you know, kind of doing this in advance, but Figment of Triumph, and if there's a Herald of...
I feel like he's being too patient with his Erudition.
Wouldn't be effective. I mean, a pop here is devastating, right? If Matthew even wants to go that way, he might feel like he has enough of a lead. But Ian has to play to all of his outs.
I think it might be go time here for Ian Zhang.
Yeah, we got to be flipping.
Flipping over Angels. My gut instinct was Erudition here to try and pull this back, but instead Protection is the choice. Don't mind this either. I think we've mentioned a few times.
Oh, that's why Dilks did all of that. I understand now. Because the Halo was still in play. I get it. He didn't want to waste 8 damage and like swing the Rigor Mortis for 8 and then get it shot. Okay, all of this makes sense now. Okay, I agree with Dilks' line now.
Times that pushing back against the aggressive damage is the safest thing to do as you build out these turns. Additional
Protection?
They'll play a pretty big role in that, assuming there's no more Prismatic Ley lines in the immediate future.
Ian Zhang needs to buffer the life total now. He knows Matthew Dilks is definitely started to look.
This is why we should have done the Erudition on the previous turn. Like, now we're trying to protect our life total, and we might run out of time on using this Erudition.
It's all matters to Matthew Dilks, but there's no on hit. It's an on attack trigger.
Matthew betraying me at the last moment there.
Tough to catch these guys,
How do
isn't
you feel, Mitch?
Yep. Unsurprisingly, opts to take 4. And a Pierce Reality follow-up.
I could care less about this Pierce Reality. Holy shit.
But, you know, making use of an action point to develop that at this late stage of the game when you are so low is a scary prospect. Ian felt like it was much better to do this.
I think Ian just literally discarded a card for free.
Attack.
Okay,
Oh,
so
God.
I was looking and trying to see the hand from Matthew Dilks and was very confused by the card quality and why no damage was being prevented. The compass was the hidden information there. Prismatic Leyline on top of the deck is met with Arclight Sentinel. Your value, my value.
Again, it does stop Matthew Dilks in his tracks here, potentially. But Ian Zhang has to shred his own hand, send 2 blues in order to get it out there. So his crackback is going to be limited at best.
Interestingly, this is a good spot to play the Rigor Mortis since he can't Halo Ravages now.
Meaningful damage to Ian Zhang. That's going to be Arclight Sentinel cleared up. It looks good. It's a pretty card, but it feels a little more desperate in the
Yo, they're popping off in the background.
So good here for Ian. Prismatic Leyline threatened to steal this game away. Instead, our Angel of Protection is still alive, can take care of Rigor Mortis free of charge, and provide 2 more Spectral Shields. It might look like a large life disparity here for Ian Zhang, but there is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 virtual life in play, and 3 more Figments that could be flipped over at just a moment's notice. This is neck and neck.
Drawing the double blue there is massive. Still being able to attack with Aegis is big. Throws the Arclight Sentinel, finds the right moment for it. Perfect is the enemy.
Man, I never get to draw double blue with my Arclights. Must be nice.
Room potentially to maneuver.
Murderous Rabble from Matthew Dilks. Pretty happy to allow the shields to take care of that.
Ian wants so badly just to have a full grip to send back. Getting low on figment count, but he's been so conservative about how he flips them. There's always going to be angels that he's
I think the
still.
concern is
So
not the
be patient,
figments,
under
it's the
fire.
soul.
It is easy to stress out, to sort of have your feel like your hand's being forced as Prism with that lower life total. Ian's been here before. Restless Bones comes out.
I think that ALS was good.
On the flip here from Restless Bone.
Because you also burned his Dilks' resources of his allies. Dilks has no gold in play, no allies, so he's kind of like scrambling to get something. This created a failure state for Dilks.
So we'll just take care of the Angel of Protection
See?
sent directly.
I think
out
that
to make sure
ALS
that
might have
we
won the
have
game.
flexibility to do anything about it. And it is Herald of Erudition with
Buffed
a
up.
full hand extra gas.
Okay, this is a moment here for Ian Zhang, and it could be an inflection point. In
Ian
this
just stole
Seven
this game.
dominate
Holy
going in.
shit.
Phantasm, active of course on the Herald of Erudition still. Ian Zhang was able to get that Pierce reality out, make use of his action point at the end of his last turn, and Herald of Erudition is going to hit. The cards are about to flow. Matthew Dilks felt like he had enough life total to take this kind of damage. Now the blowout here potentially is like being able to attack and follow up with Arclight Sentinel, right? That's the dream. It rarely happens that way. Now Ian is concerned here about Prism's Trigger because he may choose to fail to find a Figment, but he's trying to find out, I think, if he has to shuffle his deck.
Okay, what an interesting question. So, of course, we good to know. No need to mix those blues back in. Again, I admire the patience of Ian Zhang here. Understands that Erudition is the panic.
How do you
button.
not know that
Need
you
to
don't
find a way back into the game.
have to
That one needs
shuffle?
be there instead.
Doesn't he play
Victoria
Prism all the
gonna
time?
play offense duty.
Yeah, Vicky, though, not going to be reducing the damage output of Matthew Dilks. No extra banish from Soul. Ian Zhang getting a little bit light in that regard.
Balance of Justice is active and online, courtesy of that Herald of Erudition.
Something is sort of looking for here is an Angelic Attendant to let you flip 2 Angels in 1 turn and potentially have more of that ward buffer. That would be the only way you can sort of get around that once per turn. That's another thing you can do, obviously, with that extra card.
Angelic Attendant here would be backbreaking. More than enough Figments available to make use of that powerful new inclusion from Super Slam. If Ian Zhang is lucky enough to be holding one for now. Sunken Treasure just going to flip over a yellow, of which there are many from Prism. Generate a gold for Matt Dilks to get that engine back online.
Okay, Herald of Protection. There's going to be the follow-up here. Big damage, a huge chunk of Matthew Dilks' life total being challenged out. But he himself has kept those cards close to the chest. Literally, figuratively. Just the Sunken Treasure emerging from the hand is turned alongside some equipment block.
Compass
Now we need
activation.
some extra info.
But I wouldn't give for that beef jerky whole cam right now. Take a peek at what's on top of the deck.
I know
With the
there's
compass.
at least a Sawbones.
Yeah, Ethan, get on it. We got to get
It looks
pocket cams to see what's going on over there better.
Exactly what you need in the spot. Ian, of course, relying on this board presence to keep healthy. And get
I would love to
enough
see
Figments
that
to
instead
play
of
here
the
for Ian
player
Zhang.
cam.
We need to find more of those at the moment.
he just can't
Like-
get Ravages yet.
like make the
Second
player
guess,
cam
you know,
smaller
taking out the game
and then have the
immediately
hand
is just an
cam at the same
absolute
time.
really prevent that arcane damage.
Gravy on my turn.
Grave activation. Dilks likes what they found with that compass. Would like it in hand
Oh, no
instead.
kidding!
It's Prismatic Leyline again.
And it's already in hand as well.
Red saltwater swell in hand
Please tell me
once
that's not blue in the
more.
arsenal. Oh my goodness, he's hit it again. Jittery Bones comes out, chum in the bin. And everything coming up Millhouse from Matthew Dilks.
I'm the one with Jittery Bones. This line of play coming up time and again, stuffed in the box at least once from Ian Zhang without Arclight Sentinel, but no anti-attack aura this time. The floodgates are open. The damage is coming. What will Ian Zhang do?
Okay. Matthew Dilks does need to hit the blue off the saltwater swell in his hand, I believe.
To do it all,
Okay,
yes.
that's all we
Thankfully,
got.
Dead Threads will fund the saltwater swell. Take a spin, at the very least. We did see Chum disappearing into the depths alongside his Jittery Bones.
That all you got, just a 3-block defense reaction for all intents and purposes. Dead Threads sees saltwater swell deployed.
Flip the card, Matthew.
Are we in the money? Oh, it just
Oh!
doesn't get any better than that, folks.
We're lit!
Murderous Rabble off the top into the pitch. This turn is fueled, fired, and it's going absolutely for the fence.
It is a Sawbones for 8 after this. If Matthew Dilks wants it, if they prefer to extend Chum, they can with that final card in hand, but will be significantly less damage, and it feels like that is what matters at this stage. Slowly but surely, the Angels and Shields begin to fall. Ian Zhang going to be relying on those final cards in hand to both end the game and survive.
Jocelyn back in the chair. An honest day of work here for the Shipwreck Looter, as now it's time for Sawbones with a flourish to get involved.
He did not make gold this turn, right? So that's just a dry hook.
All the colors of the rainbow pointed at Ian Zhang.
I will say I like dry hooking here.
Ian carefully thumbing the hand once more. We see War Tune Herald front. I think that might be a Soul Shield hidden behind this. Can't quite make it out. Soul Shield would be pretty impressive here as a defensive tool.
These Prism hands, though, I mean, she wants to be on 4 or 5 cards as much as possible. When you start to shrink the hand down, your impact
Yeah, you're like,
exponentially.
yeah, you want to give me your footsteps? I don't think so.
That's 2 cards you're parting with. It's a 2-card 6-block. It has that soul upside, but Ian Zhang has enough to work with. If he's clearing allies, getting a card in soul on his opponent's turn is not that crucial.
It wouldn't be ideal here. If it is that card in the hand for Ian, would prefer to remain aggressive. May well look to use it as a yellow pitch card to fund the rest of the hand. Gonna funnel through the cards expended so far before making what is the most important decision of Ian Zhang's World Championship.
So often kept on the outside looking in. The 9th place curse was a part of Ian Zhang's
Hey, who
story
knew
up to
Belittle was a good card?
He's finally overcome that chapter, makes his way into the top 4, but is confronted by one of the most dangerous players in the flesh and blood world. Someone notorious for incredible results, great gameplay, and very few words. He'll save them though for the judge here, just to make sure.
No.
The searching on the terms
confirming
here, a
clear.
card shouldn't have been drawn from that. All you got, Prismatic Leyline, did mean that Bones was just a bit heftier than it otherwise would have been. Again, safe to check here. We talk about Ian. Imagine sitting in the seat of Matthew Dilks in this scenario. You're 1-0 up. You are 10 life, maybe 2
Lord
life
knows,
away
can't tell.
from a berth in the final. of the World Championship.
The lighting on the right side is terrible.
It's close.
He's taking it. He's taking the
And now
damage.
it is just 3 life remaining and a full salvo from Ian Zhang that you need to survive.
I think he has to go for the Soraya play here. It may be now or never. Can guarantee a Herald hit. An Angel flip. Herald protection here is going to fuel the start of the turn. Oh.
We are paying to flip Soraya. Need information, need different cards than we have. Soraya will take care of Sawbones. We'll see the card from the Soul go and find something more impressive to send directly. It's Arclight Sentinel. There is an Arclight Sentinel in hand for Ian Zhang. Are the resources there?
No. No, they are not.
Well, the Arclight isn't even that good because it doesn't have any soul.
He misses on being able to get that out and defend Soraya. And so Fortune Herald has to be the backup option.
And we haven't seen a Conk yet. Conk would be really nice to see here.
Sometimes in this matchup, no vestige of soul. There's no easy way to get an Arclight Sentinel into play. And so there's no way to defend the Archangel of Erudition. Ian Zhang simply going to accompany.
The only Conk that we've seen all game was the one that we hit off chart, right? Like, he hasn't cast any.
Now this is the end for Ian Zhang. Matthew Dilks at 7 health has to respect this Herald. Stuck with Eye of Ophidia in hand, will be forced to commit all 3 other cards on defense. Will need to find a way to answer that Soraya, or risk things getting even worse. Is there a follow-up for Ian? No.
No follow-up. Devastating. And again, sometimes the Reds get into the hand. If you can't part with them adequately, they've got to go into the arsenal. And I wonder if the sequencing looked different on that turn. Feels like Ian knew that if you open with a Herald on Sawbones, he wouldn't be able to pressure enough. Maybe he wouldn't really have enough to work with in the hand. So it goes for max information early, but it costs a card to flip Soraya like that.
Pitching Eye of Ophidia to the gold. Going to take a look at 2 cards. Neither are what we're looking for. Blind one from the top for Matthew Dilks. Needs to find a way to take care of Soraya. Chart the high seas. Will look a little bit further. Finds the resources. Will be able to play Chum or Rigor Mortis at the very least.
And that's what Dilks wants. He keeps a high life total.
My God, Fearless goes crazy here also.
Back up in the graveyard, and he can go after Soraya. Cannot be allowed to persist. Ian will be left now to try and make use of Avalon. But that soul is empty right now. That's also a problem. To flip an Angel and to attack for its extra effect costs 2. Let's stick with our Gravy Bones turn first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Crazy to think that if Ian Zhang had flipped an Angel earlier, as we suggested he maybe should have, there would not have been enough soul available to attack with Soraya on the previous turn and facilitate that line. Every decision coming back to matter in this game as Matthew Dilks digs deeper.
I think also this comes down to the decision to flip on that really early turn.
Wants to pressure Ian Zhang, finds Lone Shark.
This game would have been much easier if we just didn't flip that very first Figment.
Oh my. I don't know if this can be paid for based on what's being represented, but I believe a Conqueror of the High Seas just joined the hand.
So Matthew Dilks can take the risk. You can spin the gold one more time, find another blue, send the Conqueror, but that way Soraya is in the way.
How much float does he have?
Do not guarantee removing it from play. You can instead, of course, play Shark.
Got the gold.
Some additional spins.
No float.
More time, find another blue, send the Conqueror, but that way Soraya is in the way.
Well, he doesn't need to find another blue. He has Dead Threads.
You can
But
instead, of course, play an ally, attack Soraya.
it's not that good.
Is that going to be good enough? You leave Prism with an entire hand to work with in that world. So only 7
What was he looking for here?
Yeah, the cost basis of this turn is what is causing Matthew Dilks some headaches. He has popped a lot of gold, a lot of cards in his pitch zone.
I can feel my heart in my eyes. What a weird sensation.
That is a string of words I didn't expect to accompany one another.
I'm concerned about my health. This game is doing some stuff.
Yeah, Matthew Dilks definitely feeling the fatigue. It's been quite a series. Dead Threads available though. That's a resource that can be called upon.
Oh, we're spinning the wheel again.
Advancing into the bin. Here comes Chum. Friendly first mate. Looking anything but. As he goes after Soraya.
Discard Fearless. Shake my hand.
Archangel of Erudition out of the way now. And so Matthew Dilks.
I'm just saying.
This card in Arsenal with an ally on the field. One that can command Ian's attention. One that can tell Ian that he must attack Chum. Although I suspect that Ian's probably feeling that way anyway. Here's a Light of Soul. And Herald of Ravages goes forth to try and clear the first mate away. And he does hit on that Light of Soul. Fortune Herald, it goes into the soul.
Bonus soul, very valuable right now.
And there's no risk of fearless confrontation there. Pierce Reality gives it extra power to take you out of that range. So Chum is going to be accounted for.
Big fan of the line we saw there from Matthew Dilks. Understands that
It's fine. You won't need to be tilted for very long because you'll be immediately hitting the I lost button.
Close the game. Cannot take the risk right now. Herald of Triumph as the follow-up will command some amount of respect, but I believe we see a pretty wide hand here for Matthew Dilks.
No, he just replayed a Lone Shark.
With the compass before
That's where all that gold came from.
And Ian, again, does not flip.
Which I'm not really sure that I like the play of playing the Lone Shark here, but I kind of don't like the I'm going to attempt to draw cards here. I think you know that if you draw into a Conqueror of the High Seas, you're not casting it this turn, and you know there's 2 left in the deck. I think you're hoping to have Conqueror of the High Seas in your hand when you draw up to use it as a popper here. So by drawing, you're kind of giving yourself a chance to draw into one of the ways that you're going to win this game by popping. Like I think he wins the game here if he pops this. But since we drew it, now we have to put it in Arsenal.
Fourth. But again, his board state indicates that there's not a follow-up attack here. I think he had that Arsenal card left over from the previous turn. He put that one away, but doesn't have the pitch to send it out.
Swell, anchor, fearless, confrontation. The hand here, we'll see the hook finally deployed.
Just as well Pierce Reality's in play.
Oh, yeah, that could have gone nasty.
There's a chance he was supposed to fearless that chum. If he does, Ian just grabs Ravages and shoots it for 1. But then your Rigor Mortis is unlocked. I don't know if that's correct, but I'd have to think about that one.
Okay, Matthew's going to take some damage. Herald of Triumph, yeah. I think Ian's reaching for the Herald of Rebirth now. Anything to keep me alive. Avalon is flipped into. Ardently standing in front of the Dutchman. If you want to get to Ian's Zhang, you've got to go through her.
And it will be the grand ship of Gravy Bone Shipwreck Looter that threatens the Archangel of Rebirth and Ian Zhang's Arsenal.
This could be it. A turn that could be very difficult to stave off. 2 resources floating. We know Rigor Mortis costs 1 to get out there, 1 to attack with.
So worth noting, a blue card has not been played yet, so it would need to be a playable blue.
Also, gold has not been made yet.
Emerge. Alternatively, 1 gold token currently available. Possible we go spinning once more. Gravy Bones, of course, available to activate as well. I believe it's an anchor in the hand for Matthew Dilks.
There's that Angelic Intendant. Joined by that, all you got. A lot of blocking happening here.
I mean, getting 3 cards is pretty
Over the
nice.
high seas. Is stuffed.
Avalon safe for now.
Okay, I'll break combat chain.
Okay, Matthew Dilks chooses to break the combat chain and get that gold is going to be utilized now for a Gravy Bones trigger. Have we?
We find Loot the Hold.
We found it! The blue that we needed here. This is unreal. Matthew Dilks off the top to loot the hold, which allows Anchor to be deployed. Gets it into play.
Dead threads available.
You just go
to allow
face with this,
Anchor
right?
to attack will be on hit. Discard a card. Courtesy of Loot the Hold, the hook activation. It is 2 gold on hit as well. Give me 2 cards, or at least 1, and your Avalon.
This is too much. There's no calming gesture here for Ian Zhang. It was too so early in the game to.
He has 1 Figment left in deck.
There isn't. I mean, I guess you could.
The thing also here is that Dilks is effectively at 1 because of the Ravages.
A discard trigger found stapled to Anchor here with that Loot the Hold. But more importantly, it enabled for that ally to be deployed in the first place. Matthew Dilks playing to every out and is being rewarded for his diligence.
No clean way.
Just like
Ian
take 1
Zhang
off the
to
conch.
keep enough cards to have a turn. Allows the threats of Matthew Dilks with a full 4 cards and just 3 life standing between him and the finals of our World Championship. Tens of thousands of dollars stand on the shoulders of Anchor Dragon.
Yeah, he blocked 9 on it. So he could have blocked 7 instead, like D-React plus Angel, and then just held his hand.
Matthew Dilks will take them either way. Ian is searching for answers. Doesn't need to search his soul because it's right there in front of him.
And then he just kind of checkmates Dilks, because if Dilks takes 1 point of damage, he loses.
Head in hands. I mean, there's just not an easy answer.
I mean, this is it. You can't fault anyone stopping and pausing at this moment. There might not be that many permutations as to how this turn can play, but getting it wrong is the end. The game ends immediately if Ian Zhang slips.
The second you ship the turn back to the Gravy Bones player, whilst they still have Anchor in play, it feels like that's it.
Also, cute thing here is if he tries doing Halo on his own turn here, the Anka can eat the card that you Halo into.
Generation on hit here is a huge deal. There's a question of whether Ian Zhang even has the capacity to block this. The answer is likely yes. Leaving himself so wide open would be devastating. But taking damage here also doesn't feel like an option.
Trying to brainstorm if there's any lines to find with Halo of Illumination. If one of those cards in hand is blue, the other a Herald, perhaps we can keep a card.
The issue is, look, this attack is not at Avalon, crucially. Ian Zhang has left himself open for that Herald, the Figment of Ravages tutor line to shoot himself and trigger ward to end the turn if an angel's being attacked, but that's just not the case. Here we go. Imperium Ratchet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. The no block can be converted, though, into 2 block across the Rapture and the footsteps, and Herald of Triumph gets in front. Ian Zhang could
That's cool, we keep the Avalon, but like,
so he does,
now what?
but he has to ship the turn back. And Matthew Dilks gets to run full tilt at him.
Wait, why is Dilks at 2? What happened?
In the grand final.
Did they like miss damage or something? Wait, Dilks is dead.
And it is Conqueror of the High Seas in the hand for Matthew Dilks. The boats, the legion, the army of the damned threatening to come across the line and steal away the dreams of Ian Zhang.
Oh, right, Loan Shark. Wait. Okay, so we don't block. We block with D-React. We take 1, we go to 2. We block 2. Ian just threw the game, right? No, because we can't Halo and draw. I guess we could Halo on our opponent's turn. We have 4 cards. We pitch a card to Halo plus flip. We have 3 cards after drawing off of Halo. We block 2 cards. And then we keep 1 card to pitch to swing. Ian just threw the game, right? Like, he had lethal on, just like face up lethal, right? So, if you're not understanding what I'm saying, so he grabbed, if Dilks is going to take 2 off of the Loan Shark, he can crack Halo to grab Ravages, deal 1 arcane damage, flip swing Ravages because he'll have 3 soul because of the Halo. So he'll have an extra soul, actually. Dealing 2 extra arcane damage. He doesn't need to connect with the attack. He's just doing 3 arcane damage. Dilks dies. So if he defends from Arsenal with a D-React and then the Angel on the Conch, he takes 1 and goes to 2. He then pitches a blue to crack Halo, draws a card, has 3 cards in hand, searches, Ravages, shoots Dilks, blocks 2 cards on the Anka so that way he doesn't discard a card or die. Hold 1 card, use the 2 floating to flip the Ravages, and then just with the 1 card attacks with Ravages and Dilks dies. And he can't even like hero power discard a Fiddler's Green to gain life out of it. He has no gold. He just face up has lethal here. Unless the Ravages is in his hand, but I don't think it is based on what's going on here.
And Matthew Dilks gets to run full tilt at him to try
He
and push
blocked.
through and find a shot.
He had 1 card that didn't pitch.
One more wave. Very apt. And it is Conqueror of the High Seas.
Maybe the oh wait, no, he had to pitch a yellow there. That's why he can't do it. He had a non-block in his hand that was a Wrath. It's a yellow. If it was a blue, he could have, but since it was a yellow, he can't. So he doesn't have lethal. If he already had the Ravages in play, he could have. Because then he just doesn't activate Halo. He already has the Figment. Can he keep the non-block to swing Ravages? Oh, yeah, that's true. So long as he has a blue, he can do it. And doesn't draw into another non-block. But at this point, he doesn't have very many non-blocks left.
Hand for Matthew Dilks, the boats, the legion, the army of the damned threatening to come across the line and steal away the dreams of Ian Zhang.
Certainly block value in the hand of Ian Zhang.
Yeah, I think he tossed this game.
Matthew Dilks promises
I think
more
that
behind this.
I think the other turns that we talked about were like, I don't agree with his strategy on the turns, but they weren't like objective misplays or something like that. It's just like, you decided to do something. I don't agree with that decision, but like, it's not wrong. I would have played it differently. That turn, I think, was just, unless the hand couldn't do that for whatever reason, I couldn't tell the pitch color of the cards he blocked with. I know there was a red he blocked with, but like, whatever, that's the card that goes into your soul. So long as he had a blue, he presents lethal there. But also probably should have flipped Shariah earlier. Like, the Shariah should have flip swung earlier, and then the Rebirth should have put the Shariah back, I think.
Use of any of his hand. They all have to be thrown out just to keep him alive.
This is the trick from here. You can see the disdain, the stress in the face of Ian Zhang. We need to find a way to keep 2 cards at some point in the future, if not now, when we're not staring down a Conqueror, because you'll need to send a Herald back to take some semblance of tempo away from Matthew Dilks. For now, the damage is unrelenting. You need to remain alive, and if I'm not mistaken, I think
just
that's
block 1
Angelic
card.
Wrath
It's not that
in
deep.
the hand of Ian Zhang, and no block may mean we are falling short here, and Avalon might be the victim.
Yeah, this hand blocks 9. Avalon obviously can take this attack down to 4, so Ian needs to throw a blocking card in this equation. Again, that's that same question bouncing around the walls of his mind. How do I get to play the game from here on out? Is this game deterministically already over?
I refuse to believe it, Mitch. If anyone can steal
If he can get through this
the
turn...
spotlight, it is the sculptor,
Yo, what's
the
up?
Dark Light, the Awakener of Soul.
Is this your first time ever popping in chat?
Here's the attendant. No figments to flip anyway. None within reach of Ian Zhang anyway. Down to 2. Goes Ian Zhang and Matthew Dilks. Oh, the extender on the turn, the saltwater spell.
Oh my god, he's so good at the game.
With once more, the promise of more pain to follow.
So worth noting, No blue played here.
Okay, shake his hand. GG.
However,
Wait,
Anka
he might
got a
attack
lot
the
of
Anka into the
potentially.
Pierce.
5 damage will be
It's in front of the
death.
Pierce. Maybe he is.
It's a non-roll
Okay,
in
never
there.
mind.
There is phantasmal footsteps. This game is not over. Ian Zhang buys another window. 1 life remains, and Matthew Dilks needs to convert another hand. If they can take the hand from Ian Zhang again, the pressure remains. If 2 cards can be kept, this game is still up for grabs. I need to see
Gotcha.
these 4 cards, and I need to see them right now.
Dilks here, off the top. Chum in the hand, Golden Tipple, a Sunken Treasure, less useful. And a back alley break line in the hand, but there are obviously allies already deployed. What kind of turn can we make out of this?
So Golden Tipple here, pretty perfect. The blue copies, of course, will facilitate.
Yeah, surely we can find
However,
lethal
no
with
way
2
to
gold.
generate an extra action point currently. Can the Golden
Or
Tipple
1
find
gold,
some
rather.
ways off the top to go wider? Matthew, no, please. Okay, Rigor Mortis. Gold token does let us spin again. Gravy can take.
I'm glad you enjoy the content.
Now, Phantasmal Footsteps will keep Ian Zhang alive. Matthew Dilks needs to earn 2 more cards at a minimum. Herald of Erudition, the only thing we can make out there.
One thing about Footsteps that's nice in this matchup is
Top card once more.
the Gravy Bones closes chain a lot because they have to close chain to play an ally. I don't think we've had very many good opportunities to actually block the Footsteps, though.
This is about as close as these kinds of games can get. Gravy Bones activation.
Like what we see on top of the deck.
What is it? It's a Jittery Bones. Wait, back alley break line discarded. Wait a minute. Jittery Bones can get out there, get on offense. Rigor Mortis into the bin. This is still.
It's always bad when the Gravy Bones doesn't discard an ally.
And then once more,
You're like, oh
the
no.
ally will
That means
take
whatever they're
away
doing
the
is better.
remaining 2 cards if they block. Matthew Dilks has played a blue.
Anka.
Does not want to break the chain. Does not want to give Phantasmal Footsteps back. Give me those cards. I can live without an ally, and that is exactly what.
Yeah, I
we
like this. He
find.
doesn't need the
Zhang
ally.
Survives again. Poses the question once more.
He can always play the
I
ally
convert a
later.
hand That takes my cards away.
Having 2 allies in play doesn't actually like make him win.
Threatening the Mind Palace of Ian Zhang. Here's a murderous rabble. Pretty nice way to kick off the turn. Will 3 go again? Gets a Herald of Triumph out of the hand of Ian Zhang. Matthew Dilks, relentless, needs to continue throwing haymakers.
Portside exchange, that Eye of Ophidia, I believe, coming back around. Alongside Sunken Treasure, not at its best on offense, but perfectly happy to pay for some ally goodies.
Soul Shield in hand for Ian Zhang could be a little bit awkward.
Soul Shield, for all intents and purposes. Bit of a no block, does require another card to facilitate it in this spot.
Yeah, it could be tricky if you have to spread block out across some of these attacks. It does represent 2 card 6.
Not finding any Avast E's on these past couple turns is kind of unfortunate.
Breather to
Is he
consider
not
how
playing
much
Tib the
this has
Barkeep in this
played through
matchup?
Those army of allies awaiting under the water, ready to answer his beck and call.
I don't think we've seen a single one.
Been able to keep a lid on that growing army of submerged soldiers
Hmm.
because he's on the back foot and he's teetering on the edge of oblivion.
Playing Chum,
I have a fiddy for Chum.
trigger eye.
Remember that 4 power on Chum is a break point.
A Vast Yi, the second card down there. No way for Matthew Dilks to currently draw a card, otherwise we would be looking at multiple sources of go again right now. But Portside,
Oh!
you do not need to discard.
That'll
A
do it.
Vast Yi is found, and we
GG,
are sending
shake my hand.
those allies.
5 and then 4. So brutal, this for Ian Zhang. How on earth are you supposed to block this with a Soul Shield awkwardly sitting in the hand? You can obviously work with Phantasmal Footsteps here. So 6 gets in.
Oh, he lives!
Chum here
Can we
would
go
send
for
4. I mean, if this card blocks 3, yes.
He lives!
There's the floating
My
ring.
God!
Soul Shield powers the Phantasmal Footsteps, and Herald of Protection gets in front. Again, Ian Zhang returns serve. Again, he
How is he
defends
still
that
alive?
stay alive.
My God.
In both players' decks here, Ian Zhang's deck.
As soon as he draws a
is
non-block, he
healthier
dies, though.
Than Matthew Dilks, but it is full of cards that do not block.
At what point does Ian stumble? A true block of one.
And this is why I like having sloops in the deck.
Used effectively. Those are dangerous prospects.
Tipple pitched for Swell here, does demand the card. Pile of resources available for whatever takes the fancy.
It's got to be footsteps here. This is the most efficient way to cover it, even if it costs a card.
Okay, give me another card.
Swell, combat chain unbroken, so Phantasmal Footsteps cannot find its way in front of this one.
Give me another card.
Unknown card.
Just blues into the pitch. He's just drowning in resources.
Is he gonna...
Dilks.
It's a question of whether Matthew can actually just have a wide
Can he
turn here.
can he
what?
fatigue?
Well, number 3, please.
Okay.
Oh my
of course,
God.
blue.
We have an
Also,
irrelevant
Dilks,
number of
your
resources.
Phantasmal Footsteps will not save you, Tiny Dancer. Please give
Oh, this
me
kills him, though.
a card. I will send Anchor across the line.
How
and
can you cover that?
take what is left of your World Championship dreams with me through into the
Does he have to
final. Ian
crack
Zhang looks on in
His
desperation,
halo
must
here just to
find a way
flip to not
not to
die?
fall to the Kraken.
With decaying hands, a writing is now being applied to the wall. Herald of Ravagers has to go in front of this Saltwater Swell, and with one single card left, Ian Zhang knows what is to come. He needs to stand up and face the music and face the reality. The Matthew Dilks in his blockbuster matchup may have done enough. Here we go.
Oh, our rigor mortises are alive.
We'll search for the Figment. We can pitch to flip.
1 damage.
Put you to 1 with the Ravages. The Ravages that were saved this entire game to steal victory for Ian Zhang. Finally found will be converted into a Figment.
And the card he drew, of
This
course,
is so
he
tough
hopes can block this.
to watch.
Again, flip that
Oh,
fragment, eat up the damage. Fortune Herald is not going to be enough. And Matthew Dilks advances to the grand finals of our World Championships. A team
GG's.
battle between PCG Invasion players, Matthew Dilks and
and now on to the finals, and then I can finally go to bed.
about it.
Swiss rounds at the World.
Canada on a 10.
Passing at him.
Okay, so he's got Anka for this matchup, which is nice. Oh, it's Syndra? Oh, man, he's already lost. No Sync Belows. Fearless could maybe put in some work. He doesn't even have Fiddler's Green. I feel like his list is really light on cards for Syndra. I'd be curious to see what his pairings was in CC.
Hot. He knows Michael Yang, and for that reason, Matthew Dilks, instead of presenting Crown of Providence, which he does have access to, has presented Balanced Justice. He knows Michael Yasker does not have any of that Arsenal Disruption piece, so chosen instead to perhaps punish Michael Yasker for cards like Throw Dagger, like cards like Ancestral Empowerment, which alongside Mask Momentum will have made him draw 2 cards on that turn and turn.
I think the one Swabby 2 Whaler makes sense. I'm currently the other direction because I don't really like Whaler. I think Whaler kind of sucks. I only put it in because I assumed a lot of people were going to be playing Fatigue Verdance.
At the start of the game, before their graveyard is set up and before they have any gold.
Had a peek at the hand there. Saltwater Swell available for Dilks. Call to the Grave on turn 0. Not bad. Gotta be able to go ahead and set
The
up
photo
ally in the
sneak.
bin. Dilks will have his choice.
Could even go ahead and deploy that ally and not attack with it to not let Michael Yasker.
Yeah, and it's just
build
chum
anything.
immediately to the bin. So important for dictating Yasker's.
That's a pretty interesting decision on whether or not you deploy the ally. I think if you have an ally in your hand, it's pretty reasonable to deploy it, so that way you can discard an ally on your own turn.
So no goal generation for Matthew Dilks, but effectively an extra 6 life gained on turn 0 because of his chum friendly first mate.
Has the Death Threads activation available now. Going to follow up here with the chum, entering the arena. Goes ahead and takes the attack here.
No,
You're basically saying that you're gaining like an effective 3 life, and then getting a different ally in the bin.
Filter to Syndra on the opponent's turn if he's not happy with his hand as he faces down this chum. Knows he very likely might want to clear it on his own turn because that's quite a big advantage. Matthew Dilks has built up chum friendly first mate on the board. Rigor Mortis in the graveyard as well. We spoke about the setup that Matthew Dilks wants to do going first. This is why he deferred the format choice. This is why you wanted to go first in this matchup for this setup.
One of the
Oh,
3
I wish
blues in Yasker's
we could hear what they were
deck,
chuckling
and
about.
goes ahead and filters it with the Syndra. Dilks, ally in play, ally in the bin. Makes pretty good use of that ability to go first. Yasker's going to go ahead, do some igniting. Players already smirking, having a good time in their $75,000 match.
2 damage so far sunk into chum friendly first mate. Looks like Mask Momentum is definitely going to trigger off of that ally, but Dilks still happy with that exchange because that is 2 cards sent at chum, and Michael Yasker gets 1 back, so that's still just net -1 card for Matthew Dilks.
Here's the mass trigger on that Fire Tenant. Chum now hits the bin.
Yeah, so we like effectively gained 3 life.
Blow out there.
Burning Blade Dance available for Yasker here. 4 go again on the back of that Fire Tenant.
Has an on hit as well. It's a flick, a kunai. And Matthew Dilks is holding on to a defense reaction.
Are you saying that because they
Could
split?
pass up if he chooses to. Has activated Compass, might even have gotten lucky. And can play the Blood and Water to discard an ally off the top.
And reaching for another 3 block here instead.
And at this point, with the mask already triggered, Matthew Dilks is free to just play numbers with Michael Yasker. And Gravy Bones can have some very scary numbers, especially off of cards like Prismatic Leyline.
This is going to take the D-React here. Follow-up Rabble here from Yasker. 4 once again. Nice healthy chain being established.
I mean, you know me, I'm always down to
Offensive
split.
salvo.
Hot on the heels revealed off the top as well for Michael Yasker. So if he's holding on to a Draconic starter, Michael just Arsenal it, so he guarantee has a starter for the Hot on the heels on top. However, that does open him up to a Conqueror of the High Seas. So a little bit of a fork, decides just to deploy the Rising Resentment.
I assume they also like know each other because they're both from Canada. So like they're
Nice
probably
start here
friends.
for
They've been
Yasker,
chuckling
using
and
that
shit.
massive momentum trigger to get 5 cards. Clear to Chum, has done 4 damage already. Dilks faces down 3 more. Is pulling forth the Jittery Bones to go ahead and defend here. Flick Knives takes the 1 damage. I've got the chain links as well. Syndra's going to buy that dagger back, and the turn passes back to Dilks.
Leaked 5 damage and clear to Chum as well. Matthew Dilks starting to fish for some gold here.
Yeah, charting the high seas is Dilks and hits a perfect split.
The big
Finds
brain
the gold
play
and the Sawbones
is
to go ahead
split and then
and
get second
in. Plenty of
place.
resources working now for Dilks.
And you see the lean
Like,
from
split
Matthew Dilks
everything,
as
get second
the gold
place?
is revealed. And a gold generator for Matthew Dilks.
Because the
And
first
now
place
starts
person is going to have to
Sawbones
claim more on
ally
taxes.
For Syndra. That is one of the few ways Gravy Bones can prevent the effectively unpreventable Flick Knives damage. Michael Yasker has to deal with the Sawbones once it hits the field.
And Dilks follows up here with a swell.
Though I wouldn't be surprised if they just split the cash and then the winner gets the promos.
For Matthew Dilks, if you want to take down a Syndra, this is what you have to get.
3 damage, a snap taken by Michael Yasker. Syndra does not want to block. She knows that is not her role in this matchup. She is the aggressor. She needs to get Gravy down to the
Do we
low
draw off
levels
gold here?
and not
No, we already have a
leverage
card. Unless
the
we can play that
like
card.
Conqueror of the High Seas and Prismatic Leyline, which require him to hold back 4 or 5 cards.
Dilks goes ahead, deploys. Sawbones, still plenty of resources left. Can he make use of them? Gold baited hook activation. Just going to go ahead and swing here with the Sawbones.
Free gold activation, gold baited hook activation there because of the chart, the High Seas.
And it's still a pretty good turn.
And this gold train can quickly get out of control for the Syndra. But also, can you afford to block 6 on the Sawbones? That's just giving the Gravy more and more space. Sawbones, a very tricky ally for Syndra to deal with. Typically, you want to save your 3rd attack to send into the ally to get a mask draw off of it. But that means that you can't activate Flick Knives on the first 2 chain links.
Yeah, Red Spell is good in this matchup.
Yeah, and Yasker just forced to take their...
I think I like Sink Below more, but
Gold generated for Dilks.
I definitely like
And they go
Fiddler's Green
after
more.
That Sawbones.
And
Couple of sunken treasure for Dilks.
bit of a forced play by Michael Yasker over here, sending the first attack Sawbones' way.
Is going to do the job. Cleans up. Now hot on their heels, going face after Dilks. Takes the opportunity to
Forced
defend that
because
sunken treasure.
he can't actually present a mass trigger so long as the Sawbones is in play. It'll just eat the kunai.
1 yellow in that entire deck, and that's a yellow brand with Cinderclaw.
Yeah, has not shown up yet. Dilks taking a check. Just going to go ahead and get that Rising Resentment out of the mix. So just a block here. Flick Knives coming through for that inevitable 1 that has come to define this classic constructed format.
And keeps the Mask of Momentum train going as a 4 attack comes down for Michael Yasker.
Dilks just pulling forth that second sunken treasure. Want to get those blocks out of hand. Is going to get the block from the gold baited hook here.
So interesting interaction here. Michael Yasker has priority before the Sunken Treasure trigger resolves. Will want to buy back the kunai right now, because otherwise the Sunken Treasure can turn it face down and put Michael Yasker just 1 dagger for the rest of the game. Here we go. Yasker goes ahead, brings back the kunai before it can be turned face down.
Good call, Pankaj. Not going to leave yourself vulnerable to that. Closes things off here with a throw dagger. Sends it the way of Dilks.
Which keeps the Mask Momentum train going as well. Now, Yasker can
Hopefully he
draw
draws
the
an
card before he
attack.
decides whether he wants a resource off of Blood Spattered Vest as well.
Flashed it briefly.
And he does go ahead and get the resource. So that's a 1+ he's found off the top, which will continue to threaten the Mask of Momentum. This is the pressure he's trying to put on Matthew Dilks.
Oh my god, that's backbreaking.
Maybe
Well,
the perfect card to
at
follow
least
up, Pankaj.
it's 2 on hit, so you're kind of
That card in the list for
it's
Yasker.
kind of profitable to block this.
Threatening 2 card draw, 1 off of Mask of Momentum and 1 off of Take the Tempo's effect, which will put a card in Banish and allow Michael Yasker to play.
Depending on what we have, it's like card and hat, but it could even just
Makeshift
be
here.
fridge all of the armor on this.
And Dilks is holding on to 1 no block in that hand. So either he gives up the other 3 block and blocks the balance. or
Interestingly,
he
you
wins
could
it
let this
because
hit
that
and then
access to
draw off of your balance, but I think that's bad.
It is going to be the balance used here. Ton of value on this block. Never was going to let this one through. Can't give Yasker 2 cards.
very strong turn cycle for Michael Yasker over there. Got quite a bit of armor from the Matthew Dilks.
Things going well for both players right now, Pankaj.
And remember that also.
Yeah, I
starts
actually feel
clearing
like
Sawbones
not
as
too
well.
bad about this from
All in place,
Dilks'
but there's
side.
Quite a bit of defense from
We have a
Dilks'
life lead right now going into our own turn,
Dilks looks to
but
take
we
off
have
here
burned like all of our
with
armor.
a Gravy Bones activation, perhaps.
It's like the game gets harder from here, especially with us having only 3D reacts and one of them already being used. So it's going to be hard for us to fight over mass triggers for the rest of the game.
A little bit of that pressure, just looking at body language. His motion's also a little bit less sure than we've seen so far in the top 8.
This has been a lightning fast top 8, Pankaj. But Dilks has played some of the longer games in it thus far. 2 games, over 60 minutes on this Gravy Bones decks. He has been mentally tasked thus far. Also the only competitor left in this tournament who has played the full 3 games.
Very interesting play by Matthew Dilks over there. Activates Gravy Bones, discards the blue to the Gravy Bones effect to turn on the Gravy Bones hero ability, allowing him to play watery grave cards from the graveyard. Sends out Rigor Mortis for 6.
Wants to keep the offense rolling, does Dilks. Can't just turtle up. It will not work against the Syndra. You have to trade effectively.
Also just showing mastery over this deck. A lot of players would have just tunneled or defaulted to discarding the ally to the Gravy Bones ability, but Matthew Dilks recognizing he needs to put some offense in, and the only way to do that was to discard the blue so that he's allowed to play watery grave cards. And that is a very important blue in this matchup as well, Brian. Loot the holding.
Yeah, it's one of
One
those
of the ways
disruptive sources.
that he can pressure the Syndra.
Yeah, I like the 5D reacts. I'm on 5D
Simultaneously.
reacts
Also
and double
effectively
fiddlers, and
what
it's
is
felt
now
pretty
the
good.
Passes back to Yasker. Does have that one of yellow at this stage in the brand with Cinderclaw. Also an Art of the Dragon Blood. Pain in the backside. Can't quite make out the last card here.
to display loyalty. So Michael Yasker deciding.
So we could go like 3 into, you could go like pain into brand into blood and then display. Seems reasonable.
Not the last card here.
To display loyalty. So Michael Yasker deciding how he wants to sequence this, and Rigor Mortis also poses a little bit of an awkward question.
And also put the
How he
brand
wants to
into
trigger
the
off
Rigor
of it. It
Mortis.
doesn't feel very good usually because it only has 1 health. So unless you can send something small at it, like an Ignite, to get a Mask Momentum trigger, Plays
Jasker
rigor
does have
mortis.
the yellow brand in this hand.
That could be small. Yeah, that's small as well.
Also a little
It's-
protection from a Fearless Confrontation.
Still full card, so he's still net neutral.
So like from Dilk's side, he's basically
currently
having the
lower.
decision of if I don't block this, then I
This
guarantee
got the information. He needs to
Jasker
go ahead
gets
and decide how
a
he's gonna
mass
defend
trigger
on this
because
prismatic ley line
if he doesn't
is
block
very
this, then Jasker attacks with anything,
You're right,
and then he flicks on that chain link if it gets blocked, and then
Resource
sends
gain
the
for
next
Jasker.
attack into the rigor
I believe
mortis.
That's just going to fund the Syndra activation at the end of this turn, because currently only has ways to make 2 Draconic Chain Links, unless he wants to use the fealty created off of this play loyalty. Oh, excuse me, no, we'll be able to
I think he made the dollar so that way he can send the
the
kunai into the rigor mortis.
Fast, you got to cover up here. Another attack from hand. It is the Art of the Dragon Blood. Turned into a Draconic attack via that brand. That means we're going to look at 4 go again here.
This does present another mass trigger if he wants to play the last card in his hand.
So Matthew Dilks once again in the position where he can do numbers. That one floating though on Michael Jasker's side offers a little bit of threat from Matthew Dilks' perspective. What is that one floating for? He already has the discount from the Art of Dragon Blood on Draconic
I guess
attacks at least.
he only has 2 draconic chain links right now, so he can't re-equip yet.
A 1 for 5, maybe another take the tempo.
So he'd have to
Or
play
possibly
the
rigor mortis.
card from
Still
hand,
like
yeah, and then that
rounds,
doesn't
he
present
can
mask.
ally on board for the following turn. At this point, the
So he
question is,
can't present mask this turn. Never mind.
Yeah, this display loyalty just going to go ahead and get that fealty for a future turn. All information now available to Dilks. Wants to defend with
Ooh,
another card from hand. There
that's
is
kind of
that
tough having to
Syndra
block with prismatic.
activation.
And that's a very important card. Brian, once again, Matthew Dilks losing one of the power cards in this matchup. The Luther Hold the first time, the Prismatic Leyline the second
So what the
time.
heck is the arsenal? Is it like another prismatic and he just doesn't have an attack?
All pressure the Syndra, both headed to the graveyard, not for the full effect.
Murderous Rabble just going to reveal a tipple here.
And there's no more allies in the bin either.
There is not.
So this blue going to the yard won't allow Matthew Dilks to resolve any of the ally. Doesn't even have cards in hand.
Yeah, but he still has a life lead.
Start of the game was looking quite decent for Matthew Dilks, but now the aggression from the Draconic Ninja starting to weigh on our Pirate Necromancer.
Uh-oh.
We'll be drawing Golden Tipple the next turn cycle. Should he be able to combine that with
That's
an
not
ally?
good.
Things can accelerate very quickly for Gravy Bones. The reason that card has gone ahead and hit the quasi.
Well, time to get the quick
Now,
dodge in, I
this is
guess.
The first turn cycle, but we've gone over to Michael Jasker's turn, and there has been no ally that needs to deal with. All these attacks will be coming the way of Matthew Dilks' face.
Yeah, and if you're a Jasker fan, good news in terms of how you want to see that turn play out. He's picked up a Wrath as well, Wrath of Retribution in hand. We'll see if this is the turn where he wants to go ahead. And
What a
try to get rid of
nonsense
that. But
card,
he's kicking this
Wrath
off
of
with an oath
Retribution.
of loyalty here.
They need to stop making these high impact one-ofs.
Perhaps heralding this Wrath of Retribution. You want to make sure you block with that boots piece before you send a Wrath, because you're going to want to use that boots piece on a dagger to attack with it again while it's being discounted by the
Just
Wrath
a
of Retribution. And
1-card 11. Just casual 11.
Dilks with
Reasonable
his
card.
life leads right now, 24 to
And you guys
23.
thought Codex was
Jasker free
broken.
To go face this go around. Wants to get that life lead working and is set up well to do so.
sequencing on a Wrath of Retribution turn can be incredibly tricky. You also want to make sure you are maximizing your Mask of Momentum triggers while also maximizing all.
Oh,
the
true. That's legal in
You want to be forced to
Sage.
flick early on before you've attacked with the kunai, but you also want to make sure your mask is still being threatened.
That being said, next weekend, I think we're going to start doing Sage stuff on stream.
And Jasker making sure crosses every T, dots
I
every
want to
I.
try doing
Always
like
making
a
sure
A to
now
Z
for the
type of
Sage
thing of learning how to play every single hero in the format to familiarize myself with every deck.
Life-changing money.
We'll see if I actually do that.
Title of world champion, joining such luminaries.
Okay, we're gonna skip forward a little bit.
Of the champion prize cards, no less.
Ignite is the follow-up here.
Kadachi Fi with it. That's
Pro
spicy.
players, hands on their heads here. The tension is mounting as Matthew Dilks decides how he wants to deal with this Ignite. Now, this Ignite will discount.
Wait, he
the
has
Wrath of
mounting
Retribution
anger?
in Michael Jasker's hand as well. So he could just go ahead and deploy it immediately following this Ignite.
Dilks with a lot of blues.
They
in
picked a
hand.
bad time to switch to the hand cam. Ugh.
Heads up play for Matthew Dilks over here. I think he has the read on the Wrath of Retribution, and that is the turn you want to activate Quick Dodge Flexes the most, because that's the most efficient way for
Imagine
you
he
to
just
deal with
stopped
the
short
two
here.
guys that are coming in repeatedly. So activating it here before the Wrath comes out, though, maybe Jasker pivots.
Yeah,
maybe
is
he
there
does
just
Arsenal the
space
Wrath
to
now.
go ahead and put
He's
one-
not actually even priced into playing the Wrath here. He only has one kunai, right? He might just Wrath next turn and just like, whatever, I'll just set up. I don't think you're supposed to commit the quick dodge yet. Or you're supposed to quick dodge and chain link 1.
Hey, that Wrath, use it for a future turn. And I think you see Jasker having to go back and
'Cause
add
this
that
Wrath
Wrath
isn't
and
that
he
good.
Configure his plan successfully here.
It's scary, though, if you Arsenal the Wrath, if you get baited in Arsenal the Wrath into a
Vulnerable to a lot.
Conqueror, then you feel really, really bad.
Yeah, and it is just going to be the Wrath put forward. So huge read from Dilks here. Finds the perfect window to go ahead and activate those quick dodge flexors.
And we see what Jaskar has been doing this entire game. He has been hesitant to Arsenal, does not want to open himself up to giving Matthew Dilks that value. Matthew Dilks recognizing that that's the way Jaskar has been playing, just activates quick dodge flexes there once he had the read of the Wrath of Retribution. What a fantastic play that we are witnessing here in the grand finals, Brian.
It's such a small play, Punkage, but it's exactly the type of play a Flesh and Blood world champion needs to be able to make. The perfect read here from Dilks.
And this one, not threatening Mask of Momentum. Michael Jaskar did not flick on the Ignite, saving the kunai, so that he can swing it with the Wrath of Retribution buff here. However,
And then he still has another card to present Mask at the end.
All the way at the end of these dagger swings.
Dilks is
That being said, he might not actually present Mask because of the quick dodge.
Goes ahead and moves the quick dodge flexors now. And Fealty going to be used, of course, under Oath of Loyalty here, and that means Pain in the backside coming through.
So not threatening Mask since the previous chain link was blocked out, so Michael Jaskar just going for a whole bunch of damage here.
Yeah, Dilks still going to want to account for the numbers here off that Pain in the backside. It's a swell in front.
Michael Jaskar hand on the flick knives. Go ahead and flick.
Isn't it better to just pitch the swell? This isn't a Mask trigger. Maybe he's just pitching anyways, and he's just like blocking his little hand here, but...
The kunai, the second of which is already in the graveyard, which means Syndra's activation here will bring both of them back, and I am curious to see whether he chooses to swing both daggers. Swinging both daggers when you are off fealty can open you up to having one of those Syndra bricks.
Here's dagger number 1. You know quick dodge flexor is going to hop over and cover that one, and Jaskar reaches at his dagger number 2. Kunai of Retribution comes in again. And Dilks says no blocks. He's going to fall to 18.
Michael makes the read. He cannot afford to be defensive. He cannot afford to play scared here in game 1 of the best of 3 of the grand finals, the world championships. Both.
Okay, I'm curious to see what Dilks' turn is then. Because I think it was better to pitch the swell. We could have blocked for 6 with it, right?
Side. Chart here for Dilks. Reveal again.
Oh, big mode!
Coming off the top of the deck.
Matthew Dilks' chart, the high seas have been doing.
I think he has 2 conks though.
In this game, in one of the most monumental games of his Flesh and Blood career. Both times, ally and the blue perfect split brings him up from 0 gold to 1 gold as well.
Already has the resources ready to go ahead and deploy that chum.
I'm going to take a look at what Michael Jaskar is working with. Low on draconic attacks here.
Yeah, cut through.
Lava burst.
I mean, that hand.
Does he have a
Brian,
starter?
Doesn't do anything when you don't have kunais. That was the risk of using both kunais and the Wrath of Retribution. So it's always so tempting to get max value from the Wrath, but then we've seen this time.
Oh, was it
again.
Tipple in
Give
Arsenal?
One
I guess he just
that's
has never drawn an ally since putting it in Arsenal. That's so unreasonable.
And park in Arsenal for the next
That's
turn
so
cycle.
unlucky.
Was
My God.
Of the high seas, and now Chum carrying the potential for some extra gold and a big Arsenal card lined up. Should Jaskar have to take one of those off turns, Dilks will be ready with the punish if he just has to move a card to Arsenal.
Only one card with natural go again, Michael Jaskar's hand in the form of that Ravenous Rabble. As he faces down a Chum. No clean way.
Doesn't seem like a great hand to even kill a Chum.
6 damage. As Michael Jaskar now leans back in his chair. He's in a tough position here. And when your Syndra opponent is considering blocks on your ally,
gotta feel pretty good.
That's when you feel really good if you're a Matthew Dilks fan.
And Jaskar is in fact reaching for a card here. Pulling
Yeah, it makes sense. He has too many chain enders.
In front of this Chum. Having a hard time letting it go, Punkage.
So has the line of Ravenous Rabble into the Chum, into the cut through to the Chum as well to just clear it. Or you could Ravenous Rabble face and Hunt the Hunter face as well. Force a Chum
Also,
perhaps.
the Rabble could miss.
And he's going face with the Rabble, does reveal another Lava Burst.
This does open him up to a Chum activation, and Matthew Dilks has found that ally in hand. He's holding on to a Solvents. This can be discarded to the Chum. Although from his perspective, Michael Jaskar could easily be holding 2 head jabs, which would just clear the Chum easily and give him a mass trigger. Just more mind games happening here at the highest level here, Brian.
What does the block from Jaskar tell Dilks? Can he make the read again to find a really important Chum activation? Pull the card forward here. Has to keep that life total safe. We know what Flick Knives does in the late game, Punkage. You cannot let your life total get into precarious ranges.
It's almost like a pseudo Storm Strider.
Is he going to
It's all
block
9 damage at the
chest?
end of the game. It's just 9 damage throughout the game that you cannot prevent.
And reaching for the dead threads is Matthew Dilks.
Approaching that moment of the game, making the bold call that this game isn't going to go long enough for dead threads' resource generation to be worth it.
And he blocks 4, covers the Rabble in its entirety.
And no Chum activation.
And it is just Hunt the Hunter here. 5 mark you. headed the way of Dilks.
And the mark on hit here seems innocuous. I'm going to bring it up again. No daggers on Michael Yasker's side. A fealty could be what he needs to unlock those hands that have cards in them that require multiple Draconic Chain Links.
This is like exactly what we need for Dilks to actually win this game. We got to keep an ally. We got to keep a big hand.
As Chum, this is an opportunity
He has no
to
daggers.
the go button and just has a huge hand here, as well as a conqueror of the high seas in Arsenal. Going to kick things off with the port side exchange is Dilks. Sets up that Sawbones in the bin. Gold refresh, picks up a new card here.
If we can find like an Avasti, we're so good at the game.
To get go again. So need to find second blue gravy activation here after the compass activation, so he knows what he's going
Loot
to
the hold is pretty good.
Loot the hold. There's two options now. Could send the Conqueror into no arsenal for just raw damage, or maybe he just decides to go for the loot the hold, and that is going to be the call for Matthew Dilks. He wants to pressure Michael Yasker's hand while he has two allies on the board right now, Brian, Chum and Sawbones.
I actually kind of don't hate just throwing the Conqueror raw with the hook and then playing the loot the hold on the Chum. This is still good, but just while I have the resources to do all of this, I'll just resolve it because I might not have the resources to do it later. But with you having a Chum and a Sawbones in play, odds are you do get to keep a big hand in the following turn.
Is able to offer that Sawbones attack and keep the Conqueror, Ponkage. The damage output over the next few turns for Dilks is going to be big, and I think once again,
especially with the loot to hold on this, like,
where I have to defend.
I think if we want to resolve Conqueror next turn, we can.
Defend realistically, as Syndra, though, you need that output. You need to advance the game in your favor. The problem is Dilks building a formidable board right now. Also has good offensive potential across the next few turns.
Sawbones and Chum is a terrifying ally combination. At the drop of a hat, Matthew Dilks can force you to attack the Chum and have the Sawbones to protect it as well.
And look at this, Yasker again reaching for cards. Does have the 3-block in the form of Lava Burst. Those Lava Bursts committed to the defensive side of the game thus far. Not what they were built for when Yasker drew up the game plan.
Yeah, it's probably just like block this, head jab it, Arsenal pass, get conked, lose game.
Once more, and an Arsenal kept for Matthew Dilks, and we know it's one of the most powerful cards in the Gravy Bones deck.
And Matthew Dilks has an option here. If he finds that ally, he can force Michael Yasker to send an attack at Chum, which will effectively force Michael Yasker to Arsenal, because there's no 6-power attack that can clear the Chum, and if he forces Michael Yasker to Arsenal, that sets him up for the Conqueror of the High Seas.
Cut through does clear the Sawbones, and Yasker Arsenals. And what is Dilks working with on the offensive side?
A prismatic ley line. Brian didn't quite catch whether he has a blue attack.
He's deceased.
I saw a Murderous Rabble being flashed that he might be able to resolve the full 6 value on a prismatic ley line. He's got the red attack in Arsenal. He's got the blue attack in hand. He's got the yellow attack on board. Can he pull this off?
Gravy activation here. Puts an Oyston in the bin.
We could probably even upgrade our ally
Here
attack
is
this
the
turn.
prismatic ley line. And it's Murderous Rabble kicking things off. Finds a yellow on top.
So that's not a blue. He needed that second blue to give the Conqueror in his arsenal go again, so won't be getting the full 6 value from a prismatic ley line. Not even... He's at a bit of a fork here. He could just send the Conqueror for 8, pitching a yellow and a blue, which will still destroy the arsenal, or send the Chum and get the additional 1 point of value from the prismatic ley line. I think he's going to want interaction, Brian.
Feels like the disruption too important here. It's going to be loot the hold, though.
I mean, you still have the disruption here.
Rigor Mortis coming and join the fray.
And it's coming in for 8, thanks to prismatic ley line. So does manage to send a disruptive attack for 8 regardless. And this is the flexibility.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
Really good Gravy players, seeing all these different lines.
Makes a lot of sense, Ponkage. You get the disruption either way. You're taking away a card. You're set up for the future turn with that Conqueror when you can give it go again, and it can combine with something like a Chum, like a Rigor Mortis. Still has potential Chum activation on this next turn cycle to blunt Yasker's offense. If Yasker does pivot and decide to go face, Dilks only at 11 right now. But 8
Oh,
damage
huge.
heads
And he's
the way
discarding.
of Michael Yasker, and a card is going to have to be given up as well.
And a goal generated as well, thanks to Loot the Hold's effect. Gravy Bones going up to 2. We have seen time and time again in the weeks leading up to the World Tour, Gravy Bones can hold his own against the Syndra, against the Draconic Ninja.
That could have actually been a spot to dry hook.
Repeat that feat here.
Avasti, one of the draws here for Dilks, does have 2 non-blocks right now in the form of allies. Wants to go ahead and get some information with the compass. Got it quickly, though. Didn't quite catch what he was working with.
Luther Arsenal's really good. What are you talking about?
Chum activation.
Once again, that 6 life, discarding a card from his hand, an ally to force
It's just,
Michael Yasker to
it's a
give
space
that
thing.
6 life. But this Ravenous Rabble
And
goes through to the face, which
a
means
lot of decks already have the play pattern of not arsenaling against us. So it's redundant having even more arsenal disruption.
Up those Draconic Chain Links, Brian. It's been quite a few turn cycles of Michael Yasker with no daggers. Blaze Headlong is an amazing start over here.
4 points of damage onto that Chum. Here comes the Burning Blade Dance, offering 3. Chum is cleared, gets a trigger, picks up a new card.
1 Draconic Chain Link remaining before he can activate Syndra for free. Did he pick up a Draconic attack with Go again?
I think he drew a Snatch.
And no way to give that go again. So while it threatens a card draw, well, that card draw can mean that Michael Yasuo can pitch to Syndra and still have an arsenal. So still
Oh, that's not true. Some people played it at the national season.
It does allow Michael Yasuo to refresh the arsenal while getting the daggers back. So still irrelevant on hit.
Just enough value there.
It's just the play, again, it's the play pattern of
He wants to attack that
I know they play Conquer the High Seas, so I'm just not going to Arsenal. Well, if I know that my opponent's not going to Arsenal, then playing Loot the Hold is kind of redundant.
Also 14 points of
Or
damage with just those cards.
Loot the
And
Arsenal,
Yasuo's
rather.
only at 8 and a deck loaded with 2 blocks could be presenting lethal on this next turn cycle.
Pitch to Syndra. He wants to flick right now, which would put Matthew Dilks all the way down to 2, which means 1 more flick and 1 more throw dagger would end the game, but Michael Yasuo needs to survive to get to that point, and I'm not sure whether Matthew Dilks is going to allow for that.
And there is the flick. Dilks drops down. Here's the draw off the snatch. And looks like Yasker's just going to go ahead and move that card to Arsenal. And with that Conqueror
Reverse
Savage,
Uno.
you have to be
I
happy
draw a
with the
card.
And
Now hold this
snatch
Conqueror
on
of the High
draw was the
Seas.
second card draw for Michael Yasuo. Matthew Dilks went ahead and activated the balance of justice.
It's not that bad of a card.
Thanks to Compass of Sunken Depths.
Time to spend some gold here for Dilks. Has a second Conqueror drawn on this turn.
Don't think he has the resources to deploy. Oh,
Triple
hang on.
blue hand.
He does have the resources to deploy both.
Triple blue hand, Ponkage. And that means we're about to go sailing the high seas.
That is the
Wait,
perfect
he can
resources
play
for
both
Conqueror,
Conks
Conqueror,
and the
Rigor
Rigor
Mortis.
Mortis
Matthew
attack.
Dilks once more.
My god. Wait, why are we
Gold
drawing?
activation here
Don't we
picks
just...
up
Wait,
another
wait,
card.
wait, wait. Doesn't he have 3 blues?
Don't think he has the resources to deploy.
Why are we drawing off of gold? Just play both Conks and swing the Rigor Mortis. He's dead.
Oh,
Triple
hang
blue
on.
hand.
He does have the resources to deploy both.
Triple blue hand, Ponkage.
I guess we could play the Avasti instead.
That is the perfect amount of resources. You go Conqueror, Conqueror, Rigor Mortis. Matthew Dilks once more.
Another gold activation here. Picks up another card.
I don't know why we're drawing.
It's a swell. But here is that first big boat coming in for 8.
Michael Yasuo has been so disciplined this entire game, avoiding an arsenal so he does not get blown out by this Conqueror of the High Seas. Unfortunately, previous turn cycle was forced to do that.
He's just got to start defending, pushes in a whole host of equipment to try and
Yo,
avoid
hold this second
Conqueror,
Conk.
But he's not going to like what comes next, Ponkage.
And this is so telling for Matthew Dilks as well. He knows Michael Yasuo. I mean, Syndra will not be able to block 8 a second time.
And more cards are pitched. And once again, we go sailing on the high seas.
Hold
Again,
this.
the offer here from
Hold
Dilks.
this.
Yasker counting up the block value.
Also,
Nods the head.
is this just lethal? He sees 6 damage on the board from the Rigor Mortis as well. Does not have another 3 block in hand.
He's taking 4, and then he's taking at least 6, and it gets the fist bump, and game 1 is stolen by Matthew Dilks. Got exactly the result he wanted by deferring, and now
Best Dilks.
we tend to cut. He was going to gain.
Really want, but
I actually did that to someone at Worlds. The Conk ally swing. He was like, "What the fuck?" Oh,
Stop
it was
Michael
so
Yasuo
good.
from-
Hasn't Michael yet the secretly
So far, we have seen
yielded of the high. I believe Punk back black. What's if
Finalish closely to the 24.
no if
All right, time to watch a 30-minute physical Kano turn.
looking to defend across this first turn.
Some fishing going on here from Michael Yasuo's side. Trying to find an item off the top, trying to get closer to his combo pieces.
Finds a space
Interesting that
to
he's
sell
playing the
here.
face purg. I guess the disruption is
Combo pieces look
probably better
so
than
solid.
drawing an extra card to defend with.
Can stop an important
Minus a
activity
card from him is
on
worth
combo
more
turn.
than plus a card from me.
Just comes in, and that is not the setup that Michael Yasuo was looking for on this turn 0. He needed something a little bit more than that. Can Matthew Dilks start pressuring, start interacting with Michael Yasuo, and force him to start blocking? Not set up that devastating dash IO combo.
Here's Art
If
of
I remember
War to kick
correctly,
things off.
Dilks had less disruption in his
A little
list.
bit later in the game, but with these
So this
extra
matchup is
hybrid builds like Matthew Dilks
probably
running, can just go ahead
Doomer.
and seed some important rune gate cards in your banish zone early on.
And Lurkon Trilogy, one of the better rune gate cards to see this early as well before.
I feel like
Neutron Generator
Jasker
was
just got the
one of
better
the
matchup
most
on
active
both
grassroots
formats
attack and
here.
play out the Eulogy. With Go again if you want to activate Chain before that as well.
Looks like that is going to be the path forward for Dilks here. It's our first Soul Shackle of many. Joining the fray, there is the Eloquent Eulogy plus a rune chant coming through.
And his Loken's token should not be slept on in this chain list. Read the runes. Very, very strong card to be given Go again off on the Loken's
Yeah,
token.
who thought it was a good idea giving us a Dark
Master
Ritual
Army
Lightning
defensive
Bolt that
defense.
costs 0 mana? Fucking Dirge and read the
Our Loken
runes.
throwing the
My
+1
god.
on the Eulogy, making it coming for 5.
Runegate, balanced mechanic.
Got confirmation that the Stasis Cell, naming Bloodsheath Scaletta for Matthew Dilks.
No blocks from Michael Yasuo, and Matthew Dilks is holding on to a widespread destruction. Michael Yasuo has already taken some damage this turn. This is the fork that this chain list puts you in. First presents seemingly vanilla damage. Seemingly damage is just threatening a Loken's token. But suddenly, out of nowhere, after you've already taken the damage, here's a widespread destruction. You are losing that arsenal at the end when the combat chain closes.
And Atoma Findel has to be committed to the defense here. And let's not forget, lower starting life total for Dash IO, already taking a ton of damage. And a second copy of Tome cleared out by that widespread destruction.
That is 2 draw pieces from Michael Yasker's side, already gone off the board. And you point out the life total differential, Brian. 10 points lower as well as Michael Yasker. At some point, you no longer need interaction. Every point of damage you send is interaction because your opponent's life
That's a
total is
pretty
low.
significant life lead.
Here's a big piece of Michael Yasker's puzzle, though. It is Optical Monocle.
But
that will go ahead and
if he
get
misses on
over the
disruption, he
top
probably
of
just
the deck,
dies
lets him
instantly.
turbo to a potential combo turn. First hit for Chain off the Soul Shackle, finds a bounding Demigon right off the bat. Sometimes it's just your day, Pankaj. Thus far, everything random about the games that Matthew Dilks has not had immediate control over has seemingly gone his favor.
Has a use of that Loken's token as well. Funeral Moon coming in, getting Gilligan off of a
Funeral
Loken's token,
Moon
now just replacing itself
from
from
hand,
Arsenal.
kinda
It goes with
sucks.
an effective 5-card chain hand here. 4 cards in hand, 1 in banish in the form of that bounding Demigon.
It's like kind of fake 5-card because he's just spent a full card on one.
I don't want to sleep on how important that monocle is to have in play. It speeds up Yasker's ability to find his important pieces so much. But the start from Dilks has been explosive thus far. We'll see if he can keep it rolling.
You also don't want to use the monocle before your combo turn. It's for usage on the combo turn to make sure you don't whiff once you have started expending those resources. Equipment like Power Plant, that's a one-time use. Cash in, that's effectively a one-time use as well. You just have 1 gold token and no way to generate further ones.
Once again, Dilks has the eloquent eulogy, backed up by Chain, seemingly innocuous on hit. But the Rune Chant looks like it's going to do its thing, so the ability is online now.
And further on-pain effects also online. Cards like Widespread Annihilation, Widespread Destruction. Michael Yasker has already been blown out by one of those cards just by turn 2.
Activation of Creepers here. Things speeding up quickly. Seeds of Agony, the play. Picks up an extra.
I like
action
that. It's
point
not
that
like he's ever
are
going to
be
fight
deployed
you over
here.
creepers, and this game's going to go so fast that you might as well
For
get your
Michael
value
Yasker,
in while you can.
4 from Bounding Demigon.
If he's ever fighting over your creepers, you're probably winning that game.
And Michael Yasker is down to just 16. And somebody call Min-Max Games. We have a Duskblade swinging for potentially the World Championship. Is going to go ahead and pick up a counter. Eloquence token in play. Michael Yasker at an already vulnerable life total.
Normally, you have to wait for Chain to get to maybe 3, maybe 4 Soul Shackles before they start to do some wide combat chain shenanigans. But with the way Matthew Dilks' day has been going, Brian, with the way these Shackles have already been hitting this early in the game, I just have to wonder if those Shackles hit properly for him on the following turn, he could just threaten the 16 points of Michael Yasker's life total.
Yasker going to get things rolling here with a T-Bone.
Did he defend on that turn?
And token
He did, so we're probably not getting comboed here.
with a T-Bone. Follow-up Sprocket Rocket, just looking to get some damage in. Goes ahead and clears a Stasis Cell off the top.
Not what he needs right now. That is an item, yes, but not the item he needs. He needs processors. We've seen him pop off with just 1 processor in play and an optical monocle. That is already a scary setup, but that 1 processor, the first one, remains elusive for Michael Yasker.
He's digging, he's hunting, he's boosting, he's getting deeper into the deck. T-Bone once again clears the top card. Just a meaningless data link. Now gets another peek, hoping to find exactly what he needs.
Yeah, I
on
don't know
top
why we
there.
blocked
And
the
look at
grasp
shove
there.
from Dilks. All the equipment getting involved. Wants to keep that life total as high as possible while he tries to put Yasker under threat. Here comes a spark of genius from the arsenal. Exactly what Yasker needed to get set up. Going to go searching, I assume, for that first Cerebellum processor.
And we'll get a random draw off the top because of the Spark of Genius as well. Let's see whether the top of the deck is as kind to Michael Yasker as it has been so far.
I don't think we need to worry about breaking
Arsenal,
down
but it
our
looks like
grasp in the
Yasker having
matchup.
a debate here, having to think, is there another potential item he wants to go for in this
I
situation?
guess we're blocking with it so that way he can't stasis sell it and prevent us from defending with it on the combo turn. Block with it while we can.
Signal Jammer.
Not just a cut and dry decision here for Yasker. Single Jammer.
But he would just do that to the
Another
face
control
purg
here.
instead, right?
If he's,
Pull the card
feeling,
out.
if he's feeling the threat to his life total, play a Signal Jammer against a Runeblade, that can stuff their turn completely.
He's going to check the Banish Zone, the bin. We see the 3 cards he's pulled to the bottom. It is ultimately going to be the Cerebellum processor. Yes.
And it's risky. We've spoken about this time and time again. Once a processor hits the field, the clock starts ticking for Michael Yasker. If he gets disrupted past the point where his processor expires,
Wait, did he crank
that combo
that?
turn is starting to look real weak.
He's going to crank here.
Why is he
on
cranking
that
it?
processor.
Look at a card draw off the top as well. Regardless
In
of what
case he
draws,
draws into an
use
item?
that action point for a pistol shot, if nothing else.
Draw from Spark.
New card for Yasker here. Thinking on that Stasis Cell.
Perhaps wondering if he wants to turn off the creepers, or maybe turn off the Skeletor again, like the way he did when he first deployed that Stasis Cell. Trying to ask for 1 more turn, just a little bit more breathing room.
And you see Yasker really looking uncomfortable right now. These are supposed to be good matchups. Supposed to be potentially stomps in his favor, but nothing is easy when you want to claim the title of world champion. He is going to Stasis Cell the creepers here.
Creepers this time, so cannot be activated on Matthew Dilks' turn. Perhaps Michael Yasker a little bit afraid of the Loken's token. Stasis Cell should head to the bottom of the deck once it is activated.
Choose an
Players just double checking how the card works.
Oh
And
my
Cerebellum
God.
Processor is found off the
He's
top
an
for
animal.
Michael Yasker. What a shuffle. What a time for that card to go ahead and join the fray.
We spoke about the top of the deck needing to be a little bit kind for Michael Yasker, and kind it was. He finds the second processor, and now this is going to have an
Meetings.
deck. It's still rewind, but
Head back on down, and things have changed very quickly in this match, Ponkage. Yasker sitting with double Cerebellum Processor. A huge turn coming up for Matthew Dilks. Has to find some form of disruption, but a miss on the Soul Shackles. Double Swarming Gloom Veil is the reveal.
2 processes on Michael Yasker's side, as well as 5 counters on an
Well,
optical monocle. He is
we
sitting
either
at the
disrupt
go as long
him
as he can find
or
a
die.
high octane. That is a piece that he needs. Once he can deploy that, that will generate the action points he needs to use these processes and just dig even further for the system resets, for the Toma Fendels, for the Art of Wars, for further high octanes. And we spoke about the tech piece on Matthew Dilks' side.
Don't think I see any disruption.
Haven't seen it yet. Don't even
That
know
looks
where
like
they
raw
go for
damage.
this matchup. We'll have to see as
I
this
think
game plays out.
Jasker will
Maybe
move
won't
directly
see
to the
another
sleep
turn
phase.
for Dilks, but has a Soul Reaping here. Nice start to the turn if you're trying to do a bunch of damage.
Michael Yasker at this point praying, hoping there's no point of interaction for Matthew Dilks. Remember, he still has 2 block left on the power plant. So at an effective 18 here, can soak up 17 points of damage. Matthew Dilks looks like he's going to have a bit of a strong turn. I see a Revel in Runeblood in his hand. Shadow of Ursa also banished to Soul Reaping's additional cost rather.
Yeah, that means there will be a resource ready to go. Duskblade with a counter on it. Like Machinations of Domination, perhaps the other card for Dilks in hand.
Can give the Shadow of Ursa go again, since he does not have another Blood Dead card in hand to banish to that attack.
Here are those Machinations. Follow-up attack here. Revel in Runeblood, going to go ahead and make a bunch of rune chants.
So
And there's so many cards that could have come off the top of the deck for those Soul Shackles that would have been absolutely game-changing here. Unfortunately, 2 blanks, and so just the Shadow of Ursa as the follow-up here. Bringing a bunch of
he's
rune
dead.
chants with it.
and now everything is face up. 5 rune chance, 2 damage from Shadow Ursa, and it'll be a 4 damage dust blade to follow up. So Michael
Block
Yasker
with
here
chest,
will be
send
exactly
opponent to the
what
Shadow
he wants
Realm.
to. He can just put Power Plant in front of one of the physical attacks and survive at 1. Also, to go again with Overpower, by the way, thanks to Machinations.
You do have to worry about invert here. You could just die to invert.
Here is that Duskblade attack. Going to be buffed up. 4 damage.
Okay. So Michael Yasker could go to 1. However, there
I
are...
don't think you can say could Ponkage. He is at
Okay, so he's open to instant speed arcane damage from Matthew Dilks' side. Invert Existence, a card that Matthew Dilks has not found.
Not present in the hand.
So 1 health
Also,
from
not
Michael
a great
Yasker.
blocking hand from Dilks either. I believe double 2 block in the hand.
All right.
And Michael Yasker.
Start your engines.
Ponkage, can he find lethal on
Let's
the
go gambling.
The Kano
Aw,
combo
dang
is
it.
happening now in Mechanologist form.
Oh,
He needs to find
wait.
that high octane.
Oh, that's the reason I should have played this deck. So every time I activate Monocle, I could say, "Oh, dang it."
And certainly Cerebellum Processor changes the math one more time. The odds ever so slightly, or maybe not.
Pick
so
up your
slightly,
cards.
shifting in
You're
Michael
dead.
Yasker's favor.
Confers an additional action point as well, so can go ahead and activate one of these processes. He's gonna actually
Oh my god, and he has
Yeah,
the system
already
processor already. So we're just looking for a high octane.
A lot of
continuing
cards
the
going to be
ops.
headed to Yasker's hand.
Before he starts boosting, he wants to play a high octane.
Getting deeper into that deck. Has the Monocle. Has knowledge from the Dio ability. Plenty of cards to work with here.
Has an additional action point as well, thanks to the crank off the top.
3 yellows in hand for Yasker.
2 yellow boosts.
Cash it from the arsenal.
Even more cards.
I
for Michael
activate
Yasker.
Pot of Greed. It lets me draw 2 additional Pot of Greeds.
Drawn into his hand, and out of war!
It lets me draw 2 additional Pot of Greeds.
Available for Michael Yasker, but no high octane yet. That card remains elusive. He is opting to the bottom
Has got to
for
find
that card.
Going to draw so many cards, Ponkage. So many cards. Surely for Yasker, he can go ahead and find a high octane eventually. Found the last Tome of Pheanoblack in the deck. We saw 2 banish early. Doesn't stop Yasker going ahead and tearing through that deck now in search of some action points.
And out of 4 is card draw that doesn't cost action points either. So it's fairly free to just use it to dig a little bit further. Is hesitant to use the last counter on the optical monocle because system reset can of course reset the monocle as well and give him further ops down the line should he need it, because so far these high octanes are remaining elusive for Michael Yasker.
But he's got to use it. He has to burn the Monocle here. Goes a card deeper, pushes it to the bottom.
Honestly, I don't hate burning the Monocle because, like,
Can Yasker finally
you've already got
pick up a high
everything you
octane
need.
resource?
You
He's
just
forced
need
before. He's
the
seen
high
it already
octane.
since.
Or maybe it's just desperation, Brian. We cannot
Could
tell
be.
yet.
As soon as you find the high octane, you win.
Another Art of War. And a T-Bone. We're not working yet.
And the top was another boost card, I believe.
Has to keep going, does Yasker. Has to get deeper into the deck. Find the high octane.
But found another out of 4, so that's more card draw without using any action points.
And he fires it off one more time. 2 more cards going to be drawn here. Banishes the T-Bone. Data Link. And a Fast and Furious. We're not there yet.
Didn't quite catch what the top card is. Michael Yasker with a little bit of a nod.
Activates the Cerebellum Processor. And there it
That's
is!
a high octane.
He
He's
finds
won the
high octane.
game.
Needs to pitch for the high octane and the chess piece as well. But friends, the combo is online. Double out of 4, high octane, Stubby Hammer is going to come into play as well. 36 life on Matthew Dilk's side. I have a feeling it might not be enough,
I
Brian.
agree with you, Pankaj. Yasgar has found all the pieces here. There is the high octane. Refreshes the hand one more time. Plenty of boost cards. Stubby Hammers.
Okay, now we rethink about our turn. Now we restart everything that we were thinking about.
Can he find 36 damage to go ahead and force another game?
Rolls up his sleeves as he activates the high industry power plant and the Stubby Hammer is attacks getting +3 for the rest of this combat chain.
Did you catch that? Punkage actually pronounces the second ER in hammerers. No one else ever does that. He actually pronounces it.
Resource and generating plant and the Stubby Hammer is attacks getting +3 for the rest of the combat chain and generating a
Now
resource
that's
and generating
quality
a resource.
casting.
Kicks things off with the first boost attack. It is fast and furious. Clears a high octane off the top of the deck.
They were looting him. Clearly, they were just stuck together. 2 of them back to back.
That's tough.
7
He
damage
clearly
from
doesn't even
Pankaj.
need the second high octane. He's like,
Yeah, let's
I'll
see how
boost
bad
this. I don't care.
2 action point system reset in his hand as well. A couple of boost cards to go along with it as well. Wants to generate resources off of boost cards before he plays a system reset.
That'll link the next play up to 3 action points now, equal to the number of cerebellum processors in play.
6 with a bit of a soft on hit that Matthew Dilks is going to respect. Doesn't want to let Michael Yasser dig even further. He noticed that Yasser was struggling to find his combo pieces. Doesn't want to let it be a little bit easier for him.
Makes perfect sense. Here's the T-bone from Yaskur. 3 resources, 4 action points. Coming in for 6, I believe. Gets the block from the creepers here.
3 resources is what he needs for a system reset. However, wants to expend some symbiosis shot counters first before he plays a system reset.
Ready to go ahead and activate cerebellum processor now. A new card is picked up for
And it was
Yaskur.
another Art of War. Third Art of War. Does he have an attack to banish?
I believe it's system reset.
Toma Fandel and Art of War. So a whole bunch of card draw. So shouldn't be a problem to find an attack to banish to the Art of War.
Data link drawn off the top. Yaskur has what he needs to keep the Art of War train rolling.
And the
You know what we needed?
card for Matthew
Even
Dilks.
more pot of
Third
greeds.
Art of War.
That's what we were
Michael Yasser
missing.
Draws 2 0-cost boosts off the top as well.
Yeah, 0 to 60. Kicks things off here. Clears the monocle from the top up to 3 resources, 3 action points. Big 0 to 60 here. T-bone also fired now. 4 resources, 4 action points. The system reset at the ready. It is all.
Ironically, this Dio deck feels like it does what Chain does better, of just farting out these giant
Been answered, Brian.
combat
Looking forward
chains
to a game 3 for the
and
grand
burning through the
finals
deck.
of the World Championships.
2 more cards picked up here from Yaskur. There's another 0 to 60. Clears another monocle out of the deck. Coming in 4-7. Still 4 action points. Symbiosis shot is loaded up with 5 counters.
Wants to at least get it down to 3, so the system reset refills it all the way back up to 6 without any loss of value.
Dilks down to just 6 now. Yet another boost comes through. It's 0 to 60. Got to go up now to 5 action points, 5 resources.
Bro, he's gonna die before he even resolves the first system reset.
Yeah, and just gets the fist bump. And Michael Yaskur has
My
forced
God.
deciding game 3
Jesus
for the
Christ.
2020
I'm pretty sure he was going to do about 100 damage again. What a reasonable deck to exist in the format. I'm so glad that we decided to not ban any cards out of that deck.
Titans of this metagame facing off against each other.
Kicking things off for Dilks, as you expect, is Compass.
All right, last game.
Golden Tipple gets things rolling.
Ooh,
That's
good
out
start.
of the bin. That's a goal generated, and that's exactly how you want to start out your game 3 to try and become world champion.
And that is a card draw off the top as well for Matthew Dilks. That is a fantastic start for our Gravy Bones player. Rigor Mortis, we've spoken about this bit of an awkward ally for Michael Yaskur to deal with as well. A whole bunch of head jabs in that deck. You don't want to send 3 power at 1 health ally, but Michael Yaskur might just be forced.
Does he just cast that from hand? Yeah, that makes
As
sense.
well, that he's able to go ahead and just
That's probably the best
deploy
one
a
to
little
just
bit
play
of
from
stuff in the
hand.
future, as well as making
That's
that
like
first
the
ally
best
stronger
turn
and
0
stronger.
ally I think we
Let's
could have
see what the
played.
play is from Michael Yaskur. Oath of loyalty. We are committed to the cause. Fealty to the Emperor. All draconic attacks for the rest of this turn.
And it looks like Michael Yaskur has found a bunch of draconic attacks to go with his Oath of Loyalty. No one can question his fealty to the Emperor as he has 4 draconic attacks in his hand.
He's hot on the heels of a world championship right now, Pankaj, as he rumbles into the arena, just trying to get some early damage on the board.
Get it?
A mark here.
Hot
Looks
on
to
his
to
heels.
defend on this
Ha.
turn link, possibly. We reach for a card, pulled back. Says, I need a little bit more info first. Compass of Sunken Depths. Going to go ahead, unlock some buried treasure off the top of the deck. And he says the course is clear. Going to go ahead and put that lone shark in front of the hot on their heels.
I like this. From his perspective, when you see an Oath of Loyalty with no fealty on the other side, you have to imagine, you have to hope the opponent has some non-draconic cards in hand that they're trying to make draconic off of the fealty. So you respect the mark and you make them have natural draconic attacks.
Flick Knives going to go ahead and keep the threat going of a mask trigger.
And that headed its way into the Oyston. 2 damage attack into the 1 health ally, so less inefficient. Then if it was a head jab, Michael Yasker still gets to transfer 1 damage to Gravy Bones' face, drew an extra card off the master.
So we got a Jittery, an Anka, and a
Also
Swell.
second gold created for Dilks on the back of that Oyster, and a great turn 0 ally.
Makes sense that we looked already. We want to see if either of these cards have a target on the top of the deck.
Displaying loyalty, and it
If
was
not,
very
we probably
bold
just
from
play the
Yasker,
Jittery,
both
discarding the
Emperors,
ally from hand, and then
loyal
pitch the
to
Swell to
soldiers
cast
as
everything.
A world champion soldier.
And it might
Fealty
not,
generated.
might not be the end of the turn here for Michael Yasker. We saw him in game 1 refuse to Arsenal, refuse to open himself up to the Conqueror of the High Seas. He's going to cash in this fealty immediately for this Out of Dragon Blood to not open himself up to that Arsenal destruction.
Makes a lot of sense for Yasker.
Gotcha. Yeah, from this. You have 3 cards?
I want to call out Michael Yasker's discipline here in both the Syndra games that we have seen him pilot. Doesn't want to lose incidental value by letting the opponent destroy the arsenal. Aggressively just uses the fealty here.
And this is why loot the Arsenal's not that good.
Save the fealty, save the Out of Dragon Blood for the arsenal, have it on the next turn, maybe get some discounts off of the Out of Dragon Blood effect, but he's not letting Matthew
Like,
Dilks get
You
it.
actually get some implied value of your opponent just never
This
arsenaling.
is it, Ponkage. This is game 3 of our World Championship Finals.
Zone.
And that is a full 13 points of damage leaked into Matthew Dilks on Michael Yasker's first turn. Also cleared an Oisin on the way on that turn cycle as well. As we head back over to Matthew Dilks. Both these players
13,
75,000
16, 17. That was like,
on
what,
the line.
18 points of value?
Champion
Sheesh.
prize cards.
Saltwater Swell does not do its thing here, Ponkage. It feels like only the second miss we've seen for Dilks in this 3-game series, but it's the second one in a row.
So we activated the compass before using the Gravy ability, so knew what he was going to draw, but did not know what he was going to reveal off the top to the Saltwater Swell.
We'll see how that lack of resources goes ahead and impacts the rest of this turn.
That probably means that he drew into a red then.
On the board. You don't want to fall too far behind.
Was
because
it the
Gravy has a
red
bunch of
swell and he had a
allies set
blue
up
swell in
there.
hand?
Gonna go ahead and crack a gold here, so maybe in need of some more resources.
Well, he knows he's going to draw the Prismatic Ley Line, which was revealed off the Saltwater Swell.
Noah had a really good
He's going to be using it on this turn. Looks like he has a plan
point
to
about
draw.
this on the
Has already sent
podcast
one red
where
card, blue swell to follow it up, and this one
Second
misses as
blind
well.
swell misses in the turn. It's a red off the top. And this
Isn't
is
it the same red?
disaster for Matthew Dilks.
Did he
I mean,
change the top of his deck?
This turn has already sent one,
Though.
Oh, he cracked gold.
This
Okay.
is
luck.
We're
Yellow revealed off the first swell.
kind of everything in the meta right
Off
now
the
is
second swell.
basically saying don't arsenal.
Just has to pass, Ponkage.
Everything has
Is this
arsenal
the moment
disruption.
where Michael Yasker can see
And it
Go
leads to
ahead
you not being able to
and
like
start
game
making
plan
things
as much
comfortable for
because you
Dilks.
can't pocket
Incredible break
cards.
from Michael Yasker over there. Prismatic Ley Line, you want to at minimum get 5.
I don't really
from
like
it
that.
if
I wish we
Dilks
were
there.
able to arsenal more.
Just 0 for 3 on that turn. Only pumping up the blue Saltwater Swell, did not pump up an ally attack. And very importantly, no ally left behind either. to
Missing
focus
twice,
on
there's
damage. So
probably
some of this
GGs.
Syndra's aggression.
Yeah, and that means Yasker's just clear to go face, and Dilks falling down quickly, down to just 24, and he's not done yet. It's Fire Tenant as well, coming in for 3 thus far, but offering a buff further down the chain.
Both players know Matthew Dilks is holding on to Blood in the Water. That was revealed off of the second swell. So Michael Yasker is fully expecting a 3 block on this and a 4 block on the following one. But it's still asking a lot from the Gravy Bones opponent, who is sitting on 0 gold pieces. Matthew Dilks made the aggressive line on the previous turn to gold into the Prismatic Ley Line, but it did not pay off for him.
And it's a red Saltwater Swell blocking here, but Ancestral Empowerment is going to go ahead and buff over the top, picks up a card, and it sure looks like we're going to pick up even another one.
Well, it depends. Matthew Dilks could deploy the Blood in the Water here to prevent the Mask Draw. Have to point out, though, if the Mask Draw goes through this turn, Balance of Justice will be online. Matthew Dilks has already taken a look at the top card of the deck with the Compass of Sunken Depths, so we'll know whether he can make use of the card on top.
It looks like he's reaching for that reaction, does not want to go ahead and give up the mass trigger here.
I feel like you just let it happen and then draw your card off
It's almost
balance.
guaranteed to be
Another
at
break
least 4. So if you use a defense reaction here, what, are you going to give up the hook on the following one? Maybe even the balance in case a draw sneaks through it.
Because you can't fight over another mass trigger,
Difficult to
right?
Make reads on Syndra's damage output in this position. She doesn't pitch. Flick Knife not being used, that you don't know whether it needs that resource. The final attack this combat chain could easily be something like a Lava Burst that comes in for 5. So if you commit too much on these early chain links to deny the mask and they get the mask anyway at the end, that's one of the ways you fall really far behind in this matchup.
But it is terrifying to go ahead and give Syndra another
Okay,
card.
I don't hate
Dodge
this.
flexors here used to cover up. I like this midpoint. This feels better than Blood on the Water. Maybe you can go ahead and use this on a future chain link to cover up a breakpoint.
It does open him up to a Wrath of Retribution turn, though.
Very true.
If
He'll have to
Michael
fade that.
If he finds that legendary later on in this
The
game,
other thing that sucks is if we wanted to play the blood here,
Dilks might be missing the quick dodge
we don't
flash.
really have a very
Well,
efficient
yeah, but
block
it's
with the
different now.
blood.
You have to gamble a little bit more, and I think that's exactly where we see Dilks right now. Uses the Balance of Justice here alongside those flexors to go ahead and block out the cut through. And the turn's still continuing here for Yasker, and it's the snatched and the final.
At least we have the blood.
Does still have quick dodge flexors, maybe only demanding a
Okay,
single
this
card.
actually
We'll
kind of
see
worked
if
out
anyone
good
get
for
involved
us.
here.
I like the blocking with the swell also. You failed me too many times. Be gone.
with the Dragon Scale of Flight Path, and also
I'm not gonna bother casting you. You're gonna fail me again.
Off the Bloodspatter Vest for this reason for the Syndra activation back up to 2.
But I think it's like too little, too late. Like we're 23 to 33. I think we've already lost this game.
10-point life deficit. Here's a chart the high seas. Surely this time, Punkage. Surely, no, it is a conqueror off the top. Only the resources, and very quickly, everything has spiraled out of control for Matthew Dilks as the top of the deck has become fiendishly unkind.
A blue has hit the graveyard this turn. Matthew Dilks does have allies in the bin, so can still go ahead and deploy this Anka and attack with it 4-5. Effect of the Anka somewhat relevant in this matchup. You can sort of deny a Mask of Momentum draw or an Ancestral Empowerment draw, of course, at the cost of a card from your hand as well. So in a sense, just trading card for card. But more than that, it's 5 power coming Michael Yasker's way on a 3 health ally.
For Michael Yasker, there's no simple decisions with $75,000 on the line.
A little bit of a grimace there from Michael Yasker's side. This is one of the rare Syndra bricks, Brian.
Ooh, that's not good.
Blaze Headlong, no starter in this hand.
It's a little bit ugly. Punkage does have the kunais available, but what do you do with them?
Yeah, I kind of like just letting this hit and then pitching to kunai instead.
Draconic Chain Links. Let's go again from when you played a red. And Michael Yasker does not.
Oh, but yeah, nothing actually has go again still, even if we pitch to kunai.
To start turning things in his favor.
It's a window for 2 reasons, Brian. One, not only is Michael Yasker's offensive output pretty weak, Michael Yasker is near guaranteed to Arsenal on this turn as well. And we know that Matthew Dilks will claw at that opportunity to attack that Arsenal, come in with a Conqueror of the High Seas, of which he has 2 remaining in the deck. If he can find it, that could be his ticket back into this game, could be his ticket to the world champion.
Yeah, and Anka just defended here. Yasker's going to have to go ahead and clean up that ally question mark. And he's going face. He's going after Dilks, allowing him to keep the Anka.
That's pretty interesting.
I need some more information. Looks at the top of the deck. How is the
I guess he's just saying whatever you can keep the Anka around, because I probably don't get punished for leaving an ally in play. I'll just leave that around so I can hit it later and get a mask trigger. Like, I'm only punished if you play a Tip the Barkeep or a Avast Yi here, and you don't necessarily have those right now. He does actually have it right now, so maybe he gets a little punished.
Tip the Barkeep chart. Looks pretty good. Looks resource rich.
So when you ignore an ally, you are basically asking a Gravy Bones opponent, can you leverage the additional ally? Can you give that attack go again and actually punish me for leaving your ally alive?
And he actually can, because he can go tip, pitch. Like, he can just keep a 2-card hand here.
Anka plus Rigor Mortis swing on Matthew Dilks' follow-up is 11 damage.
But it looks like he has an ally in hand, right?
Pivot for Matthew Dilks.
It feels like the game has tightened up very quickly. It's blood on the water out of Arsenal here. Gonna go ahead and use the opportunity to get the Sawbones into the bin. Flick Knives does its thing, takes its point of damage. And the turn passes back to Matthew Dilks. Can he go ahead and seize the opportunity here? Kicks things off with a Tip the Barkeep. Here's our Gold Kiss Rum.
Blue has hit the yard. Watery Grave cards can be played from the graveyard now.
And that means Rigor Mortis in the fray here.
I think I actually might have Arsenal to swell blue instead, since we haven't seen a Prismatic Ley line yet. That's, like, worth considering.
Attackers at the ready. Gold Kiss Rum time. Rigor Mortis going to have go again on this attack.
Just like we called it, Brian. Rigor Mortis into Anka. 11 damage. 2 allies on the board now for Michael Yasker. Michael Yasker not happy to see the punish for leaving the ally around. However, is happy to see the lack of a Conqueror. That was finally forced to Arsenal because of the unfortunate draw from his side, but not punished for the Arsenal.
Now, I like not playing the Sawbones here. I think you want to play the Sawbones on a turn that you can fight over Mask. But you're never fighting over Mask with 2 allies in play.
After 3 games in this final, sit at 22 to 22, dead even between these.
I mean, that was as good as he could have hoped for.
Michael Yasker with the 5-card hand here. Is he going to start clearing allies, or just wait to use them as bodies for the Mask of Momentum draw? As this
Tipple ally, I think it's a Call to the Grave,
who has drawn a no block
and an Avast Yi.
Not have any gold to get rid of it.
Yeah, there's a good hand.
No blocks. It's a call from Matthew Dilks. Goes down to 19. The onslaught from the Draconic Ninja is not over.
Fire Tenant coming down. Next Chainlink will also be buffed.
Again, he might be leaving us with an ally in play, which lets us turn the Avast Yi into 6 damage. Or I guess 5 damage.
These pirate allies that he can just leverage for
Unfortunately, that's the 3 block in our hand that we really want to block with.
I can't prevent Mask on this turn. If you
Maybe we just
you can find a way to
get a back alley with a Call to the Grave.
Rising Resentment here coming in.
I think he said at you. I think Michael Yasker just wants cards from Matthew Dilks' hand.
Yeah, and Anka's going to do its thing and try and go ahead and deny these Mask draws as it puts an additional ally into the bin.
Effectively trading card for card is Matthew Dilks.
I like it. Rising Resentment here.
So for those who don't know how this interaction works, Michael Astor gets to draw off the mask, but now needs to choose a card to discard to the anchor drag under effect. So does get some card selection. Also remember the Rising Resentment on hit is currently
Covers the camera.
He can banish that and have that be discounted to Rising Resentment's effect.
I think he might have found Wrath, Punkage.
Off the top, that would be an incredible hit for Michael Yasker.
Well, he only has 2 Draconic
No
Chain
one
Links right now.
couldn't quite get a look at the second, but Yasker's fully in the tank right now.
It is a Wrath of Retribution, Brian.
And he's going to go ahead and...
Ooh. Oh my god, the punish. Exactly that attack was on the chain. Oh my god. That's devastating.
That's accurate, Punkage. Look, we're going to let this play out. We have a very talented judge staff available. Surely they are tracking. Ancestral Empowerment's going to pump up this Wrath, picks up a card here. That does mean balance is on now.
That should work that way. I don't know what he's... They're both hit triggers. He gets to sort them.
For Michael Yasker, we can fully expect Balance of Justice being activated sometime this turn.
Dilk's just thinking on that one, but here is that buffed up kunai attack. Going to go ahead and come in for 2, and there you see the balance is going to do its thing, pick up an additional card for Dilk's. And I think the judges are going to come in and check on exactly that interaction we discussed. And Resentment discount is the ruling, so they're going to go ahead.
You can. We said if Michael Yasker finds a Wrath of Retribution and you don't have the quick touch flexes, you suddenly find yourself with your back even further up against the wall.
It sounds like our judges have found a fix down in the feature match area. They have rewound here. You cannot play that Wrath of Retribution with the Rising Resentment. Discount is the ruling, so they're going to go ahead, set us back where we were, and now we're proceeding fresh.
What?
So we are rewinded back to after the Lava Burst discard. Looks like Michael Yasker just...
Really? Aren't they both on hit triggers and I can sort them? Was it Rising? When this hits, you may banish an attack action card from your hand with cost less than the... Oh! The Rising is checking the cost of the card, and since the cost of the card is 3, you can't banish it. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think
it's not a sorting issue. It's the cost of the card is too much.
Or force a new draw, and it seems like it didn't work out in Yasker's favor. But now we move back to Matthew Dilks' turn here. What could have been a fearsome turn may be blunted by a misstep there from Yasker. And now Chart does its thing again. And all of a sudden, Matthew Dilks is heating up. Blue.
And he still has an Avasti.
Resources and gold available on this turn. 2 allies at the ready. One is tapped in the form of Anka, but Rigor Mortis ready to get in the mix. And there's an army of Sawbones ready to join the fray.
Question is, does Matthew Dilks have the action points that he needs to actually leverage this massive skeletal army that he has managed to produce in the final?
It might not matter, though, because he's at 12.
Once again, for Matthew Dilks hitting, and he has the action points.
This whole pirate crew looking to get into the mix now. Here's the Sawbones attack to start things off. Dilks at 12, but Yasker also at a precarious. Now 16. Life totals continue to tick down. I still think Yasker has the edge for the moment, but what can Dilks find to go ahead and blunt the next offensive foray? More pitching, more gold used.
He's digging for either a Conqueror of the High Seas or a Loot to Hold. Some form of interaction. Do not let Michael Yasker resolve a full 5-card hand against him.
He hasn't found it yet. We're going back to the well. One more draw from this.
This is where having a Fiddlers in the deck would have been nice.
Not what he was looking for.
Want to find a way to get that in the pitch and get it out of his hand. Or maybe even just hold it for the Anka activation on the following turn. We saw him discard an ally for the Anka to, in a sense, trade for the Mask of Momentum draw on Michael Yasker's side.
With all those allies out, you assume Yasker will be able to farm that trigger at will.
I think if you had Fiddlers in the deck, he would actually be in a winning position.
If you will, with regards to those go again action points that are so important for really letting the pirate crew go wild across the arena. Gold baited hook is the activation here. Rigor Mortis rumbles in.
Free gold baited hook activation here. A gold was already created thanks to the
I'm assuming he still has back alleys in the deck.
And Yasker looking to get a little
because why would you have Call to the Grave in the deck if you're not playing back alleys or Fiddler's Green?
Once more, it's 12 to 11 with the World Championship of Flesh and Blood on the line.
It would have been much better than those swells were.
Seemingly unfazed. Wants to get him dead as soon as possible. We'll check the
but does he have them in the matchup? He might have boarded them out.
Does have gravy activations available to filter a little bit, but the blocking value is not good, Punkage.
Also has Anka to ditch one of those non-blocks to trade for the Mask of Momentum card draw. So one to the Anka, one to the...
I actually like cutting some number of back alleys in this matchup.
Options as ways to get rid of those no blocks in his hand as we move over to Michael Yasker's turn.
But Yasker
it just you never call for it.
From that last turn, kept it around, and the damage output here is going to be monumental for Michael Yasker. Can Dilks find enough to survive, which is sure to be an offensive flurry?
And Matthew Dilks knows about the existence of the Wrath of Retribution as
I've been
well.
messing with playing Zero in the matchup because I never call for it, and it's been pretty good.
Brand with Cinderclaw gonna assure tons of Draconic Chain Links this go around. It is Rising Resentment, the next play here from Yasker.
Does confer a little bit of an on-hit, but as we learned, cannot be used.
But I think we just lose here because he has a Wrath of Retribution with a Ancestral. Like, we just die.
However, it can still discount a 1-cost.
Also, with me having 2 Fiddler's Greens in the list, I'm like super never calling for a back alley.
Blocking card left in Dilks' hand. 1 block available on the Dead Threads, 1 block available on the Gold-Baited Hook.
Flick Knives here not going to be activated.
And here is Ancestral Empowerment still stashed in Arsenal.
Anka activated in response to the card draw of the Ancestral Empowerment, so Michael Yasker will be forced to lose one of the cards he draws after the Ancestral Empowerment resolves. Does want to make sure he keeps enough Draconic Link to make the Wrath of Retribution free, and looks like he has.
Then I assume the
another
Sawbones
Brand
gets
Cinderclaw in this hand.
activated.
Everything coming up Michael Yasker right now. Dilks
Force him
gonna
to
go ahead
flick.
and deny here with the Sawbones.
Very heads up play by Matthew Dilks over here. Normally, you want to save Sawbones for the Flick Knives, but you know, with the opponent holding a Wrath of Retribution in their hand, you don't want to just flick the Kunai before they've played that card. So Matthew Dilks effectively nullifying this Chain Link, this Ancestral Empowerment, by activating the Sawbones.
Very heads up from Dilks. But it's going to take a lot to go ahead and survive this turn. It is going to be Flick Knives reach for.
I'm pretty happy
Sawbones
seeing him
gonna go
flick
ahead
here.
And resolve. It's going to eat this Kunai activation, but the 1 additional will now leak through.
Michael Yasker making the read. Then maybe Matthew Dilks' hand is a little bit awkward. Already seen 2 allies. Where is this brand going? Is it just going at an ally to guarantee the mask draw?
It's a big decision. It looks like it's going
I think he said face.
reaching for a blocking card. Will defend here.
Kind of surprised he didn't hit an ally.
The mask has been stopped.
I kind of like hitting
Wrath of Retribution
something
still
here.
passes to confer a lot of damage on this turn.
Waiting on Dilks to confirm the block.
Is he just going to pass? Is the question. Does have that option available.
Picks up the 2 kunais. No, it's Wrath of Retribution time. The damage is going to
I don't think he
continue
can
forward.
pass. It's too much damage, and he's at 8.
3 at you. Dilks says, I got to see what's going on.
What,
the top of my
3,
deck.
7, 8, 9 damage with 1 card in hand?
Needs to get rid of that Rigor Mortis in his hand. He can
You
still
force
face
both
up
pieces of
this
armor off of the
nine
board.
if Michael Yasker chooses
He goes to
use the boost as
1.
well.
Yeah, just
You
gonna hit
flick
with the
next
card
turn,
that
and he
is
dies.
Found a Murderous Rebel. That is a blocking card. Can go ahead and block this.
So he
Rebel
probably
if
has to block with his last card. And if he does that, then he can't actually play the game. So you
Still
just win.
kunais at the ready for Yasker.
And he sees the coast is clear. All the cards from Matthew Dilks' hand.
What a
Moving
reasonable
one
card
ally
Wrath of
as he
Retribution
senses
is.
kunais that are being buffed by the Wrath of Retribution. 2 damage each in the form of these Draconic Ninja Daggers coming in with a fiery passion.
2 into 2, and Dilks is going to fall.
I might
lower
not.
and lower. Down to just
No,
4
this is
life.
fine, I guess.
His world championship dreams on the line. Dragon Scalar Flight Path going to do its thing here.
And the last kunai goes into the Sawbones. Michael Yasker wants his Flick Knives to not get stuffed by that pesky ally. Gonna drop to 4. We have been here before, Brian. No kunai on Michael Yasker's side. He needs to not brick on this hand if he wants to keep his world championship dream alive.
He's got pain in the backside into Blaze Ponkage. The hand is functional.
Oh, this is nice.
Great
We can
bit
grab
of
an ally and then
Dilks
Dead
out
Thread
of the
swing.
arsenal.
Does he have Fiddler's Green? Can
He's
he
searching
heal
through
back
the
up?
deck.
Fiddler's Green would have
There's
gone
no Fiddler's
huge.
Green in Matthew Dilks'
And
deck.
it's just going to be a chum. No life gain available for Dilks here.
So no way to deploy, though. No cards in Matthew Dilks' hands. But Death Thread's active now. He could go ahead and activate Death
Probably
Thread.
dry hook.
Attack for 6.
Probably should have
Really
blocked the
has
hook
to
last
go
turn.
ahead and fire off, but is it going to be enough? Is he going to be able to go ahead and survive at only 4 life as the turn passes back to Michael Yasker? Gold-baited hook activation.
Baited in gold-baited hook. Doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Is trying to bait Michael Yasker.
This is why I play 2 Fiddlers in the matchup. It's so good.
A good blocking card. It is going to be Dead Threads, gold-baited hook activation. Yasker could not take the damage fast enough. Going to fall down to a 5.
Your calls are just so bad in the
Go ahead,
matchup.
he's working with Ponkage.
Michael Yasker not falling for the bait. Instead, has murder in his eyes as he starts his turn off with a Rising Resentment.
Dilks
Oh,
is
that's a
going
non-block.
ahead. He's got a 2 block in hand. The defensive values are not good here.
What is the compass reveal going to be? It's a sunken treasure, so can go ahead and cash in the gold to the gravy ability to swap out that Fable in his hand for a 3 block off the top.
Is it enough though, Ponkage? The hand from Yasker looks fierce.
It's also
here.
good against other decks like KO,
And no water
where
grave card in his hand this
it's,
time for Matthew Dilks, so no Anka
let me
activation
just
available
spawn
to
3
him.
life out of nowhere with my hero power, or I'm just going to use this as a 4 block.
We have Dead Threads. We have gold-baited hook. Is it enough for Dilks to get another window, another chance?
They don't have that many on hits, so just the vanilla block value is perfectly fine.
And we're at that life total where every attack must be blocked because of Flick Knives. If you go down to 1 against the Syndra, you just die to that card.
Blaze headlong. You see a frustrated shake of the head from Dilks. 4 damage on offer here. Does reach finally for that gold-baited hook. Covers it up clean.
Conqueror of the High Seas on blocking duty over here, not where Matthew Dilks wants it to be, and this is going to be the third Draconic Chain Link for Michael Yasker. He will be able to buy back those kunais. No more risk of a brick for our Draconic Ninja. And Matthew Dilks still needs to respect this damage because of the Flick Knives. Now Syndra can be activated right here and right now for an extra 1 damage from the Flick Knives.
Does he have to give 2 cards here? Does he have to use the Gravy? I would think so. You can't fall that low against the Flick Knives. He's got no output on the next turn. Reaching for the Gravy activation, perhaps using the last gold in a desperate cling to survival.
Slowly considering all his options. We could very well be looking at the second to last turn cycle at the World Championships.
Gravy Bones is trolling for treasure, but it feels like no matter what he dredges up, it's coming up Fish Bones, Ponkage. What is the out?
Oh my god, how long did he spend writing these puns? My god.
We have seen this matchup before. We have seen Matthew Dilks overcome the Syndra just earlier today.
Right, is that sunken treasure? We knew it was there.
Does have 5 block available. Is he just going to block 3 with the Death Threads?
It's an interesting question, Ponkage. He gets the attack. In that case, he can fire off the Rigor Mortis if he's able to keep a card. Seems like the only path back into this game. You have to offer some.
I like blocking with the Sunken and then flipping over one of the yellows, even if it's my own. Just so I can draw off of gold and potentially get a free arsenal.
And it is going to be the Dead Threads reached for here by Dilks. Will he commit it to the team? Trepidatiously, he flips it over in his hands, wishing it were more, wishing it had some magical way out of this precarious situation.
Michael Yasker gets the kunais ready, does not want to get blown out this close to the finish line. Make sure he has his response ready as Matthew Dilks prepares his blocks.
Finally, Dilks says, "This is my block." Immediately, Yasker reaches for the kunais, brings them back. Dilks going to go searching, try and get a gold active here.
Has a yellow in his own
yeah, like all these allies in Grave don't actually matter.
We have seen how important these gold pieces have been for the Gravy Bones, being able to swap out these no blocks for real blocking cards.
And a flick comes through for Yasker, as you would expect. Dilks falls down to just 3 here, claims the mark as well. So a fealty token available for the next turn for Yasker, making bricking seem next to impossible for Dilks. What's the offer here?
1 kunai available, 1 fealty available as well. Short of 3 or 4 attack reactions, Michael Yasker is not going to brick on this turn. Matthew Dilks can send 6 with the Rigor Mortis. However, I have to wonder, is Michael Yasker just going to give the Mask of Momentum? At this point, opponent's at 2.
Dilks is going to go ahead and use the gold to draw here. That could provide an arsenal, perhaps. A defensive arsenal would be nice. Maybe get a path forward to go ahead and keep in this game just a little bit longer. Rigor Mortis getting ready.
That's the face of a man that just drew an ally.
But you're exactly right, Ponkage. Yasker can keep the full grip and just offer that mask if he wants to. Let's get a look at what Yasker's working with. Has a brand, has the art as well, going to be able to instill Draconic Nature into that, has a Ravenous Rabble. It feels like there's a lot of breakpoints here, and Mask of Momentum is the reach here for Yasker.
Hook activation from Matthew Dilks before the Rigor Mortis. Michael Yasker reconsidering now if he wants to respect it. But that is about as far from a brick as I've seen a Syndra hand go.
Can he afford the risk? It certainly feels like the break points are there. The Flick Knives is at the ready. Maybe thinking about reaching for that blood-spattered vest as well, just for a little bit more insurance. But it seems like the coast is fairly clear for Yasker. But when you're playing for $75,000, Ponkage, you do not take a single thing for granted.
Double check your math. That's what Michael Yasker is doing. It's going to go down 2-2 in our Game 3 of the World Championships.
2-2. Game 3 of the World Championship Finals. The turn passes back to Michael Yasker. 4 cards at the ready. Multiple breakpoints. How's the defense looking over on Dilks' side? I see at least 1-2 block.
The thing that sucks too about his list, not that his list sucks, it's just like this is like a weakness of it, is because he's not playing all the defensive cards, if he falls behind, it's really hard to like get back in the game. He really needs to like have momentum with his list.
Here's the 3 block from the ley line. Here is the fealty. That's going to be the Art of the Dragon Blood. This is a breakpoint. This represents lethal. Dilks going to take a look at the top of the deck. Does it have a miracle stashed away? Is there a defense reaction on top? You see Dilks consider the options. Finally, have things started to go against him. 2 cards are committed to the block here. Flick Knives, activation. Here is the kunai. Dilks is going to fall to 1 card left for Michael Yasker. It's a Ravenous Rabble. It reveals a red, and it gets those fist bumps. And Michael Yasker is your 2025 Flesh and Blood World Champion.
What a fantastic finish to what has been an incredible World Championship weekend.
Yeah, like that's a way that you can play the matchup and play the deck, but it just if you fall behind, it's impossible to dig yourself out of that hole unless your opponent bricks and you draw the goods on that turn. Which did kind of happen in this game. Our opponent bricked. And he kind of drew the goods, but it was like the wrong kind of goods. Like all the ally go again was like kind of good, but we really needed to find our disruption on those turns. It is what it is. I don't really disagree with how he played it or anything like that. It just, yep, that's just the nature of playing it like that with the lower defensive count. But that's Worlds. We've done it. We watched all the games. Don't know if I'm going to do this again of going through every single game. That was, God, how many streams was that? Was that like 6 to 8 streams that we did? My God. So next week, I'm gonna try doing some Sage stuff. What is it? It's the 7th. So yeah, we're not near Christmas yet. Do some Sage stuff. Not sure what I'm gonna start with. I might just throw up like a poll of what people want to see first, or I'll just do what's interesting me the most right now, which currently is Aurora and Briar. Those just kind of look interesting. And then I'll probably put some time into like the Illusionists afterwards, because I'm sure that's something that people want to see. Just like from me specifically. I don't think they're particularly good looking at the card pool, but you know, I'll still do it. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, anyone that's still here. I appreciate you guys. If you like the channel and you like the content, subscribe, check out the Patreon, helps me make more great content like this. And that being said, I think I'm going to play a little bit of Final Fantasy VII and then hit the hay. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.